1, 2, 3, 4, down to the VHS, VHS, out of the VHS. It's the 18 of my big stuff, cause I was out of the house and doing stuff. No easy Wi-Fi beverages, but I guess that's the way it goes. Send it up on the Betamax. Down to the VHS, VHS, out of the VHS.
Hello and welcome
to Obscure Tape Time, the show where we watch VHS in their entirety, start to finish, and invite you to suffer along with us. Storyline.
What line?
Never mind.
I stole the start of yours.
That's right. We traded.
What do I normally say?
You say from start to finish.
Oh, right. The whole thing.
Accidentally, the whole thing.
Put it in your mouth and accidentally eat the whole thing.
I have different headphones on. No one can see. No one cares.
No one could tell that you even had anything in your ears before, because You were using those tiny little earbud things.
Everyone thought I was just avoiding it.
Yeah, and you were just not listening.
Man, I listen more than anyone else.
Yeah, I my attention span just like dips as the tapes go
Not
on.
just that, I back them up and I
True.
rewatch and I do some edits and make music videos sometimes. What have you been up to for the week?
Not much.
No?
I'm fucking tired.
I heard you've been working out.
Oh yeah, I've been going to the gym.
You've been going to a place where you walk in place and pick up heavy things and put them right back down where you got them from.
Yeah,
Sounds good.
that's what I'm doing after this, actually.
Gonna be swole?
Hopefully I'm just not going to be fat anymore.
Oh, come on. You gotta get those gains. Let's put the weight on it instead of off, right?
But I'm fat. I weigh more now than I did in 2019.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's not good. That's bad.
Alright. What have I been doing? Well, actually, I did something interesting. I got in contact. That's me. I'll move back over.
That's fine. I think I'm like taking up most of the screen anyway.
I went out to an op shop I hadn't been to before, in where we live, and it was weird because they were a little bit in the fancy area, but there was not much in there. So I gave them my card and talked to them, told them what I did, and they didn't give my card over, but just my number to someone else.
Oh.
And they control a lot of the stuff that gets sent out to some of the op shops in
Oh.
the area on the other side. So like Leopold Way, places I don't usually drive to because it's a
Yeah.
little too far. Like it's a special thing when I go drifting over that direction.
Yeah, right.
So Leopold Drive, stay away, over in the country. And she rang me up and said, "Oh, we don't move them anyway. We'll just sell them all to you for 20 cents a piece." And I'm like, "Just sell me boxes. It's fine. I'll just take the lot." And yeah, I've been getting a whole bunch of stuff off them. But
Fuck yeah.
the place where I picked them up has a little op shop attached to it.
Yeah.
And then a op bookshop and a food relief center and then a big cargo box out the back. And I had to go to this big cargo box out the back. I didn't know who to talk to, so I went and talked in the op shop. They have nothing to do with each other.
Oh.
So the op shop is saving their tapes for like somebody else. So I'm cutting
Oh,
I'm cutting in
what?
front of them.
Are they really?
Yeah, like his name's Daniel. But I'm gonna go back in
Fuck
there.
off, Daniel.
I'm gonna get his number and see what he's after. Maybe we can do some trades. But I'm actually getting them before they get to him anyway, because they're not going to the op shop.
Yeah, yeah. Wait, is it a churchy op shop though?
The one at the front is
Yeah. So that might not be that. They might just do their own donations.
maybe. But the bookshop had a double World War II box set that had been so sun damaged, couldn't sit there so long that they just gave it to me. And then I got 2 big boxes full of stuff. There's some interesting aviation stuff in there, and I even got a porno from a
Oh hell yeah!
it was one of those porno magazines too. So just clips of what is coming out, sort of
Yeah,
thing.
right. See, that's cool.
So cool. So I've got a lot of stuff to dig through and play through.
We
She
need to
actually
get our
rang me
After
this
Dark
morning
episodes going. Oh really?
and
There's
said
more
she's
already?
got another box of 50 and to come pick them up. I'm like,
Nice.
okie dokie. But today,
What's the math on that? How much is that costing you?
10
20
bucks.
cents.
10 bucks a
piece?
box,
Fucking hell.
basically. And I'm cool with just chucking a $10 a box sort of thing, especially if I do end up flipping some of the Hollywood shit.
Well, you can, yeah. These days,
So
you
we'll
you can probably like sell one Hollywood movie for the
I
price of a
heard,
box.
VHS News, beep, beep, I heard that they're going to start grading them.
Oh god.
So they're going to be like condition graded, edition
Oh, this
graded,
is how
like
it starts,
first
though.
editions and stuff
This
like
is
that,
how
and
it
where
starts.
it's from.
This
'cause
is a problem. This
the
is not
Australian
good.
stuff will be more rare, and yeah,
This is
it
not
is a
good.
problem. So I'm lucky I'm getting in early and
Mm.
just filling up my shed full of shit I don't want, no matter what it is. I'm making up a new card as well to give out, and it's gonna say, just give it everything. Give me everything.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. The copyright machine's going. I put up all the stuff from. Remember we watched the tape of my photos, like in
Yeah,
the first episode. I backed up everything else that was on that tape as well, which was the punk documentary.
Yeah,
You used to
yeah,
watch that, like you've seen that documentary like 10 times because
Yeah,
it used
that
to be
used to be
your thing.
Yeah.
So I backed that up, and the movie that was on it is also completely copyright free, like random TV movie. It's actually nowhere else on the internet. So when I
Oh.
put that up, it'll be like an exclusive.
An exclusive.
Yay, backing stuff up. We'll have to watch that one for cinema movie time. Is a go cinema one day, I think. If I can be bothered. It looks like a dreary, boring movie. But anyway, today's
It's kind
video
of the point, right?
is what I didn't learn at school but wish I had. We're going to learn how to make money. This is going to be a boring seminar. This is one of those tapes where the cover and the title is way more exciting than the tape. I really like the cover of this for some reason. It's so pretentious. Anyway, Jamie McIntyre is the guy who made this and everything. And he is from Melbourne, went to school in Melbourne. Rich, rich people that have yachts, they think they know how to get rich. I don't understand it. But anyway, I looked him up. He's done a bunch of stuff. I don't care about his childhood. I want to talk about him now.
Right.
Just before the COVID hit, he had a news website up. And there's a clip of him pretending to be a newsreader with like a green screen, talking about how he has enough information right now to convict the government of a scandal because COVID's not real. And he invented, and please do not research this yourselves, do not even look into it, you'll get bad results in your Google. He invented a new social media platform. It still exists and is running 110% popular amongst boomers, called Truthbook, which is basically Facebook where you can tell the truth. So this guy's a piece of shit. This is an obscure tape time episode where we disclaimer the views and thoughts of the people in the videos that we watch have nothing to do with us. Which is like every single seminar thing. Why is it that people that give seminars are assholes?
I hate this already.
So, buckle up.
We haven't even started
relax.
the tape yet, and I already want this guy to, like, jump in front of a bus.
I want him to as well.
Goodness me.
Thing is, we could probably get an interview with him.
Nope.
It's another one of those things where we could, and I don't want to.
Nope, I refuse.
I'm
I'm vetoing that.
It's not even funny to even try. Like,
No.
not even to troll him. I just don't want to talk to him at all.
No, we have nothing to offer him. He's got nothing to offer us.
Let's just watch this old video for historical purposes
I'm gonna talk mad shit.
and talk
I
mad
hope he sees it. I
talk
hope he
mad
sees it. I hope he
shit.
sends cease and desist.
Yeah.
Fuck this guy.
Oh dear.
At least the dick pill guy is like,
Yeah, he's just an idiot.
at least he's selling dick pills that may actually help someone in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, it's a placebo, yeah.
Well, they might be legit. I don't know. I haven't looked into it.
Dick pills are not legit. None of them are. There's no such thing. Otherwise, it would be in the news.
Viagra is a real life thing that works.
That's right. And it's got, yeah.
So if that's all it is, then...
If it's Viagra, then
Cool.
it's medicine, right?
Well, yeah, that's what pill implies.
Yeah, but it's an alternative medicine. And do you know what they call alternative
that's-
medicine that works?
Right, that's
Medicine.
right. Unless the damn government blocks it. Big pharma and all that. So that's what this guy's going to be on about.
Yeah,
They should team up.
yeah, don't look him up because he does have like vloggy videos where he talks crap, and you don't want to be clicking on those.
No.
Or if you're gonna do it with one of those VPNs
Yeah,
and
instead
the
of VPN in
incognito
private mode and stuff, yeah, just don't. Don't give this guy any traffic. Piece of garbage.
Make sure your ad blocker's on.
Yeah, don't give that piece of shit any revenue. You know what, motherfucker? If you got evidence that it's all a hoax, where is the evidence?
The evidence
That's the one thing I hate about these fucking people.
is that
they're
his
always,
grandma isn't
they're
dead yet.
always like, no, we have evidence.
Don't you think it's time to get more out of life? We had that on a t-shirt. Alright, so here's the stuff about his past. I didn't need to look this up because it's in the
Oh, he's a
a
life.
scrolling warning at the start.
Yeah, there's a thing about life coaches as well.
Yeah.
There's also like a weird sect of like PTs who are just weird conspiracy theorists. Probably because they're meatheads. Bias practices of the financial planning industry.
I liked that whole little video. I think I might
Holy shit, have to produce real life investment results in their own life before being allowed to advise others in financial planning.
That's not good.
My, well, no, look. I can see where that, like, the legitimacy of that would be, but it's more just like, if they're not good, then people aren't going to go to them.
Ape likes the music and the little thing at the front, and I liked it as well. In fact, I like that video. I'm going to cut that separate. Whoa, look at that window! It was a lovely flying window for a really bad graphic
Good
with a
evening,
bad
everyone.
background.
Oh, yeah, look at
Welcome
this
to How to
knobhead.
Excel in the 21st Century. A lot of you may be in the
Is that
crowd
what it's called?
wondering
It's not what the
to
video is
expect
called.
tonight. Just to share with
So,
you, in the same position
how
over
to
12
learn
months
how
ago,
to be
come
rich
in
and
knowing,
make
is
money.
it gonna be worth
First,
it?
make
Here's
a
what
really
I've
low
done.
budget video.
Donated my
Second,
time, volunteered.
charge the
Is
recommended
it
retail
gonna be
price
worth
for it.
Fuck
Share
me!
Over 12 months ago,
No.
when
It's
I
$100!
learned some
$100
fantastic financial
No, that's
strategies,
what it would be doing
big
by,
quality,
like, charging
big
that
difference
much.
in the quality
You
of
would
my
be
funding
fucking me.
today. So it definitely
You
is
want to
worth it.
fuck me,
That's not
don't you?
what we're here
You
for
want to
tonight.
fuck me right
We're here
in the
to learn how
butthole.
Jamie can teach you. Over 5 years ago, Jamie was 150,000 in debt with no job or future prospects. And turned
Jesus
himself into a
fucking
self-made millionaire
Christ!
by learning to
What
develop
the
the
fuck?
mindset of a millionaire and also apply some simple financial strategies. So he's also co-founder of a multi-million-dollar educational company and an author. He's already donated in excess of $1 million to teenagers, scholarships, and nominated
You
Young
mean he's
Australian
drug
of the Year.
dealers or?
Probably.
So what I'd like you to do is put a big hand to welcome Mr. Jamie
He's on some
McIntyre.
wacky stuff.
Alright. I hope we didn't talk too much through the most exciting 5 minutes of the video,
Good
because the
evening.
rest of it's shit.
Welcome along. As Brett mentioned, my name is Jamie McIntyre, and it's
Look at him.
great to have the chance, and I guess an honour to share some things with you tonight. I get the chance to talk to, literally tens of thousands of people right around this country. Something I love to do.
Yay.
The chance to communicate with everyday Australians.
All
And,
fucking old
one thing
people
I
in the
notice
crowd
around
too.
this
Yeah, and
country,
they didn't even
talking to
get
a
their
lot of
free,
people,
like...
is one thing I can say about
pub
Australia.
Yeah, no pub dinner or anything. What a fraud.
I think they did some surveys recently as far as taking up new information and open to change.
Who's
We're
they,
rated as one of
and what were the
highest
surveys?
per capita of any country in the world. So I guess I commend you for that and the fact
Highest
that you've
per
taken some
capita.
time out to come along tonight. I know many of you
Just
have
say
been,
some big
no doubt,
words.
dragged along here by some family and friends, and someone's been along to an event like this and said, you've got to come and check this out. And I guess my intention tonight is to share with you as much as I can, but realize...
You know who he
let me
looks
ask you
like?
this question. Who in the room has
Beavis.
been to
Ah.
at least one
Yeah.
seminar already in
Oh,
their
because of
life?
the
Has already been to
underbite?
At least one seminar.
You think if you had
And
millions
just
of
the
dollars,
shape of his head.
Should
he'd get
survive.
a...
And his hairdo is kind of,
I guess I want
on,
to make it a
you
little
know,
bit different to tonight
almost
because, my
Beavis-like,
time
just
is
the wrong
valuable.
colour.
He's from the
And
early
I certainly
90s,
don't
right?
need to be here tonight. However, I put a lot of time
I don't
and effort
need
into
to be here
Just like
tonight.
yourself,
Fuck off, cunt.
You volunteer to be here tonight, invest your time, it was certainly is precious. So I want to ensure you get the most out of tonight, and I want to ensure my time is certainly valued as much as possible. And the way that I get the most out of my time is, helping you understand and make a significant difference by applying these
I
strategies.
doubt this guy's ever
And,
laughed in his
people
life.
go to a lot of seminars, and I've been to a lot, and there's some great ones out there. But what I find is people come across some great information, but if it was just the information that's taught, for instance, there'll be some people here tonight that will take this information and make a massive difference to the quality of their life. Their bank account will increase, or whatever else they want to change in their life. Can make a big difference with it. But how come there'll be other people in the room tonight that hear the same information, hear the same strategies, yet do absolutely nothing with it? In other words, the challenge that
Because
I
they
face
don't
is that
buy
I used to
your
go to
book.
seminars and learn the great stuff, and I just thought if I could just get the secrets, if I just could find out, how to do it, or how do the wealthy do what they do. It just seems difficult for me, just don't seem to have the money to invest or do these things. And I just thought the information would be the key. However, it wasn't. The key was actually taking some action with that information. So tonight, yes, we can cover a lot of
So it was
strategies.
the
I've been
information.
I'll share a little bit about tonight how
Talking a
I
lot of
went and
nothing
learned
so
some
far.
information. I was able
Yeah,
to
he said
apply
nothing at all.
some what I consider
That's why
fairly
we're
new
saying nothing,
financial
'cause we
strategies
can't
many people are not aware of.
Taught
By
something that's
changing my
empty.
thinking and to go from a position of being $150,000 in debt and a little bit over 5 years ago it was now, and a little over 3 years after that I was able to turn my financial situation around completely to where I've become a self-made millionaire at a very young age in this country. And I don't say that to impress you, but to impress upon you that
Yeah, you
some
did.
young kid that grew up on a farm can learn something and figure out how to do that, then my
wonder
belief
he's a
is that other
fucking
people
truther.
can produce much better
'Cause he grew
financial
up on a
results than what they're
farm.
doing.
He's a bogan.
Does that make sense? And tonight, I guess, is to share with you some of those strategies.
Stay on
I
him.
want to challenge you. Let me ask you a question. Who wants to get a lot out of tonight? Raise your hand if you want to get a lot out of tonight. Okay? Because we could just sit here and share some interesting information, and some of you may
just here for
some,
the night
some of you
out.
may not. Okay?
Just happy to be out of the house, to be honest.
My role as an educator is
Just gonna
to
sit
get
and
people
stare
to
at
take
this
action.
wavy
I
carpet.
would leave. I would not be sitting here through this.
Information was not used. So I guess I want to challenge you tonight to consider this.
We sat through the bed ones.
Because there was food. We left once we'd eaten.
That would make a difference to your bank account, if that's what you're interested in.
Yeah, the cameraman's
Just one
falling
idea. Would it
asleep.
be worth it? Yes or no? Yeah. But what have you learned? You could learn several ideas, or at least enough strategies tonight that if you're committed to taking action with those things, even though that may mean you may have to face your fears.
What's up
your
with these
limitations, maybe things that are holding you
promo
back right
signs?
now,
It's got a
you
picture
may
of a
have to
house
change
and a
your
picture of a
thinking, you may
car.
have to
This is
consider
what you could
expanding
have.
Yeah, you
mindset,
can
your
have
thinking,
car
etc.
and
But
house
would it be
with your
worth the
monies.
effort, even if you had to
Just the
study
same
the
number.
notes that we go over
Same
tonight,
house,
you know,
same car.
Well, there you go.
review it every single day.
But then it's got
week.
bank,
If you had to
and
take
it's
that
got
level of commitment,
$51.
apply this stuff,
And 35 cents.
if
Don't
that
forget the
could
35
set you up,
cents.
just one or two ideas could set you up financially for the rest of your life. You know, would it be worth, putting everything into it for the next few hours to understand this? Yes or no? And I believe most people it would be, because many people just, often are not committed enough. And I can give you as much as
Oh, motherfucker,
18
paid
tonight,
for this
but
shit.
it's a two-way street. Is that
How
fair
long
enough?
has he gone
So,
on
some of
about
the
being
things I wanna
committed
share
to the
with you,
stuff
for
he
instance,
shares with us so
I've been
far?
able to help many people by understanding these strategies, like how to replace their income. Many people in 90 to 180 days after attending an event like that. Now, is anyone in the room
You
that
know
would
where
like
I
to
put
replace
my
their
income?
in the next 90 to 180
Into
days? Okay?
bills. Well,
Other
zoom out.
people have done it. Can you do that? Well, I believe you could, but there's a big if. And the if is really up to you, whether you're willing to do certain things.
You want to read
Now,
that
some
when you get
people's
bored?
obviously gonna take
That needs to
longer
be
than
read
that,
out when you get
but,
bored.
we're gonna
I'm
look at
saving
different
that for when.
strategies. For instance, we're going to look at some exciting
I
strategies.
want you to
around
read
share
that
market.
out.
Who in the room has some shares? Raise your hand if you have some shares.
I don't share anything. It's all
obviously
mine.
some
How many
people
years are we going to
never
be sitting here watching this
touch
prick?
shares or maybe never invested.
We only have the
before,
one
which
tape.
is fair enough. I guarantee you the time you leave tonight,
And how many
you'll
years does
definitely
it
wanna
go
have some
for?
shares. Okay. I used to not like shares until I realised and learned some strategies that can make significant cash flow.
It's gone
with
10
low to
minutes, so
medium risk
we're 10%
without
through.
needing
No,
to work for that money. And soon
I think
took
it
a
only
liking
goes
to
for the
shares.
hour.
Thank
Okay.
God.
And so we're going to go through that.
I hate
Talk
these
about a s-
people.
A concept of
Yeah, I
renting
know.
out
We got a
shares.
million of their tapes.
And,
Specifically,
most
not this
people,
guy.
renting
We've
out
gone
shares,
through the
look, you
sex
can rent
guys
out
tapes as
property,
well.
how
But we
to
got
rent
like
out
so
This
many
this guy
religious
makes
ones.
the sex guy almost likable.
Let's look
I-
at most people don't know
I enjoy
what
his
can be
tapes
done.
when he
Look at
goes
the
on
strategy we
stupid
can
bits.
generate, I believe,
Yeah, he's
with an
awful.
extra $4,000
That bit where he started
$5,000 a
crying,
month
that was so
in
much
a
fun.
reasonably short period of time.
Yeah,
working
yeah.
less than 5 minutes.
It was fun
a month.
criticizing him for that.
Oh, it doesn't mean
Is
he's a
that of
good
interest to
person.
anyone
Just
tonight?
enjoyed the video.
Oh yeah, but I mean,
Let's move
it
on
was
to that
fun
topic,
talking
yeah.
shit
Let's
about
look
him
at
because
property. Who's-
in the long run,
who
he's
here,
kind of harmless.
owns a
Yeah,
property
he's
or
just
lives
an
in a
idiot.
property.
A fraudulent
Okay,
idiot,
that
but an
should
idiot.
take care of most of us.
This guy
And,
is
so look at
actually
having
a
some
piece of
tax-free
garbage
money
human
legally,
being
so
who.
ATO,
I don't like the
double
Wags
banking in the room
guys.
tonight. Yes,
They're
the
all
strategies
about that
we're
as
looking
well,
tonight
now
will
that you
definitely
look
be
them up.
legal.
Oh really?
And
They're all
yes, you can get
truthers.
tax-free
Yeah,
money
we
from
talked about
investments
that
and
when we did the episode.
quite legally here in Australia and things like that. We'll look at things like that, different strategies. So a lot we're going to go through, but also
Didn't this
wanna,
motherfucker get
help you
150k in
understand
debt? I
what
don't
call
believe
the
it. I
mindset
think
of
he's
a
lying.
millionaire.
He bought a
In
yacht
other words, if you think about
and
it,
couldn't
people
afford it.
that
He was like, "Can I buy that
incredibly
yacht?"
wealthy,
And they're like,
do you think they may
"Yes." And he's like,
think
"I don't have the money right
differently
now." And they're like,
to
"That's
someone
okay."
that's on the dole?
Yeah, I'm
What do you think?
sure that's exactly what happened.
It's exactly what
Dramatically, a
happened.
big difference.
It was the
And that's why
80s.
we're
Things
like,
were
my thinking's
different.
changed a lot in the last 5 years, and I think differently to most people. But I also produce very different results to most people as well. So we want to look at some.
Has
of
he
those things tonight.
started
So here's what
yet?
I challenge you to do. If you want to get the most out of tonight, it's up to you.
He's
I
still
think-
introducing it. 12 minutes in.
Tonight saying, Thank God I come. I really appreciate this. I've got a lot of stuff, and I can do.
I
start
think
taking
that
action
every
tomorrow.
time I
You
come.
know, a lot of things you can put into action straight away. I recommend you take down lots of notes. Does everyone have a workbook?
All right. I'll
Take
go
down
workbook.
lots of notes. When we go through figures and things like that, just to stay
It's
with it.
way
If
messy.
you've got the notes, you can review it. Who would be willing to review their notes at least once in the next 7 days? Who'd be
I
willing to
will.
do that?
Yeah.
Nope.
Okay.
Fuck
Send
off.
some people around. just to
Everybody
make
raise
sure
your
you do.
hands.
In other words, it's up to you to take action with it, because I'll be honest here. Yes, you can make a big difference, but if you don't do anything with it,
Did
it's not gonna
Patricia
happen.
make people raise
The
their
other thing I
hands in
challenge
her
you to do is
seminar?
keep an open mind.
Should we do a raise
What
hands
used to hold me
montage?
back is that
We
I
probably
used
don't
to
have
think
enough
I
for
knew
that.
everything.
I got a whole bunch of
that make
religious
sense?
ones. They might
We'll
be
Just some of
doing.
my, when
Yeah,
I
If
was
we,
in
if, yeah,
mentors,
if we
it was
see
quite
more of it,
healthy.
then we easily can.
They said
but-
to
Keep
me,
it in the
Jamie,
back of our mind.
They said, I don't give a damn how much you know. And said, all we're interested in, what are you doing? What results do you have in your life?
21st century
Because
education.
as I said, I
Didn't
used to
even
think I
fucking know
knew
what that
everything,
meant.
but my results
I
weren't
still don't know that.
up to what I knew.
I don't
Well,
know.
now you
Most
can
people
go into
know
a
lot
school
more
and
what
see
they're
it.
actually doing. Is that fair enough? In other words, for a lot of people, we just got to get ourselves to do
mean
some
like
things we already know and then
touchscreen
add some more
blackboards?
strategies to that. So keep an open mind. The other thing I wanted you to consider is a lot of people are just focused on, just making enough money to be comfortable. Okay? Now, who in the room would like to be comfortable financially? Okay? There's nothing wrong with that, but I want to stretch you.
Does that mean
beyond
that
just
some
being
of us
comfortable.
cannot believe in money?
Because I'll share this analogy with you. I used to think rich people were bad people. All rich people are bastards. You know what I'm saying? Or they must be selfish
said
and greedy
bastards.
and things like that. And
Well,
one of my
they
first
kind of are,
mentors,
mate.
He was a
Like,
very wealthy man.
kind
And
of the point.
and he said to me, look, I deliberately make 40 times more money from my investments than I need to live
Deliberately.
an extraordinary quality of life. 40 times more. And I'm thinking, yeah, I knew it. Rich people are greedy. Okay. And he said, well, Jamie, it's the
Okay.
way that you look at it. He said, let's see who's the selfish and greedy one here. He said, right now, this is 5 years ago, right now you're in a position where you can't even make enough money to take care of yourself. And he said, don't you think that's selfish? He said, you can't even take care of yourself. He said, I'm
What?
in a position where I have both time and money. More money than I need and
What?
more time than most people. He said, I'm in a position by choice where I have both time and money to focus on
What?
helping other people. Where you
That is
can't. He said, "Who's the
Massively
selfish
flawed
person?"
logic.
And what it did
He's
for
not
me was
helping other
completely
people.
change my thinking. Instead of feeling guilty about
That
becoming
is the most
wealthy, saying,
flawed
"Hang on a
fucking
minute,
logic.
I live in a beautiful country. Is that true? We live in Australia. And I say to people, if you can't make it in Australia, guess what? You're not going to make it anywhere. And how is it that in one of the most wealthiest countries on the
I
planet,
hate this guy.
or what at least used to
Has
be
he
one of
said
the
anything
wealthiest
yet?
countries on the planet, why is it then so few Australians
He
actually
justified
sharing
being
that
rich
wealth?
as a good thing,
If you look around this country,
and
most
being poor is
Australians
being
are
selfish,
working
is what he
as
said.
slaves
So
to
if you
their
are poor,
and a slave to a job.
stop
In
being
one of the most
selfish.
wealthiest countries in the world.
Go
What
get
is
rich.
going
I'm trying.
on?
You're clearly not trying hard enough.
No, I'm not.
Fuck.
I get
The question is, think about that.
$30
What
a
do we
month
need to change
on my
that?
YouTube
Because
gaming.
we can't,
As a
afford
female,
the
I
lifestyle
thought
in this
investing
country.
was
It's not
only
gonna
for
happen,
men. Good
migrate
start
to
here. This is
Bombay
strong.
or,
Within
Calcutta or
4
something
short
like
weeks
that.
of doing
It's not gonna
Jamie's
invest.
program,
We're gonna say,
I
take
bought my
advantage of
first
the
investment
opportunity
for
we
a
have.
discount
So
of
tonight, I don't just want you to be
7.5%
comfortable. I want you to
under
think
the
about, say,
valuation,
Jamie, I just want
which
enough
meant a
money,
profit
you
of
don't have to work anymore,
$19,000
have it as
in
a choice.
equity
That's a
straight
worthwhile
up.
goal. I want to stretch you
With the
beyond that.
confidence
Does
of
make
that
sense?
experience,
I did not
I
become a
used some
millionaire
of
because I wanted
the
to be
add
materialistic and
value
make a lot
cash
of money.
flow
I
strategies
become a
and
millionaire because I
negotiated
wanted to
my
make a big
salary
difference in
package
my
from a
life. I
measly
wanted to live my purpose,
$28,000 per year to
and I wanted to help a lot of
$48,000.
people. And
You
as
can
a
do
result,
you
in
can do
order
the
to do
sums.
that, I need a lot of
In
money
just
and
4
a lot of
weeks, I
time.
literally made
Does that make sense?
$39,000
So I
out
was
of
then
thin
driven
air.
to make
I'm
money
stoked.
for the reasons to be able to live my purpose.
I didn't
So in other
understand
words,
most of
That's a
that.
very
what it's
different
saying is,
driver to the
To
average
get
person.
rich,
The
you need to
average
already
person
be able to
could be true,
afford
just
a
wants enough
property.
money
All right.
And then you need to
to
have a
get
boss
by.
who's going to be
Just
willing
wants
to
enough
give
money
you
to take
a
care of the bills,
massive
pay
raise.
the mortgage,
Yeah.
etc.
Like
So their
almost
drive
double
levels down here.
your
But
salary.
Jamie's
We're
going to
gonna
give
kinda
us the
raise our
information on
standards
how we
and say,
can do
how
that.
can we go beyond that? Because
mean,
if I
so
can get
far
you to
he's
raise your
It's
standards
fraud!
and if you put some focus in, you imagine the next
Ugh. I hate this
things we're
guy.
gonna learn here tonight.
He's still
It's okay.
saying
I'm
things
gonna
we're
get at
going to
least
learn
90
here
days. I'm just
tonight.
gonna stay
I mean, this does
and
only go for an
look at
hour. We're
how I can
15
improve
minutes
my
in,
life
so
and do
we've
more than what I'm
wasted
currently doing.
quite a lot of
And
its
you'd be
time.
amazed what can start to happen. But go beyond that. So all I ask in return for tonight is share a lot of valuable information that normally would not be shared with the average person. It's very
Except
difficult
you
for
do
to
it.
acquire this information, very expensive, very time consuming. But
Maybe
I'm
it's an
glad I
hour and
did.
a half.
It's made a tremendous difference in my life, and I've been able to impart this information to tens of thousands of Australians, and there's many people that no longer have to work as a result of learning these strategies, and they're very happy about that, as you can imagine.
So,
And you could be one
what
of them if
happens
that's something
when
that you want to do.
everybody is that
Well,
rich
I
they
ask
don't
in
have to
return that
work?
you consider if you increase your wealth as a
nothing
result
gets
of
done.
applying these strategies tonight,
We have a
would you be
choice.
willing
We
to
either
consider
bring in
doing
poor
this?
people from other countries.
Consider giving
Yeah,
at
but
least
they're being
10%
selfish
of
because
that.
they're poor.
They're being selfish because they're poor for one
Increase
thing, and
what?
two,
Increase
you know,
net worth,
fuck off, we're
increase
full,
income.
right?
Oh, yeah,
Not
that.
to
That's
me.
their logic.
Okay, you can if you want, but you don't have to.
Fuck off
But
with
to a
full unless
favourite
you're bringing me
charity
my
of your own
Deliveroo.
charity or
Yeah,
whatever you
that's
believe
it.
in giving money to.
Unless,
Would
of
you be willing
course,
to
you're
consider
taking
doing
that delivery job away from
In
a
other words,
white
let's say you
person.
made an extra
Who
$50,000
wants
in the next
Deliveroo?
12 months as a result of what you learned tonight.
Fucking
That means you'd have
ridiculous.
to give away
But the white
5,000
people
to
can't do that
worthwhile
delivery
cause.
job because they're
Would that be
rich
fair enough?
and not being selfish.
And I find a lot of people say, I'm not, I don't know, how can, give to other people or give way. It's like I find that people are willing to give first tend to get it to come back. And I think the challenge with so many people is they're so focused on themselves, on their own problems, they don't have time to get out there and help other people. And that
What?
the law of giving first.
You're right.
comes
Trump
back.
got his money
And
by
we're
helping
just like
people.
that if you
Yeah,
wanna,
yeah, he's
you know,
right.
create
He's right.
wealth and, you know, I guess and abiding by universal principles. And I often jokingly say to people, if you don't have a favourite charity right now, maybe you'll meet someone in the room tonight that will volunteer to be your favourite charity. So just
Is that a
look
joke?
around, you might find that. So
Yeah, that's a joke.
a lot to get through.
Yes.
Everyone just quickly stand up.
No.
Oh no, not one of those seminars actually have to do something. I just thought I could just, you know, sit here and check it out. And
Be
here's what I want
rich.
you to do in just a moment is get a chance to meet, introduce yourself to at least 3 other people around you. Say what your name is. That should be the easy bit. What you currently
How
do,
many
your
of these
career,
people are paid
occupation.
actors?
And the third thing I want you to share is why are you here tonight? Okay. And
Paid
you can't just
actor.
say, well, my spouse dragged
Yeah.
me along. Okay. That may
Friend
be true
of
for some of
the
you. I have no idea why
speaker.
I'm here. But you've
Family
got to be more
of the
creative now.
speaker.
You're here now, you might as well learn something. What would you like to learn? Okay, your name, what you do, why you're here. Meet at least 3 other people, go for it quickly.
These people that are like got so little going on in their lives that they find this humorous that they're smiling about it. I hope the next 10 minutes is this. I like the music.
Okay, class, everyone grab a seat quickly.
That's a good
Aw.
point, Sentai.
Now you figured
There
out
are
why
preachers
you're here.
and money
we
is
can
the
get started.
church.
Before we go into some of the strategies, I'll quickly tell you a little bit about my story,
Yeah, back then.
where I'm coming from, what gives me the
I'm
right
assuming
to,
that, like,
speak on subjects
there's
such as
dinner
money,
served in the
financial
next room or
success, you know,
something.
success
That's
in
what I'm
general.
assuming.
As I tell people,
Because that's how, like,
very much in every
Bat
day
and I
in
used to go to a bunch of
I've
those.
been fortunate enough, I
Yes,
guess, the
that's
last
why
5,
we've got
6
so
years
much
of my life
patience.
to come across very valuable
You,
information.
what? Yeah, because you'd have to
Said
sit
not-
through
not
most
just
of the
information,
seminar,
but
and then they
there
would
was
bring out the
people
food,
like
and then they
mentors,
would like
people
try to
that
get you to
were,
buy the stuff.
I guess,
Yeah,
patient
we would
enough with me
leave
'cause
and-
I was
Yeah,
slow
just
learner
get up
and
to
walk out.
understand that information, actually be able to then take action.
And if
with
they
it.
really want
And
to
as a
ask you
result,
what's going
taking
on,
action
I
over,
mean, smoke it.
a period of years, I was able to produce well above
Or
average
just say,
results.
I can't afford it.
And in finance,
I don't have that much money.
And they try to talk you out of it, though. If you say smoke
another
on
is my
live,
life.
and you just
and as a
leave.
result, I get to live.
No, because then you can just say like,
today,
oh, I've got
the
$5
way
in my
I
pocket. If you
pinch
give me one for
myself.
that, then
Someone
deal.
told me
Otherwise, yeah, I'm
5
going
years
by.
ago, sleeping on a friend's
You got
couch,
a
that I
good
would
payment
live
plan,
virtually
though.
every dream
Yeah,
that I
yeah.
could
Will you take
imagine
$5
back then.
now and $0 later?
I couldn't
Yes.
comprehend it. I
Thanks.
couldn't believe it. And
That's
just
how you
like
get
some of you in
into
this room, you know, 5 years from now,
$150,000
the
debt.
quality of life,
No, because that's an
portrayed,
agreement right
for
there.
yourself.
You would have them sign an
Time
agreement if they're going to
is
accept
amazing
that. You're
what
like,
you
I want
can
that in writing.
I grew
You
up
can't
on
give me that.
a
Give that to me right
2,000
now.
acre farm, which we
Bye.
still have to this day in northern New South Wales near a township.
I don't
called
trust people
Glen
that wear
Innes. I've
white
never heard of
shirts.
Glen Innes before. And have you ever been there in winter?
I
I
put
don't-
on a shirt and
I
I'm going to
don't
wear it
trust
for the rest of the
people.
week.
That's why I left.
I don't
And,
trust people
but growing up on a
who
farm, one of the
don't
things I learned
trust
around
people
money
who wear
was
white
in order
shirts.
He's
to
Jack.
make money, you had to work really. What do you think?
I only
I
trust
don't know.
people who wear
You
white
know, so I had lots of
shirts.
references
Wow.
to that, working
Exclusively.
really
So
hard.
this guy,
That's
listen.
all, you know, my father
Okay,
had
maybe
done, and,
wearing
my
a white shirt
grandfather
is
had done.
fine,
He
but
was
I want to
alive,
hear
and
the
so
story of their
I
day
guess
by
it was
looking
the
at their
thinking that was
white shirt,
passed
not
on.
when
Life
it's
is
pristine
hard work
like
and
this.
struggle, Jamie,
I want to
that's
see
passed
the
from one
mustard.
generation to the next. So, you know, you just sort of accept that.
That
The
would
other
be
thing
me
is,
as a motivational speaker
people
or whatever.
remember
I'd
being
be
asked,
shirt
what do you
looking
wanna
like
do
shit
when
and
you
be
grow
like,
up?
I look
Remember
like
being
shit.
asked that question?
I'm happy though.
Okay. So
Let me
anyway,
tell you a
figure it out.
story about my day.
If you're honest with you.
This was lunch.
And people want to be different things, actors, actresses, you know.
You tell me to eat
pilots,
over a plate, but I
doctors,
did. But for some
nurses.
reason, the
It's
drips
different for
always
everyone.
seem to
And
go
I
off
wasn't
the
really
side
sure
of
what I
it.
want to do when they grew up, but one thing I definitely was sure
That's kind of
about
like
that
an
is that
analogy
when you
about
grow
what we're
up,
talking
I'm gonna
about
be
tonight.
rich. And I don't know where that comes from.
I just love the idea of it's like, come to this seminar, it'll change your life. And it's just someone who gets up on stage like, almost does like a really dry stand-up comedy act. It's just kind of like, it's so annoying because the food, like, you're so careful and you still just get food on you. It's the worst, isn't it?
No punchline. The observation
Yeah,
is dry.
no, there's nothing. There's no joke. It's literally just like,
Kind of what he's doing.
And some of the teachers.
Have we started yet?
I'm not even listening to this dickhead
I
anymore.
certainly wasn't academically top of the class. I wasn't the bottom.
still
I was
not,
somewhere
mate.
in between, you know, pretty average. I tended to play a lot of sport back then,
Still-
and where
You're
I played
incredibly
rugby
mid.
League, like, as long as you were good at rugby
Is
league,
this gonna
that got
help
you
us,
through school okay, you know what I'm saying?
Earn the money, or
And, so a lot of some of the teachers said, Jamie, if
You're
you
a
want to make lots
dickhead.
of money when you grow up, so some advice.
What
for
you
me.
can do is
If you wanna
pretend
make
to
lots of
tell
money,
people
here's
how
what
to
we
make
recommend you
money
should do
and
the
charge
rest of
them
your
for
life.
admission.
And they said, Jamie, you want to make
And if
lots
you
of
waffle
money, you should
on
go to
long
a place
enough,
called university.
They won't
And
whinge
at
about it. They'll just
university,
leave.
You should study hard and you should become an accountant because accountants make lots of money. Okay, and I think sometimes maybe that's probably true because the amount of fees they charge, but accountants don't always agree with that. Okay, and I like many people started on a career path and headed off on a journey. Then I think it didn't take me too many years later to figure out and say, well, is this
Does
really
still
what I
look
want
like
to do with the
Beavis
rest of
now?
my life? There's more to life than just
Yeah,
working, more
just
to life
great
than
hair.
Does he look like old Beavis
and,
from
at that time I come
the
across
movie?
an interesting statistic. I want to jot this down quickly. That statistic was, This statistic was shared by a very wealthy man. And he said,
Write this down in your
out of those
copybook
people
now.
that become rich in this country, in Australia, of those who become rich, over 70% of them
It's
do
a
it by
direct
owning
quote.
their own, what do you think? Yeah, their own business. Over 70% of them do it by owning their own business. So I'm thinking here, I know nothing about becoming wealthy at the time.
Is that a direct
Thinking, well,
quote?
that's probably why I'm not rich. I don't have a business and I'm working for someone else.
Mind
That
your
must
own
be
business.
the one and only secret I've been looking for to riches. I simply must need to get a business and I should be set for life. Okay? And has anyone else thought that and started their own business? Anyone in the room started their own business? Yeah. And you maybe had the thinking that I had at the time. And so I thought, okay, I've got to get into business for myself. Here's the first challenge that I faced.
Mate, everyone in this crowd is like
And
twice
no doubt
your
when
age
it
at
comes to
least. They've
investing,
been
this is
running
one
their
of the biggest
businesses
hurdles
longer
most
than you've
people
been
don't get
alive.
over. That's why a lot of people are not,
Yeah, they're
out
thinking
there,
they're going to turn
doing
up for
very
tips
well
on how to run
financially.
their business
Is
better.
If
one of the
people
points he's going to bring up as well
in order
is
to make money, you
negotiate a
first have
higher
what?
salary. If you own your own
It's
business,
passed down to me.
You
It's
can-
okay
you
for
can
people
do
to have
that.
you
money, it's easy to
sure
make.
you can, but
don't
you can
have
also
any-
put yourself
you
out
won't.
of business by giving
I find
yourself
many
all the
people,
money.
as many Australians, that is one belief that holds them back. They think, yeah, it's all right. You just got to have money to make money. And you know what? Jot this down. This is what I think about. Jot this down. Bullshit. It's bullshit.
Write this in
A lot
your
of things
copybook
that,
now.
people think around money is
Bullshit.
okay? In other words, if we're going to become wealthy, we need to start finding the truth and doing the opposite to most people. As one of my mentors said, Jamie, if you want to be successful, find out what most people are doing and then do the exact opposite. And I've been doing that for the last 5 6 years.
Don't leave spaces
I'm
for
pretty
us
happy
to
about it.
say.
You know what I'm saying?
Aw.
And I don't always know exactly what to do, but I just think
I
what would
heard
most
some of the
people do
people in the
this
audience
situation, and I
try
go,
and
They tried.
and,
Opposite.
so I call it the law of opposites. But anyhow, just before I go on, I just want to also welcome in tonight. There's people will be watching this via video right around the country.
That's
in their
us.
Home. So can we just give those people a hand?
That's us.
That's us. Thank
We
you.
get a round of applause, right? This guy's
That way
great.
they feel
I take it
welcome
back.
for joining us
He
tonight.
clapped. He
And,
clapped for me.
So
Yeah.
anyhow, I was in my story. So where I was up to,
You must be a fan of the show.
Yeah.
just checking whether you're listening. Oh, business. Yeah, I need money to start investing. It's an important point. In other words, that's a hurdle that holds a lot of people back. You need money to make money. Well, not necessarily true.
What did he just say?
If we're
You got a
committed-
head of
see,
the
If we're
hoist?
committed to making this stuff work, we'll find a way.
But Scott Morrison
But I
doesn't
think
hold the
the
hose.
challenge that holds a lot
He
of people
doesn't?
back
No,
is there's two
He's not
kinds of
here
people in
anymore.
this world. There's those that
He
are
did.
committed
hopefully.
to finding a solution to every problem. However,
Oh, our new Prime
they're the
Minister
minority.
changed the flag
The
background
majority
for
of
when he
people,
does his
unfortunately, are committed to
announcements.
finding
Oh, did
a
he?
problem
Yeah,
to
it
every
used to just
solution.
be the Australian flag, but he
Does
put
that
up
make
the Aboriginal and the
present
Torres Strait Islander
solutions.
one as well.
nice.
to help people become financially free.
Almost like he's not
There's
quite as
people that
massive
would
piece of shit as
Take
the
all
other
of
guy.
those solutions and make it happen. Well,
He didn't even like
wrong sort of
cause a
thinking,
fuss
we can't
about
find
it.
problems
People
to
just
it.
noticed.
In
Yeah,
other words, we've got
sounds
to be
about
committed
right.
to making it happen, and that's what I had to learn. I had massive
Like,
commitment. That's why I got
I imagine
massive
if,
results
like,
quickly.
Our last
And I was
government
probably much more
had
committed,
done that, they would have
definitely,
had
than
like
most
an
people.
unveiling
However, my
ceremony.
situation,
Yeah,
I
big
started
time. They'd have been
world
like,
was zero.
we're doing it.
Where
We're
It's-
doing the right
how
thing.
good we are.
We're good.
But we're also putting the military flag here as well.
tremendously good position to really
Yeah, in Scott
produce
Morrison's
results quickly.
defeat speech.
Didn't
Yeah.
have the money.
He
so
did
where
that
did
whole
the
thing
money?
where
I
he's
thought
like,
banks, that's what banks
thanking the
do.
traditional owners of the
to get money
land, and then he was
for
like, but
really,
also
really
thanks to our
desperate people
military.
stuff.
He also said
And,
thanks to
I'm sure some of you
God.
found
didn't
out
he?
that's
He
not
did
the
that at a
case
church,
either.
I think.
Banks
Yeah.
wouldn't give me any money, so
But
how
like,
do I start a business? How do I
we
start
recognize
investing in
the
anything for that
traditional
money?
owners of the land, but
So I
also
didn't have the
thanks
money.
to the people who
And then I
murdered
was
them.
able to come across a thing called credit cards. Has anyone come across credit
All
cards?
those people that came in the
before?
Bay.
Okay. I was
in
able to develop what I
1988.
call multiple
Yeah, all them.
relationships with these things. Okay. I didn't
Why do
just
I
have
know
a
these
fling
things
with
now?
One credit card. I had multiple relationships, and I was able to.
That
make
one
an
guy
impact. I
drowned.
was able to advance a total of $16,000 in cash on these credit cards. I took that money, I used it to launch my
No
first
one
business.
cares,
I had
'cause
no idea what business I'd start.
All right, so here we go.
Right now,
He had no
some time
money,
ago,
so
this
he
was,
put it all on
and
his
I thought,
credit card.
What would be a way
Smart.
to make a lot of money? Because back then, that's all I was focused on, which was another big mistake, by the way. And I thought, well, everyone seemed to, mobile phones were just starting to become popular. And I thought, by the year 2000, everyone will have one. And I thought, I want to start in telecommunications. And you can see I did a lot of research on that. But anyhow, I just started a telecommunications business. And long story short, not having a clue what I was doing.
You mean
just
long
being
story
committed, though,
short?
just giving it a go.
Do the whole fucking
And
story. That's what
putting
we're here
everything I
for.
thought on the line.
You tell us all about your
$16,000.
school
And here's
days.
another
Now
thing
you're
I
going to talk
didn't
about
talk
how you
about.
actually earned the money. We're just going to skip that.
Is it
bit.
true? Many Australians think that investing is risky. Many Australians think that. Yeah. Many people think that
It
investing
is,
is
you
risky.
Donut.
Or it's too time consuming, it's too difficult, and you're better off letting someone else just manage the money. Many people think that. And I can understand why they would think that. I used to think that. But anything we share tonight is, I'm going to show you tonight, for instance, how, yes, there will
29
be risk
minutes.
in these strategies
gonna
that
show
I
you.
do and other people are doing.
Oh, hello.
However, here's my belief.
This bit's better.
There's risky. The question
Yo,
is,
Tori
risky
just
compared
subscribed
to
for
what?
37 months in a
See,
row.
I'm not
And
recommending
made
going
all
and
the
start a
sound
business
go
like
away.
I did, but I
Thanks,
borrowed
Tori. I really don't want to listen to this
$16,000,
fucking dickhead anymore
and I
anyway.
put it on
Wait,
the
what
line.
happened?
Does that make sense?
He suddenly had
Borrowed
$16,000.
that
Yeah, I don't know.
To put on the line. To
It is
start
cutting out for you guys
business.
too, right?
That's considered a big risk.
Oh, that's all right.
However, let's consider it.
Was that you or the
What do
video?
most people borrow money
Oh,
for?
to
We'll,
remember.
we'll find out.
Would many Australians
when I
borrow
rewatch it.
$16,000 for a car? Yes or no? I'd borrow $16,000 for a car. They drive it out of the showroom, and guess what happens to that great investment? It drops anywhere from 20 to 30%.
Oh, so what we should
they
do is
lose
keep
what?
the
$3,000 or
$16,000
$4,000.
and walk everywhere
It might drop to 13,000.
with my special new shoes.
And the great thing about cars
You
is that they
gotta
have the
fix.
habit of doubling every 7 to 10 years. Is that right? In other words, in 10 years' time, what's a car worth? Anywhere from 0 up to maybe a few thousand, depending on the car. And not only are cars a great investment for achieving that, but every time you pull up at the
I
service
traded
station,
my
that
last
just
car
puts
in for
more
$50.
cash back into your pocket.
Ooh.
They don't do that either. So, in other words, when we look at people saying
think ours are
investing
probably
is
similar.
risky, I think, yeah, sure, there's a risk to everything. Life is risky. No one's going to get out of life alive. That's how risky it is. But if we think about it,
Well, that's not a risk
car,
then. That's just a guarantee.
people buy a car
Yeah.
and it does that on their money. They think, well, that's normal, no big deal. So let me ask you a question. Who in the room's bought a car already? Raise your hand. Okay. And have you survived that? You bought a car. Could you handle the risk of buying a car? Yes or no? You got some good news for you. If you could handle the risk of buying a car, then the risk necessary.
Oh,
for
I
you to become
deliberately bought
financially
cars that were
independent,
already trash.
even with
Sorry.
some of the strategies, even with strategies I'll show you tonight where you can make up to 100% return on your money, will have less risk than what you've already done in buying a car. Does that make sense? Is that good news for you?
No,
Because a lot of people, I'm not going to invest, it must be too risky. Once again, bullshit. They're already taking more risk with the money than what it would be to investing. In actually investing
so far he's
smartly,
telling
there's
us
less
to
risk on
make
their
money, we need to invest.
Some people think
That's it.
that putting
But I
Like,
don't have any
their
money.
in the bank,
He said you
they
don't
put
need
their
money
money
to
in the
make
bank.
money, but I
Why?
don't have money to
because they
invest.
think it's
Exactly.
safe.
If you have
They let other people manage their
16,000
money
to
because
invest
they
in a
think it
car,
is safe.
I don't.
Interesting, isn't it?
then you're ready to get started.
See,
I'm
What?
not.
Just
let's
what?
look at this for a
But you
second. Where do most people
Then
go
how do
about
I
money?
drive
Who do they
anywhere?
go and see about money? Parents want people, but who would they go and see? If you want some advice, where would you normally go for money? Your bank manager, yeah.
Centrelink.
Accountants. Accountants, financial planners, that be true? And people like that. Now, let's not pick on anyone here tonight, but let's just discuss the truth, shall we? Now, and the banks as well. Let's talk about the banks for a moment. Is anyone work in the banks here? Raise your hand if you work in the bank. That's okay.
Why is that funny?
Because, you're part of the system anyhow. Here's what, a lot of people, see, here's the other thing. People think, and I'll get back to my story in a minute, people think
Please
that
don't.
to
Yeah,
make
please
high
don't.
returns, here's the other things that hold people back. People think to make high returns in investing, if you can make a high return, must be what? High what? High risk. Jot it down, bullshit. Now, it's true. In
Everybody's
some
come
cases,
here with
high
their
return equals
notebook,
high risk.
and every single page just
Yeah.
says bullshit on
There's
it.
ways to make high return. with
If it
low
was
risk.
easy, everyone would be rich. If it was low risk,
Well, Jamie,
everyone
that's
would be
true
rich.
then.
But
then
everyone
how come
is
most
rich.
people
It's
don't
just
know
that
about it?
because of the way that
Importers come into
money
their views
values
and things like
goes,
that.
nothing's
And it's
worth
interesting the
anything because
questions
we're all
asked. You
rich,
go,
and
well,
now we're
Jamie,
all
it's
poor
obviously
again.
okay with you, and you're obviously
Except the
very
people who
young, and
aren't.
That's why you've had heaps of
Yeah,
energy,
but they're
that's
the
why
one
you've become
percents,
wealthy.
right?
And I
They're
find
the
that
people that
humorous, 'cause
drink
when I
that
was young,
weird
I was
milk.
thinking, I'm too young to become wealthy. I'm too young to be successful. Maybe when I get a
Lizard
few grey
people.
hairs, people think I'm wise enough then, I might become wealthy.
I can
then.
tell you're not
So
wise
it's
because you say
okay to hold them
anything
back.
instead of
So You're
anything.
lucky,
That's so
obviously,
do
but can you expect
Don't I?
the average
I don't
person to
know.
be able to use these strategies and produce similar results? Can you really know? There's got to be a catch. It
Regardless, it's
can't
not like you're
possibly
standing up in
happen
front of an
for other
audience trying to
people.
say, you
And
know,
I'm like, absolutely,
check this
I'm
out.
absolutely adamant. If people do certain things, it's going to happen. And people can actually do it quicker.
no, we're
Let
saying
me
this guy's a
explain to you
fraud.
why I think
We're not
Yeah.
saying,
the
listen to
average
this, it's
person
good
does not
advice.
know how you can
Listen
make
to
high
not
returns
this.
with
It's
less
not good
risk,
advice.
with low to medium risk. Let's see if we can figure it out, shall we? The
Think
banks.
for yourself.
If you put your money in
Won't
the bank,
you?
which bank told you at a young age that you should put money in the bank?
Commonwealth. They gave us
That
that
one, okay.
dolomite
You know,
thing, and
at a
then
young
we had
age,
the
we're conditioned
aliens.
and trained
I
about
like
money.
those ads.
So the average Australian lives in the wealthiest country on the planet, yet most of them are broke. How is that possible? Let's consider it. The good old banks, okay? If you put money in the bank, because it's nice and safe and we're taught to do that, what do we make on our money? Can we make 2%? If we're lucky. Being generous, up to 5% per annum, yeah. Yeah. That's before fees and charges. Okay, I'm being generous, in case there's some bankers in here. We want to.
You're not being generous.
2 to
You
5%.
don't know what you're talking about, and the people in the
So
audience
if
are
the
calling
banks
you
can
out
get
on it.
your money at 2 to 5%. Do the banks only make a couple of percent on that money? Do you think? Over on this side, how much do you think they might make on that money? Could they make 20%? Could they make 50%? Do you think they could make 100% per annum? And possibly even more. But let's say they can only make 20 to 100% per annum.
So
Okay.
what we should do is open up our
Not a
own
lot of
bank,
risk for them, is it?
and
Because
then
guess
people
whose
will
money they're
give
making
us
on?
their money.
Okay. So on this side, what the
Yeah,
average
and
Australian
we can
taught
use
about
it
money.
to
On this side, we
buy
this is us over here.
loaves of
We're
bread.
taught put in the bank, we'll get 2 to 5%.
Then we'll
And
be
then we're taught
rolling
we go
in
to
dough.
seek financial advice. We go to see a financial planner. And one of my mentors said, Jamie, go and sit down next to a financial planner, and as they're teaching
The
you
fact
what
he doesn't
to do,
name his
what advice
mentors
you should
is
give
just
them,
very
here's what I want you to
suspicious.
think
Just
about
sit down
in the
next
back
to
of
a
your mind.
financial planner and
If
just
that
kind of
financial planner can help
by
you become a
osmosis.
self-made millionaire, live the life of your dreams, and design the
I'm a
ultimate
millionaire.
lifestyle that you want and you commit it to, then why haven't they done it themselves? I thought, I didn't think of that before. Is that a fair enough question? Okay. Not picking on financial planners. But let me ask you another question.
You are,
For a
though.
financial planner to get a piece of paper to give you advice on financial planning, do they have to become successful investors, know how to lead by example, and be committed to be an example of how to invest and replace their income before
Well,
they
that's-
can share
That's
that
either their
information
job
with you? Yes or no?
or they're not very good financial planners.
Do they actually have to be taught anything about money? Very little.
If he's rich,
okay?
why is he
And
here
so
in this
some of the
dingy
smart
little
ones
room
come
with
to
all these
seminars
old
like this
people?
So they learn and they can help their clients, and there is some good ones out there.
Because he's
In
getting
other
paid
words,
for it.
they're not
Exactly.
wealthy,
This is
but
how
we
he's
seek
making
advice
his
from.
ridiculous amounts of money.
Tonight, I challenge you to check out, okay?
Cut,
This
doesn't
is
edit.
fine. Is that fair enough? 'Cause I know that some of you
He has said nothing.
raise your hand, honestly, if you've got some skepticism.
He is literally
Come on.
the
Look
definition
at it on
of a
camera.
truther. I can see why he's a
You know
COVID
it.
denier.
But now
Because that's what they
skepticism is
do.
fine,
They just
because you
say,
probably I'm skeptical
yeah,
as
bullshit to
well.
that.
But you know what's
Bullshit
good
to
about
that.
skepticism?
And never say
What
anything on the
skepticism
contrary.
is,
They just say,
you
nah, it's
check out
bullshit.
the fact
Trust
that
me.
He said
that's
one
what you
thing.
wanna
He
do.
said you don't need to be
Because,
rich to
see,
invest
what
all
I
Yeah,
your
but then
money
that's all
and
he
get
said.
money back.
Yeah, that was him saying it's
Open
bullshit.
arms,
People who
check
say
out.
that you do is
What you wanna be
bullshit.
careful of is,
But
because
that doesn't
unfortunately
make
in
any
this country,
sense.
It makes
because
no fucking
I
sense.
don't have money to
cynical.
invest to make money
And
with no
cynicism
money.
is
Like
really
how
a waste of
COVID
time.
doesn't exist, right?
And that holds
I'm
people back. The
confused.
cynicism is like they're not even willing to check out and clarify the facts.
Maybe
They're willing
that's
to
the
dismiss
joke.
something
Maybe
before
this is
they
a
know
big
the facts.
joke,
Fair
and
enough.
the joke is whenever he says
Skepticism is like,
bullshit,
we
he's
wanna
talking
have
about
healthy
himself.
skepticism about things because we don't want to be too gullible. So I think most of society is very gullible. They're led, to put their money in certain places. So the financial planning system.
So you
Then we
just
have
sit
bank
on it.
managers we go to see, used to see about advice, etc. Having a bank manager going to see a bank about financial advice is a bit like having the fox guard the hen house on the farm. You know what I'm saying?
If you train that fox
When you
right,
think about it, it's like
You'd be
you
very
look how
loyal.
the financial system's set up. We see a bank manager.
don't be speciesist against
Now-
foxes. We should do a line of
Why
t-shirts.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
the
That
financial
are just
planning industry being
These
unaware
bits
of it,
from
guess
all
who
of
owns
the
90%
seminars
of
we
it?
watch. We had the vagina t-shirt,
Yeah, yeah.
the Banks one.
The bull.
90% of that. Now, I'll ask you this question. If the banks can get your money at 2 to 5%, and we're conditioned and educated to do that, and they can know how to make this sort of money, now they make this sort of money, are the banks concerned on the risks they take to make this sort of money? They're not concerned
Stop
with the
asking
risks.
us questions.
That's a bad analogy because they
Why
do
would
have the money
financial
to
planning
burn.
System, why would the banking system, why would the
Burn.
money
Not to
money.
mention,
want
not to
you
mention they
educated to
have
know how to make up to
bailouts from the
100%
government and
per annum
stuff. So
on your money. If it's easy to have people educated, only
Also,
know how to do this or very
how-
small return. Does it make sense? There's no real
instead of putting it in the
agenda, and
bank,
way
like what are we
our
gonna do?
systems are set
How
up
about stop talking this
to
shit
have you
and
know
actually
how to
tell
do
us what
this?
we should do
There's no
rather than what
agenda.
we shouldn't do?
The agenda
Well, we
is that
shouldn't get
it's
a
easy to have
financial,
someone else manage your money
and we
because money is
shouldn't go to an
difficult. It's
accountant.
hard
Cool.
to
and we
control
shouldn't
and
put
all
it
that
into
sort of thing.
bananas.
That's what's put
Yeah,
out.
absolutely
Let
not
someone else
bananas.
take care of it, okay? That's handy because you might get in a managed fund or something 10 or 15%, but they're using that money over here making an absolute fortune and paying small returns, etc. So most of the money's tied up here. What I'm suggesting
Get
to
on with
clients
it.
is
Where do
the
I
way
put
I'm
it?
thinking. Because see, I have a very different agenda. See, I don't work for the banks. I'm not a financial planner.
He just used a W instead of an R on
I'm
very.
independently wealthy.
Very.
And I don't have to be
It's
here.
very, very
Does that make
true.
sense? And I don't need any more money, okay?
Oh.
And I don't need your money either.
All right.
My only agenda.
And why are you
is
selling your
to
tape
make
for
a
$100
difference,
bucks?
And one of my agenda behind that is to have you become
We
independent.
don't want everybody knowing this
Now, why would I
information.
want
It's a
that for you?
secret.
Well, one, if I've been able to access strategies, and to get that, I have to do a promise.
We're
that I'll
40
run
minutes
it on
in
my
and you have not
own,
given us a
one of my
single
mentors,
fucking
one
strategy.
of my mentors.
Yeah, but the strategies
Two
that he
is I
will
have
give us
belief because I
are
think
gonna
it should
make us
change.
rich.
And I have an agenda to have people
We're
be able to
waiting.
make these sort of returns, be aware of the risks, be able to manage the risk, and do it themselves.
You
Because
said there
then we
wouldn't
have
be a
people
risk.
Not enslaved to the monetary system, not enslaved to the banks or to a job, where people are independently wealthy and have the freedom. So as an everyday Australian, we get to get on and do the things we want in life that are most important with us. So what we've got to do is do the opposite. of
fade
most people.
cut.
We have got to re-educate ourselves. We've got to be aware of how the
He's
system
just scribbling everywhere.
and we need to educate ourselves. And what I'm suggesting is this.
Well, why are
money
we going
is not
to the other
difficult
side now?
to manage. To become independently wealthy.
He just
is a
drew
skill
an
you
arrow
learn.
for no reason.
It is worth managing your own money rather than let someone else manage it. Because people think,
You draw
"Oh, let
enough
someone else
arrows,
take care of it. It'll
people
be
will
easier that
get
way."
confused and think you know
Wrong.
what you're talking about.
It'll cost you big time. You're
Ridiculous.
selling your future if you do that. I'm suggesting, as an Australian, I manage my own money.
As an
I'm glad I've
Australian,
learned how to do that. The skills required to manage money and be independently wealthy
Without a
is
bank.
not difficult.
Without having it stored in a bank. Let's just be clear on
And when
this.
you
Yeah,
first
he
start
has
your job,
millions
what
of
business you're in now.
dollars just
At
under his
first
bed.
It might have been difficult. Is that true?
Let's break
Well,
into
once
his
you learn
house.
it becomes a piece of cake.
Just burn his house down and he's got no money. All his
Because if you're
assets are
aware on this
gone.
planet, we divided all the wealth that these monetary, the banking system controls, divided all the wealth on the planet equally, including this country, every single one of us would already be a millionaire. Do you know that? We'd be worth around
Yeah,
about
and
$3
then-
million. The wealth we
And
create.
then one biscuit would cost a couple of $1,000.
But it's not like that, is it?
One
It's
loaf of
strictly
bread will
the
cost
hands of
$10,000.
And the thing that keeps it that way is ignorance. The only way to overcome that is education. And the
Ignorance
education
is
that's
thinking that
unbiased.
everyone can be rich.
So, is that making sense?
No.
I voted for
Now,
the
back to my
socialists.
story.
You
Yes,
should
I
be getting
started
taxed more,
a
mate.
phone company, a telecommunications company. I put everything on the line. I had no idea what I was doing, but it paid off. 9 months later, I was making more money per month in that business than what I used to make in an entire
In other
year
words, you got
somewhere
lucky.
else. And I thought then the secret to becoming wealthy is simply make lots of money. But that was another mistake as well, because the more I made, the more I spent. And I wasn't keeping any. I wasn't paying myself first. I wasn't putting anything aside. I wasn't managing cash flow. So I soon got myself into financial difficulty, like many of Australians, where we spend more than we earn. And we start spiraling downwards instead of becoming wealthier by compounding up.
I don't spend more than I earn. There's no way I can do that.
Business, I got to a point where I thought, I'm sick of working for money.
I don't have a credit
Because
card.
what I wanted was lifestyle. I wanted some time and freedom. I'm sure most people want that. To have lifestyle, obviously you have to have time and money. I was selling my time to get money. It's a sacrifice. I got to a point where I'm sick of the money, so I sacrificed the money to get some time. That wasn't much fun either, okay? And I found myself in a lot of debt. It was about $150,000 in personal debt because I lost my company, lost everything. And it was
Did you
a really
check
good
behind the
wake-up call
couch?
for me to say, hang on a minute, maybe I need to change course. I'm doing something wrong here. I'm not, doing the right thing. And the only place I had left to sleep was my friend.
What was
who
his
used to work
company?
for me in
Did
my
he say?
company, and I was sleeping on his couch.
Was it
either
just
sleep
my
on his couch or
company?
go back to the farm and be a farmer.
Just my
and
company.
freeze my
It's a
butt
fake
off in
story,
winter and
probably.
cleanliness. So I opted to figure
Like
out
his
how to
fake
turn this
news
mess
site
around.
and
I
his
was, I guess,
fake
desperate.
Facebook.
Yeah,
But what
it's
was
all
good about
fake.
that is it made me say, hang on a minute, I need to change my thinking because my thinking is producing this result. So I went on a search to find, because I realised up at that point,
Fake,
the only
fake.
education I ever had was at school and university. And people
Fakey,
think, well,
fake.
that's great, isn't it? School and university. However,
School and
a lot of that
university.
education had been based on theory. And I realised if I wanted to get real results in my life, I needed to find some people that had gone from no money and become wealthy. And people ideally in this country that I could learn off and shortcut my process because I didn't have 50 years to learn this stuff. I dare say anyone in the room a little bit impatient and wants to make money a little bit quicker than, say, the 50-year plan? Anyone like, see we can condense this down. I was very impatient. I thought, I can't wait 50 years, I don't want to one day retire, and, you're walking down the beach one day, you eventually retired, hand in hand with your spouse, cane in cane, it's like, I want a lifestyle.
Cane in cane?
So what I had to look for, I went and searched for some role models and mentors, and I was able to come across
cane
some
in cane?
interesting people.
What does that
And
mean?
over a period of years,
He's
by
named
taking their strategies,
none of these people.
I was able to apply some amazing financial
Not even
strategies
his
to my life.
business.
I was able to eliminate debt rapidly. I was able to develop multiple forms of income. Over a period of time, I was able to learn how to save that money in a large amount, start saving money, and then know how to
We're
invest that money.
45 minutes in and
Small
he
amount
has
of money
told us
into more money.
nothing.
It's because we haven't
And then
started
get even
yet.
smarter at
Gotta
that,
wait
how to
for
get
take
access
two.
to other people's money. In other words, for
It's
investing.
recorded in
How to get access
SLP.
to finance and things like that. So
He's sitting there like, take
other people's
notes.
money.
If you are taking notes here, just like, this guy
By
made
doing that,
money.
I was able to multiply my
Note.
profits within 3 years
I
later,
need to
become
take
self-made
notes.
millionaire,
Have
and
been
I'm
told
starting to,
multiple
get really good at
times.
managing money and going
The
on that from there
Appamendum
since.
bullshit.
But I did it in a different
Yeah.
way because my attribute was this. I believe in lifestyle because some of my mentors were also were examples in some areas of their life, but also
Yeah, we
warnings
need
in
to
other
find
areas.
part 2.
And one of my mentors, I
It's
learned a
10.
lot financially, but the one
I'll
thing I
bet that,
didn't like about,
that sex
him
guy's
was
tapes
the
probably
fact
cost that.
He worked
Oh,
all the time. He was actually a
definitely.
workaholic.
We got the
And I thought, yeah, I
whole
don't
set.
mind becoming financially smart,
Yay.
but that's not the name of the game. What's the point of being wealthy if you have to work all the time? What's the point of being wealthy if you don't get to see your family? What's the point of working if you don't being wealthy if you don't have time to travel and see the world? So I adopted a new strategy. I did the opposite to that. And I'm not sure whether you'll adopt this strategy for yourself, but I think it's a good one.
So you can always
And what
afford
I
a cup
started to do
noodle?
was implement a lifestyle program for myself. And that lifestyle program was this. Every 4 weeks, 1 week out of 4, I would go on a holiday. Make sense? I decided that I was going
Makes
to do the
sense.
opposite. Most people.
We haven't
most
made the
people go
money
on a
yet,
holiday 1
dickhead.
week out of 4.
Yeah, but he's telling us what he did when he
Most
made
of
the
you know,
money.
some people haven't. I've
We
been
need
some
to
people
know
on
that
holiday
before
for
we
3
understand.
years. There's some people for 5 years. The average Australian has, 4 weeks a year holiday. So I decided to start to do the opposite. This is even before I was wealthy. I said, I start at the beginning of the year in design. I said, I'm going to take 1 week out of 4 off. That means I'm going to have to squeeze in 4 weeks worth of work, where it takes me to produce an income into 3 to free up 1 week. And then I have to be able to figure out how to make some money so I can go on a holiday.
I'm sure his job at McDonald's would have been okay with that, though.
Now,
Exactly. Like, no company's going to be like, oh, that's fine, just going to work harder for 3 weeks. We'll have a week off now. Fuck off.
who can't take
That's not how it works, mate.
right now in a holiday?
He's got
The point
something
might
where
be
people
that maybe
like
you might
need a
wanna change
product. It's
something,
like,
'cause I
I'll
don't
give
think
it
it's
to you
healthy, you
next
can't do that.
in 2 weeks' time. What about next week? No, that's my
I
week
don't
off.
think it's
Who's
healthy
your
for
week
your
off
long-term
3 weeks
future.
ago? Yeah.
In other words, not saying you
no,
have to be in a position
that's
where you
just
can
not
do
good.
that. So if you need to
There's
change
definitely
some
some
things
people in
your
that
life to be
audience who are just
position,
like,
might be a good
this is
idea to have you
ridiculous.
change it.
Because
One,
they've easily
have
been here
money
for over an
without
hour by
need
now.
to work, that frees
Oh,
up your
definitely.
time.
There's
Or
been
you
some
can
cuts.
restructure your work
I
to be
keep pointing at the
productive and
cuts.
free up that time. Because I figured out this.
Although
if
my
I don't
favorite
start
bit was the
going
zoom
1
out.
week out of 4 to start traveling and seeing my own country, I'm going to die before I see it. Just like most Australians do. They die before they see their own country.
I don't really
Should that
want to
not
see
be a
much
crime?
of it.
I've seen
How many
enough.
Australians have never climbed to the top
I
of
just want to
Ayers
go
Rock?
do things, but I don't want to like go travel.
Some people in this room. How do you know
Yeah.
whether Telstra really does work on the top of Ayers Rock? You just believe what they say.
You
know?
can't go up
So,
there anymore, mate.
You know, how many people have never been to Kakadu?
Can
How
if
many
you've
people
got
have never
money.
sailed the Whitsundays? How many
Ah,
people
Well, that's
have
true. It's
been,
only
you
a
know,
fine
seen
if you
every
get caught,
capital
so
city in this country?
you can
That's the-
afford it.
that's the
And
thing.
they
The
live
law
and
doesn't
die
apply
here.
to
You go
rich people.
overseas,
It's just
No.
more like
you
a
know,
fee.
people are-
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
beautiful
It's
country,
more,
most
yeah, it's like
Australians have never seen it.
an entry.
How many people
entry
have not
fee.
travelled to virtually every continent on the planet?
You
They
may as
live
well
in this
say
world,
like
and
going to the
many people
movies is
never been
illegal.
more
If
than
you get
100
caught, you
countries
have
where
to
they were
pay
born.
the movie ticket.
That's right.
They live in this world, this giant playground. Why live on this planet and not go see it? And people think, yeah, one day, Jamie, I'll get around to that. But one day never comes because they never say, hang on a minute, I've got to change some things. I've got to restructure my lifestyle. If I could take 1 week out of 4, would my life be better off at that? Now, most people, I dare say, you know, it does get difficult at times. I've got to admit there's sometimes when I've got a holiday plan, you know, 1 week out of 4, and I don't feel like going on that holiday.
Oh, you got
If
it.
you're
It's
gonna
part of
Oh,
your
make
job.
what a horrible
you
shame
have
for
to
you,
be
mate.
disciplined.
Fuck
I
off.
forced myself to go on that holiday. And every time I go on that holiday, you know, I've got so much to do, I'm excited about work and things like that, but I go on the holiday and I think, oh, I'm so glad I did. You know what's good about this? Because when I'm on my holiday, guess when the most creative ideas come to become wealthy? When you're on holiday.
First
when
week
you're
of
away
work
from
back.
work, because your mind's free, you're tapped into creativity, you're having fun, and the ideas flow. If you want
We're
to
here for
become
you
wealthy,
to give us those
need to
fucking
think.
strategies.
No,
dickhead.
You need to be
Here's a
creative.
strategy.
You need to
Take a week
brainstorm.
off every
You know, the
4
challenge for me,
weeks.
I used to be slumped over
Don't
at
worry about
desks,
getting fired. You'll
fluorescent
be a
lights,
millionaire
grey
soon.
walls, in
'Cause
an
you don't
office
need
in
money.
Sydney,
To
No,
and
make
I
money.
wonder why I
That's
didn't
right.
feel, and a
just
jet-
invest all the
sitting in
money you
front of
don't
a
have,
computer.
and you'll
Yeah.
be
I wonder
rich.
why
And
the
you'll be
ideas
rich.
didn't fly. I wonder why I got frustrated all the time. And then when I go away on a holiday, I'd feel on top of the world. I'd feel great. The ideas would flow. You sit around, you know, just walking along a beach, you know,
Just
the smell of
dancing
salt
with
air,
the
sound of
ladies
crashing
in
waves,
Brazil
the sand underneath
and
your
teaching
bare
them
feet.
how to eat carrots.
The ideas, the thinking becomes clear, and you start to, I found life becomes a little bit easier. You start to solve the challenges and the problems and start to evolve and move on. That's why I love holidays, because I work on my life, not always in it. Where most Australians say, well, Jamie, that would never work for me. Well, most Australians are so busy making a living, they forget to live. Is that not true? They forget the idea.
We are
of it.
50 minutes
They
into
say,
this
"Well, just
shit.
show me the
Again,
money
he
then how
has
to
said
do this, and
nothing
I'll
useful.
organise my time." But
Maybe
having
it's
money
3
is only
hours.
one component of it. There's people in this country that can teach you how to have the money.
If this
but they
really
don't
is
have the
only an
lifestyle
hour tape,
themselves.
I think it might
You know,
be
I've
90,
coached some,
but
I've coached, I've got
yeah.
some people I coach that are worth several $100 million.
What do you
They
mean?
own hundreds of
This
properties.
dickhead.
They work their butts off all the time. You know, we're going on holidays all the time, yeah, with our friends and stuff, and invite them. Oh, they'd love to come, but they can't because they haven't organised their life that way. So, what I
Because
wanna
they're
share
living
with
in
you is not how to
reality,
just
you
become wealthy, and how
fuckface.
to now implement that so you have quality of life. And about 2.5 years ago, after I'd applied a lot of these strategies and produced some results I was happy with, we put a lot of money actually in time and effort into creating what's called 21st Century Academy. And I guess that's how we get to meet tonight, because, you know, we've educated now well in excess of 11,000 Australians, and, you know, the chance, you know, to help them.
Yeah,
and
all of
empower
them are
those
rich
people.
now.
And, you know, over the last 2.5 years, we've seen some
educate
amazing
them by
success stories.
telling
I've
them
seen
all
people
what
who
you
have
do
retired
about
with close to
how you
income, some
take
people in a massive
days
few
off, and
weeks,
that's how you be
others a
rich.
few months, others take
This
a
whole
couple of
thing
years.
is just him
But it's not
bragging.
like
That
you
really is
finish
what it
it
is.
tonight,
It's
does that make
it's
sense? You're
him
not
finding
like, I just thought
opportunity
of
to
an
be
idea this
like,
afternoon, I
hey
can't
guys,
do
I'm
it.
rich.
Let's
Guess
see
what
if
I
this
get
one
to do?
works, you know? what I'm saying?
You know, holidays.
This is my yacht.
You know what a holiday is? Well, I get lots of those. I have so many, I don't even really want to do them that much.
The strange thing is, this photo on the
He's
release,
older, right?
he's way older, so he's obviously taken this and gone,
Oh,
damn,
he's-
I was cool.
Yeah, like, oh man, that was my best work.
Gonna re-release that. This is probably like the second edition or something.
These are the same people that were taught just like
Oh
me.
no, he's changed the page.
Jamie, if you want to be successful in life, here's what you need to
So what do we do with our money? We don't put it in the bank. What do we do with it?
Really hard to get good grades, 'cause that'll help you give a
You
piece of
take
paper, help you get
a week
job.
off.
Work really
Oh,
Every 4
okay.
weeks.
then you retire to the good life. I decided to
And then you
check
retire
that
to the
out,
good
so
life.
That's true. And tonight I challenge you to check
I'm gonna
things
go
out that you've been
take
taught.
a steaming McIntyre.
Is it true? Is this much of a good life? Dead or dead broke for most Australians? Doesn't look
Yes.
too good to me.
Best life.
3% of Australians
Don't look at
will
me,
be
it's not time to
financially
end yet,
independent,
you silly
and
pup.
1% will become rich. Australian Bureau of Statistics will tell us that the 1% of the rich are people that have a net worth in excess of $1 million. And even those people still don't have the lifestyle they want, many of them, because their money is tied up in a house or property. Does that make sense? They may be wealthy on
So
paper,
sell your house.
they have to still work for money.
Sell your
That's
house,
even more
and then you can be
frustrating. Can you relate
rich
to
with
that?
all the money you
I
get
mean,
from your
asset rich and
house.
cash flow poor, and we'll look at that tonight.
I get
Two
it.
words we need, if we're going to change this, some of my mentors pointed out to me, there's 2 things you need to understand, Jamie. One is you need to develop the mindset of a millionaire if you want to become one. You need to develop that first. The second thing you need is you need to have the right strategies, because otherwise, without strategies, you're going to waste a lot of time.
I don't want to waste a
And I
lot
start
of
to
time.
understand that. He said, what most people want is sort of like, I was sort of like this, yeah, I know the mindset, that's all, I've already mastered that. I've read a few books on personal development. I've walked across hot coals. I've got that mastered, okay? Just show me the money, you know what I'm saying? So I'm saying, just show me the money, because I'm in dire straits now, and I really need to pull something out of the hat.
Oh,
Just show
that's
me
how he
money
got
real
his
quick. And I
money.
sort of
He was
like
in
that.
that band.
You got to understand, most people just want the money, and they think that's the key. But he said that the strategies are important. Knowing how to make money while you sleep, knowing how to make money out of thin air, knowing how to eliminate debt rapidly, how to increase your income, knowing how to get finance for different things is important. But that only represents about 20% of what's necessary for you as
Passive
an individual,
income?
Jamie, to become a self-made millionaire. 20%. The other 80% is, guess what?
Guess what?
Mindset. Let me illustrate this for you.
You got to
Imagine
think
on this
about it.
table right up the
Think
front
about
here,
it, and it becomes
we
real.
imagine we have $1 million in cash.
And then
They're
suddenly
sitting
we
under
do.
there waiting. And tonight you have to make some decisions, okay? Life is about making a series of decisions. The better we get at making decisions, the better our life will be.
Right.
And one of those decisions is, when I turn my back to write on the flip chart, you can sneak up here and grab as much as that $1 million cash as you can stuff in your pockets and do the bolt.
Cool.
And go home
I
and say,
will
yeah, I knew
take
that seminar would be worth it. Money in my
$20,
pocket
please.
already. Or you can
Or?
say, okay, let's see if I can understand what we're talking about here. Or we can go to say, okay, that makes sense. I've got to work on my mindset, my psychology, how I relate to money, how I think about things, whether I procrastinate, whether I take action, what are my limitations, my fear, and go and work on that and get clear
shut
about my
up.
life and where I'm headed, and be much more committed, rather than, etc. Or go for the cash. We said most
Or we can
Australians.
listen mostly and then take
What
the
do you think most
cash.
Australians would go for? The mindset or the cash? And most Australians would run for the cash. The way they're trying to get the cash
Pick
right now
door number
is the biggest
one.
way is they're being taught, go to school, get a job, work for it. So they're working for money. It's very interesting, the banking system, the systems that create up money.
Apparently
Do
he
they
got
work for
money because he
yes or
was
no?
in that band in the 70s.
Which
They
band?
don't work for
Dire
money.
Straits.
They
Oh.
created this concept.
Well, no wonder he's
They
rich then.
created the
Yeah.
system.
But I found
They don't
something
work for
interesting.
money, they just create a system
While
that's
being
labeled
you
the
were
master. Here's
researching?
how you get
Oh,
money.
yeah.
You have to go out and
Well,
work.
I did take a bit of steaming
You
McIntyre,
have to
but
go and work for us. Because we're not
Oh,
going to.
so here we go.
create this thing.
He was a
The only way
frontman
to get
for
it is you have to work for it.
band
Many
property
people buy it.
scammer
That's what I thought.
Henry Kane,
And I was
Nice.
who he ran
on
business with.
conditions
He's a scam.
against
He was banned by the Australian Securities and Investment Commission from arranging, promoting, and holding live seminars in Australia, at which advice or recommendations are given in connection with securities and derivatives. Participants reported that his seminars were get-rich-quick schemes.
There's a big difference. Is that true?
He accused the Australian Electoral Commission of corruption because they did not approve his political party's application.
So
The application listed non-enrolled voters as party
mindset, where I
members.
was up to. The cash, they work for
Oh.
another way they get the money. Is what's
He
become very
faked his
popular in
number
this
of
country,
Twitter
is
followers,
gambling
boasting
becoming
about them,
popular.
and then
Twitter
lying about it.
banned him. I forgot
we're
to say
winning all
that.
sorts
Yeah.
of records in this
He was
country,
banned on
and
Twitter.
unfortunately, many of the records are not
ASIC
good.
banned him
We
for
are
10
one of
years
the
for
biggest
providing
amount of
financial
gambling
service. They also
consumers in the
filed
entire
bankruptcy
world. New
proceedings
South
against
Wales, they
him.
have more pokies per capita than Las Vegas.
He
I
threatened
don't
to
want
assault
fucking
journalists.
Queenslanders probably catching up. Okay.
He also
Queenslanders
threatened
like
to
always
sue the
stick ahead of
person
South
who
Wales
wrote
team,
this
you know.
article.
And so, we're big into gambling. Now, if it's just on the pun on the races, no big
Discussions
deal,
will
but how many
start soon
people
with the
their
government
money
on regulating the
through
Bitcoin
poker,
market, is
non-stop,
what he was
and the systems
claiming.
profit from that as well. So, gambling, many people turn to that. That's usually not going to get us $1 million cash. But wait, there's another way. There's other ways to do it. Many people now have figured out, some people, you can go to
Yes,
seminars.
it does say here
overseas,
that he
they'll
is an
teach you at
anti-vaxxer.
these seminars how to marry into wealth.
Also, he's
So,
moved on to
like
trying to
these
teach
strategies,
people how they
some
can
of you
make
still consider that.
six-figure
Who's still
incomes
single?
by
Raise your hand,
blogging.
still single? There's a
Mhm.
strategy
He
for
had
you,
a news
okay?
site thing he
You still consider
blogged.
marrying
Yeah.
into wealth. It's mainly females they let into
How to
these
earn
seminars,
while
they'll
you
pay
learn.
male, they may, if you pay more, they may let you in. You know what I'm saying? So marrying into wealth, for most of us, it's too late
Before
for
he
that.
just said that
Another
that
strategy,
having,
I call it
if
the
you
waiting
need
game.
money,
It's a
you
little
can sell your
unfortunate, this
house.
waiting game, but what many
Oh,
Australians,
but what if I don't?
unfortunately, are doing in the back
What if I
of their
don't have
mind,
it?
they might
What if
not
I don't
admit
have
it up
money?
front, but they look at their clock.
Um,
And they're
Then I go on
figuring
holiday
out,
every.
it's
Yeah, okay, I've got
unfortunate,
it. It's
but
a
one day
self-repeating
parents will
cycle.
pass away.
Go on holiday,
Yeah,
question mark,
Australian dies,
money,
2.7 years of retirement.
sell
That will
house,
happen, but that will
change your
probably- by then
mindset.
their house
change your
will be paid off.
mindset, don't use the
And they're
banks.
probably
Think
thinking,
about $1 million.
Let's kick my sister out of the will by then, and get
Kick
the whole
your
house to
sister out of the
myself.
will.
Don't need to go to any seminars or take care
This
of money
guy's a
because I'm just going to
massive
inherit
piece
the
of
wealth.
shit.
Hell yeah.
Now we laugh about that, but is there estates that?
Oh yeah, it was actually. There's information about this political party.
So
Oh,
obviously we
nice.
don't
The
wanna do that
21st
either,
century
because our parents,
Australia
They were
Party.
founded in 2013 and dissolved in 2018.
Well, there's always the big one. The big one in Australia that people pay money to virtually every week. Lotto.
He likes using
Can't wait
21st
to
century
win,
in his
let
stuff.
the big one drop.
Yeah,
That's his
when
learning
we think
company
about
too.
which is
winning lotto,
hilarious.
Now the chances of winning Lotto are pretty small. And one of the reasons it's very small is because...
Is that the sticker of Patricia's VHS?
Not only
Yes,
won it once, they've won
it
it
What's
fell
that
off like
doing?
ages ago. I've
what
kept it
happens
with
is
my
they've
dredge
got some of the
stickers
rest of us
forever.
that win it once.
Huh.
They won it twice, So the
Figured I
people
might
who
do
win
something with
Lotto
it one
3 to
day.
7
I
years
don't know.
later, are they
Okay.
better off financially?
It came off inside the
Many of
machine
them,
and it
surveys
came
have shown they're worse
out
off.
on top of a different tape, and I was
In
like,
other words, we
oh,
can
okay.
give people the $1 million cash.
Cool.
Here, surely you can live your dreams now on this $1 million cash.
I was wondering
But they
about that.
can't. They're worse off. So was it the cash that they really needed in the first place? Or was it the
Aim
mindset
positive.
combined with the right strategies?
So that was a fun one.
If they were given that,
Patricia, it's
and
'cause
they
she
were taught and
overacted.
helped understand
Yeah,
it so they can
she said
apply it,
nothing as well,
that is
but
more valuable
Yeah,
than
but
$1
then
million.
she made the guy that she was
And what I'm
with
trying to-
say,
and-
"How are
and
you
suggest
feeling?
to you tonight
Better and
Whether you believe it or not,
improving."
is that if you're willing to go on a journey and pay the price, and that price is just putting your time and dedication into an effort into understanding and learning
There
new
is.
education around these things and developing the mindset and the strategies,
Nice.
is worth more than $1 million. It's been worth a lot more than $1 million.
The way
to
the
me,
party was
because you can
officially
create
dissolved
that
was they
wealth,
were
whatever
sent
wealth
a
you wanna create. And more
they were sent a
important,
letter
quality
saying they
wealth.
were being
Does that make sense?
considered for being
So,
deregistered
we
due
talked
on the
about
grounds
before,
they
because most
couldn't even
people,
maintain the minimum
Germany,
amount of
they
members
actually
needed
did
for a
that
political
after World
party.
War II. They didn't actually give everyone $1 million, but
Yeah.
they devalued the currency so everyone was starting
Yeah, that's
at
it's that
zero
one.
again. Everyone's starting
And they
back
just
at
didn't
equal.
reply to it, so they got delisted.
And but the reality was, within a little over 12 months, the money was back in the hands of the people that had it in the first place. So when it was like made equal, like divided equally, because we could divide all the wealth on the planet right now. Imagine if we did it. Everyone would be
Okay.
worth $3 million. That means even people that are starving. Robert Kiyosaki wrote a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Who's had a chance to read Robert's book? No doubt many of you, and I highly recommend that. Go buy that
Really?
tomorrow if you haven't
Why
read
have
that
all those
book.
people read
Robert's
that
a great
book?
author on the subject of money. He talks about, he wrote another book before that. It was an international bestseller. And
He
the
talks
book was
about
called
he
"You
wrote
Wanna Be
another
Rich and
book.
Happy, Don't Go Where? You don't go to school.
Sounds like
And
what he
boy,
talks
that,
about.
upsets some people, especially when it come out in the States. And so if you're at school right now, that doesn't mean that tomorrow you quit school. Okay, wasn't quite what Robert was suggesting, but he was trying to highlight
Oh,
to the general
no.
population
What happened now?
that,
We have no-
There's a website called 21stcenturygroup.com.au. Here's what it says. You may have seen the media recently, an article stating that Jamie McIntyre owns the 21st Century Group and is being investigated and prosecuted by ASIC over his involvement in certain land banking schemes. 21st Century Group has been owned and is still owned by myself. I have had a few clients bring this to my attention, and unfortunately people are mistaking Jamie and his company for mine. I have absolutely nothing to do with Jamie McIntyre or any company owned or operated by Jamie McIntyre or anyone else.
And you get a piece of paper. Then you have to now go to university. And you get a bit bigger piece of paper, and hopefully that'll give you not just a job, but a higher paying job. That's the idea of universities. Remember there?
That's
very
so
handy. You can be
funny.
a doctor or a lawyer or an accountant. Obviously, if you're going to spend more time at university, you deserve, no doubt, a higher paying
Oh
job.
god, that was
And
like
that's the
last
way
year
that
they were
education
in
system
trouble.
works. But never in our education system we taught how to have money work for us. We're only ever taught how to work for
I'm not
money.
even listening to this dickhead
It's a
anymore.
job. And he started to highlight these things. And I thought, yeah,
One of
that
his
makes a
quotes
lot of
is,
sense.
if you
He
donate
also
over
said our
2,500
education
USD,
system is
you'll also
designed
receive
in the
20%
19th
in Bitcoin
century. In other
2.0.
words, we all went to a
Bitcoin
20th century
2.0.
school, but
It's
that school
better
was
than
designed in the
Bitcoin.
19th century. And what century are we now in, by the way? 21st century. And once I started
Wow, he's right, and that's the name of his company.
many years ago,
Wow,
I started
okay,
to
now we
look
gotta
at
listen
solutions
closely.
and jot down
Oh,
if
he
you want
drew this one up
some different
earlier.
solutions that I use.
I
that
drew all
just
over
figured
it.
out if I want to excel in today's world, then it would be very handy to have an
Are we ever going to
education
get to
designed
3,
for
4, and
today's
5?
world.
Or?
Most
No.
of our education system, I believe, personally,
We'll get to 3 or 4 and then... Oh no, he will. He'll just scribble some shit in there.
And we
Bananas?
see a lot of
I
evidence
like
of
the one
that.
that said
So what I
bananas.
said to myself, I
It
said,
really is an hour and a half tape,
imagine
isn't
if
it?
I could get the ideal education.
I hate this
If I
motherfucker.
had a second chance, what would I want to be taught at school? What would set me up for life? The first thing,
Oh, we're
if I
getting
want
to it.
listen to your education, the first thing I said, I want to be taught how to have
He just
money
said the
work
name
for
of
me.
the title of the
In other words, we
video.
call that financial intelligence. I'd want to be taught how to have money work for me so I could choose a career by choice, not because I need the money. That makes sense? Who else would want that taught in their own education? That'd probably be number
Wait.
one on many people's lists.
Did his yacht
The other
sink?
thing that I added, though, because I was smart enough to realise
Read it.
that you need more than just money.
A sunken yacht belonging to a
Money is one part
controversial
of
Queensland
success
millionaire
in
has
our
caused
lives.
serious
The other
environmental
thing is
concerns
that
after
works
it
the
washed
thing I
up
call
as
emotional
debris on one of the
intelligence.
state's most idyllic beaches.
In other words,
That was
you've gotta
was
be able to
very
respond to
recently.
life more
Is he
effectively,
dead?
To be trained to be
No,
able to
no.
respond to
Aw.
life rather than react. Because we don't control.
That was like a week
necessarily
ago.
everything that
A
can
week
happen to
ago.
us.
A week and a half ago, maybe?
There's things out there that can
Quick.
happen to us that we don't always
Append
control.
his name
But
into the
do we
search
control
tags
how
when
we
you put this up
respond
on
to that?
YouTube.
Yes or
I'll do
no?
that.
A sunken yacht belonging to a
Yacht.
controversial Queensland millionaire has caused serious environmental concerns after it washed up as a bit on the state's beaches. The chaos unfolded near Rosslyn Bay Marina in Yeppoon, east of Rockhampton, when the boat lost its anchor and began to take in the water last Wednesday.
Nice. We're being
Boat
topical.
sunk. This is not the first time this has happened, by the way, that
For
we've
us being
accidentally been topical.
I mean,
yeah.
Adnam, that was pretty topical.
Within a couple weeks, yeah.
Yeah.
After being towed to deeper waters by the Coast Guard, the vessel sunk considerably throughout the next day. The boat
What do you
owned
mean the
by-
vessel sunk considerably?
It has a picture of it sinking.
During the that's hilarious to me that boats. I don't know. Just I grew up watching television. When a boat sinks, it's like, oh no, we're sinking and it's gone. And it's like it sinks considerably over a few days. Like that's how it actually works in real life. My cartoon brain is blown.
Years ago, is it?
The boat, owned by millionaire property mogul Jamie McIntyre, remains bobbed in the water, with pieces of its debris washing up on the shore.
Oh no! Is it what's the debris? Is it terrible stuff?
Just bits and pieces. There's like a chair.
Is it
bunch
like
of garbage.
100 copies of this tape?
What replaced vinyl records
They're all
virtually
damaged
overnight?
now. This is the last surviving
CDs.
copy.
The pile of rubbish that's already washed ashore is a bit of an environmental nightmare. There's lots of plastic, foam, and rubber that could be swallowed by our marine life. Blah blah blah. Yes, he's a piece of shit, and he probably did it on purpose.
Sink it and get the insurance, right?
Yeah. Don't need money to make money.
And then you
Right.
invest it.
How
Right, has
valuable
he
was
said
all the
anything?
years of training to have that specialized knowledge now? It was useless to them. It was worth nothing in the marketplace.
Salvaging the vessel
Now, in the
remains the
21st
owner's
century, our
responsibility.
industries and companies are starting to disappear,
He's gonna have to
change
pay
at a
for
more
it
rapid rate,
himself.
yes or
Can we
no?
get salvage rights and go
So
through
in
it?
other words, if most of the people out there, most of the people being taught
That
a
would probably involve
specialised
giving him
education
money.
only,
Ugh.
like at school or university.
No, salvage rights means that we
then they're
just
very
take whatever we want. It
ill-equipped
doesn't
for
matter because
today's
it's been
world.
in there for so long.
So
or
what I
whatever.
did was the
This
exact
dickhead's
opposite. And what I
fucking
mean by
boat
these
sunk.
different skills,
That makes me
four
happy.
skills, practical
Now
skills,
I'm not
skills
so
such as
upset.
communication,
Just
good.
negotiation, the ability to problem solve, the ability
Nice
to think
boat,
creatively,
bitch.
how to take an idea and
There it is there.
Those
Was that the one in the
skills,
picture?
I
I can get it back
find
up. We'll
skills.
see.
In other words, they're general
We'll have
skills.
squiz.
See, if someone was trained, let's say someone in the vinyl record industry was trained in those skills, that industry could
Yeah,
disappear.
8 days ago this article's
But
from.
they take those skills of being a good negotiator, communicator, problem solver to virtually any other industry and profit. Yes or
It
no?
is. It's
I
the
don't know
same
if it
boy.
is. I don't know if it.
That's what we're starting to see. By
Oh,
applying different skills,
it's not unless he's had lots of work done on it.
strategies better
Oh.
and excel
Had a face
in the
net.
21st century. And those that had that, what you got? I'm trying to get the point across. Is let's
His
compare
boat sunk.
someone that has
Why
mastered
did it
financial
sink?
intelligence.
What happened?
emotional
He did write in all the
they're
bits.
results-focused and purpose-driven
What do they
life.
say?
They develop
RPA.
Four key
They
something
design
skills.
Four key
the way they
skills.
would like it,
Delicious.
and they're
'Cause
good at
that's
that, versus someone that
delicious
only had a
banana.
school
Delicious
education or
banana.
university education, as great as that may be for them. In life, in the 21st century, if you had to bet on who's going to create
know how
the
I'm gonna make
most
money?
extraordinary quality of
I'm
life,
gonna set
someone
up
that
a
just
t-shirt
has a
store and
normal
put
education
all of these how to
versus
make
someone
money
that
things on
has mastered
t-shirts.
this education.
All the
Who's
scribbles.
going to win in the game of life?
And then I'll be rich because everyone will want to
Starts
know
to
how to
become
make money
obvious,
by
doesn't it?
buying t-shirts.
But most people don't have that.
I wonder how many of these
Very
people
ill-equipped.
were like,
And that's why
yeah,
in
it's a
the
scam,
Paul Zane
and
Pilgers,
reported him.
this gentleman I met many years ago, he
From what I
wrote a
could
book
read,
called
it seemed like there was a lot of
Unlimited
people
Wealth.
who would like come out of these and be like,
Presidential advisor to,
what?
you know, US presidents and people like this and leading economists.
mhm.
About the only
Showed.
economist I've ever
Fuck this guy.
I met that actually makes any sense. And he actually was quite wealthy himself. That's why I think he's the only economist that actually is wealthy. Most economists are not wealthy. And but he talked about it, and I asked him. He said, "What do you think will be the biggest industry in the 21st century?" You know what he said?
What did he say?
Adult education.
Wrong.
Adult
The reason for that
entertainment.
is because
Wait.
the world is
Incorrect.
changing so
He's
rapidly,
He's already been
they have
proven
to
incorrect.
continually retrain
Unless something happens
and
soon,
retrain
What is
to
it then?
adapt to the new world.
it would be like technology.
And that's going to create a huge
Adult
Like
education
apps.
And we're
for
starting to see
Also,
that
and
now
or
in
social media,
Australia.
probably.
And I had no idea at the time that I'd end up
NFTs.
in this industry.
I think that's more of a blip on the radar. I mean, they have made a lot of people a lot of money.
Here's what I want you to
I've
do.
got
It's
a
not
lot
of people
just
a lot of
about
money, but-
information,
I got
it's about
an
understanding.
email this
So,
morning
I'm
about
Oh, yeah?
doing a
person
video
next to you,
about this
introduce
company that wants to
yourself if
teach
you don't know
people
who
how
they
to
are,
use
introduce
NFTs.
yourself,
Like,
introduce yourself
I'm like,
anyhow.
yeah, no, you're getting
And I want you
deleted.
to teach them or share with them two things you've learned so far tonight.
I would have replied and said,
Don't
as long as you
share
don't mind that
two
I'm
things
the
they've
whole
learned.
time to be telling you
It
it's a
has to be
scam.
two different things you can't copy. And I'll walk around the room and see who hasn't been listening, and we'll do that. And you've got 60 seconds for that, and we've got a bit more to go through. And
60
we'll have a break
seconds.
in about 10 minutes. Okay, go for it quickly.
Break.
A break? Are you sure
Yeah.
this isn't a fucking 2-hour tape?
We're halfway through. We can stop.
I'm sad again.
Oh no, that won't be on camera.
Financial intelligence.
Oh.
Let's look at a quick definition of that. Imagine instead of giving everyone $1 million, we gave them $10,000. What would happen to that money in 12 months' time? 80%
What
of
would
Australians
happen?
would have how much left, do you think?
Is he just doing math and saying
Zero.
it's
They would
like
spend it all.
uh,
16% of the population
advice?
have about $10,050 left. Where do you think they may have put it? Which bank? Probably doesn't matter, does it? 3% of the population would be able to take that
ANZ.
$10,000 and turn it into as much as $20,000.
wow? Let's draw some numbers.
Who would like to know how to do that consistently?
Tell us!
Me. That's why I
Stop
bought
talking
the
about this
tape.
shit and tell us how it's done!
40, 60, 80%.
Yeah,
Up
but
to that
yeah.
doubling.
who'd like to know that?
And
What I'll do is
these
I'll
strategies we'll
draw a
get tonight
box.
because they're quite practical and realistic for
The
them.
what
strategies
would-
we'll look at tonight.
Yeah, what we're gonna talk about
When?
tonight?
Less than 1%
When?
of the population could turn that amount of money into
Tonight.
as much as $1 million
It's like
inside a year.
it's only midday.
Anyone like to know how to do that? Okay. Got some good news for you,
Okay.
some bad news. We won't be covering that tonight. Okay.
Why not?
It's different reasons. One, to do that is not practical for most people. It's not realistic. Some people will do it, but a very small minority of people. where
Didn't you
this is,
say
I
something
believe, is
about
more
being a
realistic. So stick
millionaire?
to strategies that the average person can do.
We have
consider
already gone on for
possible.
well over an hour
Master
and have
that,
told us
then
nothing.
we can consider jumping to that level. Okay, but we never have to even go to that level. Okay, a few words we need to understand.
This is going to be a
Financial
long
words,
fucking tape.
assets,
Oh my
and
God.
liabilities. Most people seem to know what
But
they
you need to
are.
learn about
However,
assets and
this is a
liabilities.
simple question. Do banks make record profits in this country? Yes or no? Does the
Didn't we
average
do
Australian
this
make
like an
record
hour ago?
profits? No. So in other words,
We should have
not
taken some
picking on the
LSD
banking
with this tape.
industry. However, it seems
I
to be a
was
win-win
quietly hoping.
relationships for most Australians.
I'll bring you some
What I'm
butter next
about-
time I get it.
As any bank executives watching in, is having a win-win relationship. In other words, banks profit more from me because I'm wealthy now because I borrow a lot of money. Okay? They profit. I don't mind them profiting from my transactions.
But
as
you
long
just
as
said
I'm
we
profiting
should.
As well.
Yeah,
It's a win-win.
we should
So I've
put it
got
in the
nothing against
bank
banks
bank of
making
our
record
mattress.
profits. I'm happy to help them make more profits on the condition the average Australian gets to share in more of it as well. So fair enough?
What? No, it's not. What are you
part of
talking
the
you're-
about?
banks-
you're
the banks are,
lying.
allow us to
You're
And it's not
just
advice.
making- That's contradictory to what you said before.
etc. What are some of the things they'll let you put down as an asset? House, car, boat, yeah, furniture, yeah. And
Why is
we
he
never
laughing?
ever, overestimate what our furniture's worth, do we? Okay. And all those different things, your CD collection,
Are you
whatever.
about to tell
You're
us to
allowed
fucking
list as
lie?
assets. Now, they may not give you security on
Yes.
it, but you can list a whole pile of things. And liabilities are obviously different. Okay. Now, the
Obviously,
great,
it's different. There's a
if we're
different
going to
word.
create wealth, I think we need to think differently to most people. Do the opposite to the bank. So I don't.
And that's what we're
count
gonna
those
be
things
talking
as
with you
assets.
tonight
The only things
about.
that I count as assets, my
Tonight.
definition of an
Tonight.
asset is something that will make me money
Later.
while I sleep. Is that fair
I
enough?
need to toilet. Yeah.
In other words, if it'll bring money in while I'm sleeping, then it's useful.
Ugh.
That's a real asset. If you want lifestyle, okay. Robert Kiyosaki has another definition which is pretty good as well. He'll talk about an asset as something that will put cash in your pocket if you were to stop working. Okay, cash in your pocket.
Who
to stop
holds a
working.
pen like that?
Therefore, we use that definition. Very few people have real assets, and a liability
Kids
is the
like
exact
4-year-olds.
opposite, which means it would be something that would take cash out of your pocket. Does anyone have anything that takes, or anyone that takes cash out of your pocket? Yeah.
Damn it.
So, the great Australian dream is you own what? Home. And which system sells that? The banking system. And of course, there's no agenda behind why they might, encourage a lot of Australians, to borrow for their own home. Did you know, in an average 25-year home loan, in the first 7 years of that, the average Australian's paying over $1,000 a month now. In the first 7 years, that 89% of those repayments, in other words, that's $890 out of every $1,000 monthly repayment, is gross profit to the bank. And only 11% goes to paying off the house. Not a bad business, is it? Imagine that. And you've got people begging for your product, sign on the dotted line, and you now get the right to send us $1,000 a month, and we're going to make money while we sleep. Okay, but you're going to have to work for that money. Okay.
Yeah.
So in other words, if we
I want to make money while I sleep. Tell me how.
Under the
tonight.
old definition, it's
While
counted
I
as an
sleep.
asset. If we were to use these new definitions, would it be an asset or liability? Who says liability? Okay. There's no right or wrong. Remember, it's up to you how you think and how you want this to be. But those that say liability, why?
Except for where you think we're right or
Taking
wrong.
cash out of your pocket, obviously you're paying money to the bank, etc. So it's taking cash, and is it putting cash in your pocket? So under the new definition, it would be a liability. What if, though, we manage to pay that house off? The great Australian dream then is to pay it off, because most people think debt is all bad. So they want to pay that
Back
house
in
off
these
as quickly as
days,
possible.
houses were
And if we
like
manage to do
90
that, and
grand.
still living in that house, using the new definition, would it be an asset or liability? Who says liability?
That guy with the
Well, it's up to
mustache.
you.
I heard him.
Who says asset?
Throw him out.
Who's not going to put their hand up? 50-50 chance of being right. You might as well go for one of them. So there's no right or wrong. It's up to you what you want to think. But under the new definition, knows
He has a nice comfy chair there, and he's not sitting in it.
Still taking cash out for what? You paid rates, maintenance. Is it putting in your insurance? Okay. Is it putting cash in your pocket? Not unless you charge, rent to your kids.
He doesn't pay
Or your
insurance, does
spouse.
he?
That'd go down well, wouldn't it? So I know it's a tough definition. Now, are we suggesting then, does that mean tomorrow we all put our houses on the market?
Yes.
No, but it's to look at it as a concept and say, if we want to become wealthy, we're going to need some things to put cash in our pocket without working.
Okay, what is
We've
that?
just got to change our thinking slightly. The other thing I mentioned
Tell me
is
the
a word
answer.
called debt. We need to clarify this now because this is another thing that holds a lot of people back. I had a lot of debt. It took me a long time to pay that debt back. But one of the things I said, I will never get into debt ever again. I'll pay cash for everything. That was my mindset. That was my thinking. And I understand that there's some people in the room that think that way as well. Pay cash for everything. All debt is bad. And I used to think that, and to one of my mentors...
So I meant to know the answer to
I understand
that.
why you think that. However, if you think all debt is bad, it's going to limit you massively in your wealth creation. It's going to hold you back. He said, not all debt is bad. Here's what I want you to consider.
We can have good debt.
Bad debt is something that you borrow money for that drops
Let's get good
in
debt.
value. And it's probably difficult now to imagine. Can anyone guess the classic bad debt most Australians get that drops in value as soon as they drive it out the showroom door? The car is the classic bad debt. And Australians aren't happy with just one of them. They get 2 or 3 for the household. A good debt is obviously the opposite. A good debt is something that you borrow money for, but it goes up in value. In just a moment, when we go for a break, I'll tell you, when we come back in, here's some of the things that
He's going for a break.
we want to go through. First of all, we're going to look at 8 steps to get started. So how can you 8 ways that you can come up with some money or more money to start investing within the next 30 to 90 days. Does that make sense? Because many of you in this room could be replacing your income with some of these strategies in a very short period of time. So when we come back in, you want to take down all the figures as we go through it, time and time again until you understand it. Okay?
Okay.
Then we're going to look at how to make some money out of thin air. And many people think that's impossible. Banks do it all the time. If the banks can do it, why can't we do it? We can do it if we understand some simple strategies. We're going to use a way to come
We need
up
to
with
understand the simple strategies.
to come up with $10, $20, $30,000 in the near future, say within 90 days, out of thin air. Because that extra money we can create, we can take and invest, okay, wherever we can get money from. Then we're going to look at shares. We're going to go through 6 share strategies, what are called fast-track strategies. We're going to focus on 2 in particular. And that one of my favorite strategies, which I love to teach other people because I know it works so well, it's rather simple, and you can get into action with it immediately. And that's what I call how to rent out shares. And how to rent out shares, one of the lowest to medium risk strategies available in the share market and generate instant cash. Let everyone else take all the risk.
What the fuck is renting out shares?
You don't have to take hardly any risk at all.
I'm not even listening to what he's saying anymore.
Is that a real word?
Okay, even if you hate shares, so Jamie, I just want to know about property. Shares suck. Okay, I guarantee you, I'll change your mind on that subject. And then we're going to look at also, because I don't just invest in shares, I invest threefold. One is into your income. So when I was starting, I had to look at how to increase my income, so I've got more money that I can put aside. The second area was that, it's shares and property. So those 3 areas. So I also invest in property in conjunction with shares. So we're going to look at an example of how to get some tax-free money out of property and how it's possible to retire on just 2 quality investment properties. So you can go to seminars and you have some friends that will teach you how to buy 100 or 200 investment properties. Nothing wrong with that. But for the average Australian, I think, 100, 200 investment properties might be a little bit more than what they intend doing right now. But if I could show you how just 2 investment properties could set yourself up for life financially and retire from, then you say, if that can set me up for life, what if I got 5 or 10 over a period of time? Okay, and that's and that's when I look at how to do that and get some tax-free money out of it. And
tax-free.
So a lot to get through. My
Sounds illegal.
is to spend as much time as I can in detail so you understand the things. But I will be honest with you, it took me a little bit more than a few hours.
They're cuddling
to
on the
master all this
couch.
stuff. So some of you at the end, when we go through this, may want, you may want more intensive training. You may want more access to some contacts. So some of this stuff, contacts will help, or some extra coaching and things like that. Last 2 minutes before we wrap up tonight, I'll tell you a little bit about 21st Century Academy how they
Last
work
2
as an
minutes before we wrap
organisation,
up, I'll
and how
get
they're
around to
assisting
what
other
I've been
Australians
talking
and making
about.
sure they take action with these different strategies and put it into their life. Okay. However, that's not for everyone.
I'm glad that we've gone through
so,
exactly
I'll
what's
just let
going
you
to
know how it
happen
works for those
in
who
the
want to know more
video.
about it. Does that make sense?
Now that he's labeled it all out.
Wait, is that the end?
No, it's just a quick break, right?
Had to find out.
We're going to have some success stories.
Oh, is that what he's going to go into, Napo? Oh, I've not been listening to him anymore.
I don't know what that means.
What are we waiting for? Go for it. If we were younger, we would be doing it. No, fuck. All the people in the audience were old people.
First subject. How good is this? Hi, Jamie. In our first attempt, after completing the course and setting things up, we sold 6 June, $4.50 Western Mining puts and got $720 less fees. Bought 1,000 St. George shares and picked up 60 cents per... What the hell is going on here? I don't know.
No.
Subject. Well done. Well done for taking action. It's probably not as hard as you first thought either. Post subject, thanks Jamie. You're
Did
right.
you know-
It's amazingly simple. Post subject, congratulations. What do I know?
Did you know that you can just go onto a forum site, right, and make like 6 different accounts with different names?
Oh.
Oh yeah, I know all about that,
Hi,
like
Greg.
timeshares. I know all about timeshares in Austria, but
The end. Second session topics. 8 ways of getting started with investing in money.
that's 16
Even
things.
less. 8 strategies. How others have made $50,000 out of thin air. 1 way to get shares at a discount. Wait, I didn't
Okay,
finish
class,
reading.
welcome back. Raise your hand if you want to
Yay.
learn some more.
I'm not.
How do we get started with investing to get into these strategies straight away? What I'm going to suggest
What are you going to suggest?
is if you can come up with $15,000 or more, then
So you
can
need
make
money.
some good return on your money. Okay, you can start to make some instant cash flow. Now, some of you are saying, well, I don't have $15,000. Doesn't matter, we'll figure out where we can come up with that money. Okay? So,
Doesn't matter. We'll figure it out.
The point is you need money.
which is very basic.
No,
but
you don't need
important.
money.
What
You
I
take
had to learn
a
to
week
do
off
was
every
save
4
some
weeks.
money.
And then you sell your house.
Step 1 is save.
Australians
what?
are classic savers, yes or no? No, we win another record. We're one of the worst savers on the entire planet.
Who says?
You know, there's only one other country
Cite
that
your
Where'd you-
information.
where'd you get
record
your
as far as
information from,
savings
buddy?
Per capita than Australia. Can
Cite
anyone
your
guess what that
sources.
country is? New Zealand.
And New Zealand.
And I think the only reason that is because they couldn't beat us in anything, so they finally found out something they can beat us in. Okay.
Okay.
No doubt there's a few Kiwis here. Actually, no, New Zealand's a great country. I actually love them over there. And I love going to Queensland and to Queenstown and New Zealand. And you know
To
what I love about
Queensland.
New
I
Zealand?
mean, Queenstown.
It's the only place, only
We
other
don't
country on the
care.
planet where
Get
actually
back
our
to
dollar's
teaching
worth
us. We're in
anything. You know
class.
what I'm saying? It's like, I love that about New Zealand.
In his
So
class,
saving
students
is
need to
important.
chuck
We
the
need,
eraser
as
at
a
him.
nation, you know, a saving, whether you're saving, I think from a psychology aspect, is a direct reflection of whether you
It's gonna
believe
be
you have a
3 hours.
future. See, if most Australians are not saving, what it says is that they don't believe they have a future that's worth investing in, which is not healthy as a nation. So we really need to change that because Australia's been bought out. One of the reasons we're getting bought out and have virtually nothing left of our assets is because we're not good managers of our money,
No,
culturally.
I'm not.
So number two,
I did. Whoa,
is
he
we
just
could
turned
sell
into a
something.
ghost.
Now,
I
don't
keep
think you have to
spending
rush
all my
out and
money
join
on
Tupperware tomorrow.
bills.
That's not what I'm
rent.
suggesting. But
I
could
just
you have a
shouldn't.
garage
I
sale?
should
Could
take
you
a
cash
week
some
off.
stuff in? Do you have some spare furniture, spare car, spare boat, spare bike, spare spouse, spare kid?
What?
Anything, okay, that you
Yeah,
convert
sell
to
your
cash,
kids. Okay, noted.
So
Sell
you
your
convert it
kids,
to
sell
cash,
your
a
wife.
couple of $1,000s, a few $1,000s, plus save a bit, put it all together, is now getting you in a position where you can start to make some instant cash flow. That's what we're looking for. Number
Sell
three is
all
a
your
thing
shit.
called
If it
tax.
doesn't bring joy,
Jot that down.
sell it.
Anyone got any objections
Hey.
to reducing your tax liabilities? Anyone like to reduce your tax liabilities? Legally, of course. Yep. So what
Of
I'm
course,
suggesting
legally.
is Australia wins another record Okay, we are one of the highest taxed nations on the planet. Geez, we're great in economic areas, aren't we?
That's your sources.
So we're winning that record as well. I'm now, as an Australian, I believe if you live in this country...
Well, he called us the richest country on the planet, which is just blatantly not true.
Number 5, income. Where I talked about before, I went to work on increasing my income 5 years ago.
Yeah, isn't that what we're here for?
Tonight. You can watch some of them
I think we're here for buzzwords.
Buzzwords!
I'll give you a quick
Number 5 is buzzwords.
In Melbourne, young lady, we taught her in our intensive training some simple strategies how to negotiate with your employer to increase your salary virtually instantly. Some ways you can go about doing that. She was earning $28,000 a year. She was able to negotiate 2 weeks later after learning that she was
put peanut butter on it.
$48,000 a year.
Didn't happen.
She was very happy with that. That's a dramatic jump.
Didn't happen.
But it's not just so much so you can earn more money, because most people just spend more. It's to earn more so you can put more into investing. And also, let me ask you this question. If you earn $48,000 a year versus 28, will the banks loan you more money, yes or no? Yes. That's the key. So the more you can earn, the more you can show, the more you can be able to borrow. Number 5 is a thing called OPM. OPM stands for...
The more you can go to borrow.
Other people's money. So... leverage. So a lot of people say you've got to have money to make money. Well, you can get other people's money. There's ways to overcome that. Let me give you an example. Let's say...
So we're scamming people now. You're scamming us by telling us to scam other people.
Okay,
yes.
Put that down. That means over a year you save about $5,000. And let's say we're after $15,000 to get into some good investments that can see immediate return. That's going to take us how many years? 3 years to come up with 15 grand.
Wow. I could be a millionaire in 3 years.
How long is it taking you to save your last 15,000? Just jot that down. So how can we get started sooner?
Just jot that down.
Could we, for instance, what if we did this? Could we borrow $15,000 right up front, starting, say, next week? If we were to borrow that money, obviously it helps if we have a job.
All right, let's just get over this bit.
If you don't have a job, what might be a good idea? Starting off 5 years ago to get a job I went and worked for free.
Oh, not this fucking
Most people
attitude.
are not willing to do that, are they? Go and do a week's trial for free.
Okay, boomer.
Okay, is an employer going to be happy if someone's willing to work for free? That gives you a great head start. Okay,
you know what that also does is make them able to exploit you.
15,000.
In the face.
How else can we borrow this? Credit card, family, friends, numerous different ways. You've got to figure out how to come up with some money. Okay, we come up with that money. Let's say that's going to cost us probably $75 a week in repayments. Is it fair enough? Ballpark, depends how you borrow it. So we've got to come up with that $75 a week from somewhere. We're already saving $100 a week. Let's say an example. Could we take that money that we're saving and use that to pay off the loan?
So then we're left with $25.
So we take that and use it to
that's
pay off.
meagering.
So that's going to pay that off, taken care of.
Noodles.
What it gives us, though, is $15,000.
You don't need to pay rent if you don't live in a house.
And use some strategies on. So
that's
we
just
take that $15,000.
a drain on money.
No wonder this guy was banned. He's basically saying borrow money to make money.
I like to invest in with $15,000 or more, obviously. With $15,000, I know, like, right now, next week, today, next month, whenever you wanted to do this, and some Australians will go through tonight, that $15,000 in a low to medium risk strategy could generate you anywhere from $500 per month up to, say, $1,200 a month, sometimes more per month in instant cash flow without the need to work for that money.
Someone sneezing.
After me. Something to think about. Money sitting in super.
Stop leaving.
What are we
breaks.
thinking about?
Some of these things. Buying a car, much bigger risk. Okay.
Why does he expect us to finish all of these sentences?
But what is it? The problem is he's not even listing examples. He's just like, just find something.
If you're taught how to get leverage,
just do it and you'll be rich.
And even if you're bankrupt,
but only 3 weeks
you'll be
out
able
of
to
the
get
year.
a loan for at least another $30,000. Just as an example, I'm not saying rush out and do this, but as an example, you could be bankrupt and still get money loaned to you. Okay, so if you're not bankrupt,
I'm sure you know all about bankruptcy, mate.
Let's say in a strategy.
Was it twice that you said that he was?
Turn that 15,000,
I can't
borrow
remember.
another 30 would give you 45,000.
At least once.
Just use an example here. how you can turn money
Using
into.
an example of
45,000.
money.
If 15,000 produces that, that's
It's just
3 times
writing
the
numbers
amount.
on a
Times
thing.
this by 3 is going to be $1,500 up to
Dog.
what?
Hey.
$3,600
No.
instant cash.
Dude, you got a letter.
Most
We
months of the
just
year.
got a letter. We
Repeat after
just
me.
got a letter. We just
Something
got
to
a
think
letter.
about.
I wonder
key
who it's from.
Is obviously knowing how to do that. One, having the mindset to be able to take action with it. But you can see how a very small amount of money can all of a sudden turn into enough income to replace most people's income. With less risk than what we're doing right now. Is there
Here's
risk
the
involved?
mail, it never
Yes,
fails.
there's risk to everything. But we're already taking risks.
Oh, it's not for
We're going to
us.
talk about taking less risk, but earning much more. Sounds too good to be true, doesn't it?
No,
You'd like to see it in detail so you can check it out. Okay. We'll come back to that in a moment.
not going.
To finish here, number 6. How else can you come up with some money? Equity. That's a common way you can come up with some money. Many of you are sitting in the room here with equity. Think, where can I get some money from? We have equity we could use. Okay, I'll give you an example at the moment. So we say, oh, that's all right for those people that have money. What about me? I don't have any equity. Doesn't matter. Got that covered.
What are
Okay.
you doing?
So number 7, strategy. Just use your parents' equity.
Oh, yeah.
That's what they're for, right?
Sell out your mum.
Right, now
Sell
let's
out
put
your
the opposite
dad.
test, okay? Most people wait till their parents die to collect their inheritance.
Hi,
We're
Craig.
gonna
We're
do the
trying to
exact
learn how
opposite.
to make money off this
Why
guy
wait?
who's like
Draw it down
terrible
early.
piece of crap. He's just going around in circles and not getting anywhere.
Now, I know some people consider that very ruthless strategy.
I know,
Okay.
B, we're doing the
But
same
what's more
thing
ruthless?
again.
Now, when you think
I
about
just
it.
said
now,
it.
Do most parents
He's
um,
terrible.
want to see their sons and daughters do better in their life, have a successful life? I'd say yes, most do. So why not use, if they could be taught a fraction of their equity, to help that wealth expand in the family?
Yes, it is. VHS investing
Because
advice.
don't they use
But
some of their
for the
wealth
last
to help
hour and a
buy a
half, he's
car,
just talked
guarantor,
about how
etc., which,
he's
you know,
rich and you don't need
participating in
money
wealth,
to make money.
etc.
And now he's
It's not
telling
really
us to
ruthless
get
at
money
all.
off our
I was an
parents.
interesting reporter come to
So,
one of my seminars recently. Has anyone read the Money Magazine?
Not so much advice,
Paul
but
Fifth Row, Money
he's
Magazine?
talking
They did
shit.
an
And
article
he
on
sold us the
people
tape
such as
for
myself.
$100.
They weren't
We
exactly,
didn't
you
pay
know,
it. We found it in a
as
thrift shop,
positive,
but recommended retail price
because, you know,
$100.
they're financial planners, basically. And, you know, they don't like the truth.
Craig's here to watch
And, they were
VHS
saying,
investing
Mr.
advice with us.
McIntyre,
Oh,
these
no.
strategies we
Craig,
espouse
Nubby,
at these
run.
seminars are highly ruthless. We take advantage of misfortune and things like that. Just jot this down.
You think having DVDs to
Okay.
sell people makes it any better? Don't trust
But, you know,
investment
that sells,
suggestions of
and they're
anyone
saying,
trying to sell you a
Mr.
book or a
McIntyre addresses his
DVD or a
congregation,
video or anything.
you know, the words they use, congregation.
But it's
and
chicken
he's
flavor.
so ruthless in his strategies that he even suggests that people draw down their parents' equity. How ruthless is that? Something to that sort of words. Okay? But let's look at it really. Now, is that a ruthless strategy, yes or no? Super is number 8.
From
Superannuation.
streamers? Yeah, influencers. It has to be an
Super's got lazy
influencer.
Super there. They don't even count as money. That could be turned into a cash flow machine. Okay.
If it's not on
much
YouTube
more
or
popular now, we can
Twitch.
use that
This
money
is going to be
more
on YouTube
effectively.
and it's on
Here's
Twitch
what I
now.
want you to do. Quickly circle which one of these 8 you're currently utilizing in your investment strategies. In other words, which ones you're using. Some of you have done that already.
He's filled out all 8.
And
The
then
last
inside,
one was
then put
super.
a question mark next to the ones you could be using but you're not. Even if you knew about this already.
He
but
kind of
why aren't
is,
you
Craig,
using
and
it?
he's
Put a
like
question
been in a
mark.
lot of legal
Quickly jot that down.
battles.
Oh yeah, don't
Share with
And his
don't
boat
look it,
sunk.
don't look it up.
You
But
could
he
be using
invented
but
his
you're
own
not.
Facebook called Truth
And
Book,
why
where he
aren't you
wouldn't
using
get banned for saying that COVID was a
30
lie.
seconds, go
So
quickly.
that's who we're watching.
Let's use
Don't
equity,
listen
for
to
instance.
anything
If
he
you want to
says.
use
We're
equity,
just
simple
laughing
money
at
to
him.
Yeah, his handwriting is the
annoyed.
worst. We've been making fun of that the whole time. But also his boat sunk.
His boat
And
just
you-
sunk like
the
last
bank owns
Yeah,
Wednesday.
like a week and a half ago.
That's your mortgage on it. How much equity do you have in that property?
His boat
And when
sunk.
we say boat, it's
50,000.
one of those
Like
really
a yacht,
expensive
yeah.
yachts.
So
Now we call
let's say
that
Bill and Mary own
an
this house.
equity,
Bill and
right?
Mary own
An
That's the
this house.
financial. No, that was the
Um,
other thing.
They can say,
I
"You
wasn't
know, I'd love to
listening.
generate
Yeah, I
returns
forgot
like this,
already.
but I simply
Go
don't
back a
have
couple
any
of
money."
pages. Rewind.
Well, do
Fuck
that.
that.
They have 50,000 there. It's like sitting in a bank account that's just sitting there not doing anything.
Oh,
They could
why
actually-
is
To
it
catch you up,
doing
Craig,
anything?
all we've learned in the last hour and a half of this
Don't wanna
tape
risk
is
losing
that
it. Fair enough, Bill and Mary.
to make money, you
However,
need to take out loans and
if we
invest
don't use
them.
it, we're going to lose it.
and then
Yeah,
pay them
buy,
off,
and it's gonna be sitting
and then
there.
get bigger
There's
loans
no
and
point to
invest
that.
them,
So could we use it
and then pay that off,
with
and
minimal
then
risk
get a bigger
and be
loan.
able to speed
And
up
if you
our
don't have the
retirement?
money,
The answer is yes.
or
So
enough money to get a loan, you need to get money from your parents and work for free.
So jot that down.
Also,
Come back to
you
that
have to
later.
take
Line
a
of
holiday
A holiday.
for 1 week
And they could
every
draw
4
out, say,
weeks.
anywhere up to probably $20,000 would be about the maximum. They could draw out in cash if they wanted to, and can do whatever they want with that money. Now, some people do that and they go and spend that money. That's not what we're suggesting here. We're only going to suggest, only ever going to use
You
that
can,
money to
just
invest
do
and
it.
invest wisely. So it's
The
gonna
thing
be
is, though, if you were that rich, you wouldn't need like
And
your
the
whole
great
life
thing about
could be a
line of credit,
holiday.
raise your hand if you've ever got
Yeah,
a line of credit on
especially
a
with
lease.
all this
One
passive
property,
income from
Doesn't take long
investments.
to set up, does it? Generally? Okay. Yeah, it depends on the bank, but generally that can be set up fairly
Ridiculous.
quickly. Depends on your financials, how much they'll give it to you. Okay.
Also,
But on
yeah,
a
he's banned
property-
from doing
on a
seminars.
property, you
Like,
can get
if
money
he
out of
tries to
property
set up and run a
quickly,
seminar,
even if you're
it would be
bank-
illegal.
bankrupt,
Are we gonna
you know
get
what I'm saying?
banned for
So I
showing
can't
it?
get money,
No.
banks won't let me get money out
Okay.
of my property. If you have the right contacts, you could be bankrupt and you still get money out of property. Okay, it's just being.
Well, he
creative.
is telling you to do it even if you don't.
That 20,000,
have
Mary said, we don't
income.
want to risk losing your house. Or say, well,
Yep.
here's all we
He's
want
telling you
do.
to
One,
take
we want
money
you to
from
be
other
prepared for
people.
investing.
Yeah,
Many
you
people
can
look at
sell
time,
your
it takes just
parents.
getting organised. Two, you want to be.
He
What up,
said
Zen?
sometimes there's
opportunities
good
to become
debt.
wealthy. Or have people looking.
Enjoy
for
the
this
lurk,
to
my
come
friend.
to you.
What he said. He
And three,
said
you need to be able to make a decision and
sometimes
take
there's
action.
good
Those two things
debt.
hold most people back.
Yeah,
So
he
if you
called
had
he
that
called
setting up, for
death a
instance,
good
There
thing.
was give an example of an investment opportunity. There was a house worth over $50,000 where I grew up in a town called Glenellis, and it was sold.
Yeah,
How old is this?
This is from the 90s.
The council didn't own it,
Jesus.
but the council put it up for auction. It was sold for $14,000.
This guy is very evil, and his
Let's look at
boat
this for an
sunk.
example.
Yeah.
If we were going to use some of this money to buy that
We can't
property,
forget the fact that his
and it's
boat
for
sunk.
14,000,
Never.
it's worth
That's the best
50,000,
bit.
is
I
that
thought the
taking a
truth
lot of
book was
risk?
pretty funny, but
on
boat
their
singing
money?
is doubly funny.
Very little risk in that, isn't it?
Actually,
That's
truth
a
book's not
no-brainer.
funny because it's still going.
Yes.
So just by being prepared for opportunity, knowing how to make a decision,
He also had a political
then
party,
take advantage
Mhm.
of things like that.
and they got
Those opportunities happen
they weren't allowed to run
How
for any
often?
seats properly or anything, and they were never
all the
considered
time, but most
legitimate,
people don't know
and they
that.
were
I'm not
dissolved
saying
by the
leave that as
government.
your only
Yeah.
strategy, but they're out
They
there.
said stop
Okay.
that.
That, for
They
Bad.
said, "You guys are not legit. Bye."
Council, they're doing a lot
You're
more
a
now.
scam.
Councils, like they're getting less tolerance. If you don't pay your rates, they'll auction your house. And they use a scare campaign to get people to pay their rates, but often people still don't pay their rates. And you can pick up property cheap. Usually it's only land you'll pick up cheap, but you can also buy houses cheap and things like that. Just as that an example, my
Imagine a
dad, for
50K
instance, I was
house.
helping him and I giving some coaching. There was a farm worth around about $1
50K.
million near our farm.
50K.
And in New South Wales,
How much was yours?
where our farm is, the banks
Like
have a habit there. I
400?
don't know whether they have that
Nearly
habit.
500.
500.
But
Mine was,
what they
nearly
do there is
4.
foreclose on farmers. It's one of the
but
bank's
that was
hobbies.
before
And they
the
foreclose
price
on this
increase
poor farmer and
recently.
sell the
Yeah,
farm
yeah.
for
Well, there's been many
$180,000.
price increases.
Mine would be
You
over the
understand
past
why they would do
600
that?
at
Well,
the
that's
moment,
about
I
all the
think.
banks need to get out of it to cover their bottom line. And $1 million farm was sold for that.
If anything brings you all down, it's the
And,
neighborhood,
more farmers off the land.
the
I said to
area.
my dad, you know, if you're
Mhm.
prepared for that opportunity, you could have went
It
in
is
enough
right
things
near
worth and
the
bought a farm for
on-ramp, though, like
180,000,
yours.
it's worth $1 million. Made $800,000.
Yeah, yeah.
Work. As I said to Dad, you probably wouldn't be
They're
able to live
also
on
near
that.
the
but it should be a
abattoir.
good start to your retirement. You know what I'm
Stinks.
saying?
This
But being
thing's so
prepared for that
bad.
Now, some people say, isn't that taking advantage
Every now
of
and then
someone?
it'll be like, oh,
Well,
it's
let's
that
consider
time
it. I
again.
think the banks are taking advantage of
lanolin in
someone.
the air.
But that's obviously okay.
Oh, so it's fine for us to do it
Could
because
you,
the banks
if
do
you're in a
it.
position as an
That's right.
investor, could you come along to this farmer and say, look,
We
if
should
you're
just
aware
open
of
our
the-
own bank.
The situation.
Give
I
us
will
money.
guarantee- I'll take over your payments so the bank can't.
You know,
take
but
your
he
profit.
said at the very
So
start
what?
that you don't need to have money
And
to
on
make
the
money.
condition
Yeah.
that we share
And he has
50
gone into the fact
do
of you
that.
can get money from other
In other
sources.
words, you
Yeah,
could
so
come
there's
Use
an
other
extra
people's
step
money.
there. And the
by
first step
helping
is to
other
not
people
have
out of the
money.
situation.
But if you don't have money,
There's no need to
find
be
money.
ruthless. Where this ruthless methodology come from? I
yeah,
don't
we were
know.
trying to
It's
read
all
some of his
people
handwriting
do it
before.
that way.
Step
Um,
one, don't
But
have
we would
money.
rather
Step
become
two,
wealthy
invest
by
all your
being
money.
generous and helping
Yeah,
other
that's
people.
literally how it has gone.
I think most people would. And because I think people that are ruthless, it's going to come back and bite them, you know, where it hurts.
I tell you what, you'd be
So,
after
that's what
following
we'll
his
look at. Let's
advice.
look at making some money
Ruthless.
out of thin air.
Boatless?
$150,000
Boatless.
house,
'Cause his
we get
boat
access
sunk.
to some more cash.
Oh, we're up to the bit of the video where he says money out of thin air.
One way you do it is get your house revalued.
What if you don't have a
Get your
house?
Property revalued. ring the bank, ring a value, get it revalued. There's a fair chance most people haven't valued their property in the last few years. It could have went up. This house could now be worth $160,000.
Whoa.
That would be quite handy to us because we could borrow against that.
That would be
More
quite
cash
handy to us
put
because we could
into
buy a
investments.
house.
Remember what we're doing here?
You know what's funny is how
How you
little that
manipulate
actually helped
property
us in
to
the
make it
fact that,
worth
like,
Now,
the
what
old
would you
house
do
had gone up in value a
to,
ton.
Yeah.
if you were to
But
spend, say, even
so would every
20,000,
fucking other
you spend
house.
That's right.
20,000. If you
And
spend
banks
20,000
become more stingy
on
with
fixing this
loans.
house up, what are some things you could do to the house to make it worth more? Paint it would be probably the first thing. Can paint make a big difference? What else could you do to it?
Kick holes in the
So
wall?
you'd watch Backyard Blitz. The two most common rooms in a house are
Why
kitchen,
did they just
bathroom.
cut out the bit where he
Okay,
talked
you
about
redecorate
backyard
those things.
bits?
You're not,
They
spending a
probably
lot
send
of
him
money
cease and
just
desist.
enough to
Do
make
not
it look
go
better.
into that.
20,000
Don't
in a
mention
house
any about
like this is probably
presenters
way
or
more than you need.
anything like that.
Okay. But if they'd spent that money wisely, it's quite
I do remember
possible
that show,
house
though.
could now be worth
I think we have some on tape.
200,000
Oh, cool.
when it's revalued. You painted it, you cleaned up the garden.
We got better
you made
homes
a
and
nice
gardens, that's
garden,
for
your
sure.
kitchen,
Oh,
bathroom's
wow.
been modernised.
Is that still
With
going?
Noni.
And
Yeah,
it's now worth
I think it is.
200,000.
Maybe
They
not.
spent
I remember
20,000,
one
it's
day,
gone up by
Tori,
an extra
I think it was when Tori went to a
50,000
wedding that I was
value.
invited
That
to,
leaves them a
'cause,
profit out of thin air of
you
what?
know, out of spite,
Of
believe it or
30,000.
not. Anyway, she went to the wedding and I was just like up late waiting for her watching TV. And late at night on one of the channels, they were showing like Harry's practice reruns and
No,
Jesus
it has to be worth
Christ.
that because then they can borrow against it and use money for investing. Okay. Now, the living room has
No
no
shit,
attitudes
Craig.
of the house,
No,
and
like,
had a good experience.
he skirts around common sense to try and make it
Anyone
sound
else
like
give an
magic.
example? Like
He also says a lot of buzzwords
how
and
much
puts a
you
lot of
bought the
numbers of
property
money
for?
on paper.
260. So you spent a lot of
Well, what
money.
was that?
Okay, and it's worth 260.
They
So
boosted
80,
the volume
spent
there,
90, it's worth 260.
so you could hear
Whoa.
what
Got
she
an
said.
example where they just spent a small amount.
Somebody
Get down
edited
the
this.
back, sir.
Put a granny flat on the house,
Yeah.
borrowed 10,000 equity, put a granny flat on, bought the house at 150,
150, spent 10,000,
now valued at 230.
230. Fantastic. They're only getting the concept.
Okay, so they cut out all the bad ones,
spending
and
a
one's
small
calling
amount
him
of
a
money. Now, this is quite a
dickhead,
common
and they've got
strategy
some
now, but
plants in
many
the
Australians still
audience.
Oh, there's
Stuff
definitely
up,
plants.
you know,
There's
so-
definitely
Is
plants.
they go and put, great.
Although that
I've got an
said,
excuse to put
being
the
that they're like
people
older
back.
people, they're used to
Okay,
talking
let's
to
put
each
a
other. So
second
all those
story in
bits
the
were
house
like,
on
now
top.
talk to each other and get to know each other a little bit. It's probably them just being like,
Well,
oh, well, I'm used to this. I do it at church every Sunday.
Really go up as much.
God.
And in Adelaide, there was this young girl, and she
In
used this
Adelaide?
strategy. She spent $1,000. That's all she had. Didn't have a lot of money. Spent $1,000 on a house. Tidied it up, bit of paint here, etc. You don't need a lot of money if you get creative, and it increased the valuation by $20,000. That left with $19,000 extra growth. One little idea kickstarts your ability to get into investments. That's what we're looking at here. Okay, and then if you get smart, you'd adopt this strategy.
This
to
is the
how
same
you
guy,
invest
by the
as
way,
well.
who says that financial
Okay.
planners are
So
scammers.
now we're
He's
getting
a
access to
financial
more
planner.
money. Let's move on to the shares, shall we?
It might be because
Where
he's
do we
not
start
qualified.
investing?
$16.
I like some good
He
simple
pre-wrote
share strategies
$16.
first. The reason I like it because
It was important.
instant. If you can see instant results, I think why we've had success in the academy and helping people because they've used strategies that are more instant, where you can see.
Yeah,
results
but Craig,
quickly,
that's the same
start
with
motivating them.
everything.
I mean, there's
Like,
nothing more
you can get a
motivating
builder
than
who is
more
just
money
shit at their
you spend
job.
every month. Would you agree? You
Yeah.
don't have to worry about staying motivated if the strategies are working for you. You'll
Or streamers
automatically
that
be
watch
motivated.
junk.
And then
Yeah.
what we're going to do is then put
Wait.
some long-term strategies. Now with shares, anything you know about shares right now, forget about it. Okay, just put it to the side for.
I don't know anything about shares.
I'll put it to the side.
Keep it simple.
Thank you.
XYZ is the company we're looking at. Okay.
It is, and they're worth
Let's say
$16.
XYZ company is on the Australian Stock Exchange. The share price.
Underline it again,
It's
motherfucker.
Yeah,
Okay.
keep underlining it just so that we know more.
The question is, okay, we're going to invest in shares. We've got to buy a company. We've got to select a company, and we've got to select what price to buy it at. Most people have no idea how to come up with that.
Well, that's the
decision
point, Nubby.
because people don't know how to make.
But the thing is, I will say this. You want a generalization?
No.
All people who do these kinds of seminars are scammers.
Huh. So far, we've found, yeah.
Which is a great recipe for success. No?
Although Patricia's a
And
clown.
in the share market,
She
many
didn't really
people
sell
think
us anything, though.
stockbrokers
She just
are
said,
market
be
experts.
happy.
She's
like,
selling his God.
She said, pretend to
People
be
think that.
happy.
And I often say to people,
Yeah.
why do you
That
think
was her,
people
right? The
broke?
one who was all like, if you go into work and just pretend that you're
Most of them
not
are
depressed.
broke,
That's right. You have to
Not
say
all
and
do, some good
improving
ones actually
when you say
invest,
how
but
good
they're
you
not
are.
trained also to be
Yeah,
a
yeah,
broker.
right.
They don't have to be
Too much.
trained to
But she
be
ended up being
share investors.
a hospital
Actually, if
clown.
you knew what it takes to be a broker,
Yeah,
you'd
because
be
she
very
probably
good
had her
training in
soul
that
sucked
area.
out from scamming
So,
people and was like, I have to do some good
You've
in
got
the
to be
world.
aware of that. So what I'm suggesting, if you want to be a good investor, you don't rely just on advice of others. You want to make your own decisions. And two, you don't want to guess. You want to have a sense of certainty. As a criteria is what I mean, to know how to make your decisions. So I have a simple criteria in shares.
$16.
And one criteria you can use,
Underline
let's say
it.
you could get information
Yeah.
from
Thank you.
historical data.
Yeah.
Historical data, let's say
He
you
loves
get
lines,
12
doesn't
month
he?
data
You're like stepping over
on
them.
what's been happening with XYZ over the last 12 months.
12 money.
And you got that information, which you can get quite freely these days. You can go
Your
to
ears
websites
backwards there,
tonight when
mate.
You get home or tomorrow. Australian Stock
That's
Exchange,
supposed to say
broking
months.
houses, different
Oh,
banks.
I thought it
They
said
have a lot of this
money.
information available for you. And this information, let's say this particular share, it shows you the share went up to here.
Unlike the
What?
guy who drew the
About
vagina in that other episode.
What?
That guy's leaving. He's like, nah, I'm
No, he's
okay.
gone.
I've had enough of this.
He's drawing mountains now.
Back down.
You're going over the lines.
Up.
Rawr.
You'd see that data, etc. And that's all you see. And you can get that information for free, or you can buy some software.
Get that
$100
information
and
for
it'll tell
free.
you how to show you that. To buy it now,
What
to make a
software should we
decision,
buy?
to buy that share at $16, do you need to guess or take advice to make that decision? Who would consider buying
Yes.
it at $16? Raise your hand. Okay. Instantly you become a share
The
market
whole thing,
expert.
like, he's done a whole thing where a lot of the time it's just like, my mentors,
What if I tried
my
the investing
company
game and I
that I
lose
used to
money?
run,
What
he's
am I
never
crazy?
named any names.
So who
No
am I to
names,
think
It's
I'm
all as
gonna
vague
do
as
anyhow?
possible.
Except
What's
for
wrong with
21st
this
century.
house I live in, you know?
But
Who do you
that's
think you
now.
are? You know, that sort of attitude, and people starting to step out. But most people don't have the courage to do the opposite of most people. So fear,
Basically,
you jot down
is
here, fear
making
will
shit
stop
up.
people from often buying a share at a good price.
No wonder he loves cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
Then when it gets up to
But
here,
he doesn't like Bitcoin. He made his own.
Greed.
Bitcoin 2.0.
will stop people from selling it at a good price. They're like, yeah, we know we should sell it around here, but it might just go another couple of dollars. They don't want to sell and miss out. The greed gets to them. The fear and greed. Can anyone relate to this? Anyone's invested
No.
in shares now? Yes, we have to deal with this. Fear, greed. What we're looking at is a buy a share at a low price.
Another
that
edit?
minimum
Why do they
We're
have-
heading up to the
and then
2 hour
we
mark,
sell
and
it
I'm just
at a good
ready to
price.
pull my hair
And
out.
there we may say 20%. If it
Yeah,
doesn't
but Crane's
work,
here
you possibly
now.
could do it again. You could buy again. You could
Yeah,
sell
I'm
again.
sorry that
Buy,
he's here.
sell. You can make money in
Sorry,
between. Just
Nubby.
one strategy we want to
Sorry,
follow.
Zen.
You
Stop being
buy,
apostrophe
sell,
off an ape
buy,
sentai.
sell.
Sorry, everybody.
4 times a year like
I'm
you
sorry,
know,
okay?
If you would like to study this video more, I'll be putting it up.
with no extra risk.
We're at an hour and
Then
50
just buying a
minutes.
share at a low price. Everyone follow me here? That would be called channeling if you want to
And the
jot that
first
down.
hour and
It's
20,
called
he told
channeling.
us literally
Strategy.
nothing.
What he's
It was
gonna
him.
do.
It was him just saying, "What I'm going to tell you
These are
is."
shares in the Australian stock market.
What a
that
cool
channel
cover,
up and
though.
down at least 4 times in a
It
year.
says, "What I didn't learn at school
The
but
answer
wish
is
I
yes.
had."
Okay. So if you're not sure,
I hate this guy so
any
much.
questions are asked in
How
the
could you
second
hate
session.
him? He's
Nearly all the
Australia's
answers to the
number one
questions are asked in the
21st
second
century
session are yes,
educator.
okay?
Because
And
he's probably the only fucking one.
He's allowed to say that because 21st Century is
And
his
you're gonna be
company.
right. Number 2 is
So
what
he's
we're
the
gonna look
number
at is a
one
thing
in his
called
company.
leverage. Jot that down. We mentioned that before.
I was going to say,
What do I
haven't you
mean
already
by
fucking
leverage?
covered that shit?
Well, if you only
Leverage.
have $10,000
Sell your mum. Sell your dad.
to invest into shares, and you make 20% return on your shares, you're going to make $2,000.
He's saying it like it's a sure thing, and that's
So you
what
make
bothers me the
20%, you
most.
make $2,000 profit.
Oh no.
If you've got leverage, you can get someone to loan you.
I know,
another
Nubby, you
$10,000.
lived with one of these
It's
people.
very straightforward in the
Can we
share
get
market.
their
You can
video?
done with
The
anyone.
fact that he's a
Anyone
big,
in this
this
room.
guy's a
You
big
had
time like
$10,000,
COVID denier and
you
stuff.
get a loan for another
It's so
$10,000
fitting.
within 48
Yeah.
hours.
It's so
As long as you're
fitting.
18.
It's like his pants.
Okay? If you're not 18, you may have to get your parents to, you know, sign on the dotted line. Now you've got
you-
$20,000 worth of
If you
shares.
can't,
There's no kids in that audience, mate. They're all
If
old.
you're-
You make
if you
$4,000
can't
less
legally
than
do
interest
it.
you may have to pay.
fuck the system.
Okay? The leverage can massively expand your income potential if it's done smartly.
Oh,
It
he
may
turned into
also
one?
increase your
Oh my
risk.
God.
That's why it's important that we're going to be buying at a good price.
Did he
to
sell you
minimise
his
that.
VHS for $100?
The third
It
step we
is.
can look
Yeah,
at
apparently
with
this VHS
shares
cost
is
$100.
a thing called insurance.
But that was the
Write this down.
recommended retail
Insurance.
price.
You've
Not
heard of
what
it
I
before.
paid.
I guarantee you didn't pay that.
I paid 20
Many
cents.
Australians don't want to invest in shares because they think it is risky. Let's minimize
It is
the risk.
risky, you
I don't want to
dumbass.
finish your
Then you
sentences.
can sleep at night. So they go down, you don't have to worry because they've got insurance against them. Who thinks that would make share investing a little bit safer? Okay.
No,
Most
you
people don't
pay
know
for
how to do
insurance,
that.
and that's waste
Now,
of money.
You ask GAO tomorrow, can you insure my shares? They're not
I love
gonna
that we
do
have
it for you.
intelligent
It
people
will
in
be
the
done
chat
through
who
a
are just
broker.
like, ugh.
And the terminology is
This
by the way,
guy.
insurance is the same concept. You pay a premium on the market and you get protection. Okay?
I think the worst thing about these
I won't
people
go
is
into
they
that too much
do
now.
prey
Let's
on
look at number
those who
4.
don't know any better.
Mm-hmm.
You
Like,
want
if
to
I
really
was
more
sitting there in that
advanced
audience, I'd be
shares,
like, this is
is what's
bullshit.
quite convenient
Like,
is
this
what
guy's
I
a
call the
fucking
way
idiot.
down strategy.
But
What
to a
that
lot of
means in the
people who
share
don't know
market,
any better, they'll be
where
sitting there going like,
you
this is
can make
genius.
money on the way down in shares. So why most
Like the
are
people who
panicking
never
and
look at the
losing
top or
money,
bottom shelves when
you
they're
could be
shopping.
making money when a share falls.
They just get what's
Which is
at
very
What if they
handy
can't
because shares
reach?
tend to go up and they tend to go down. So if they're
Why you
going
shop
down,
online.
you can profit. A lot of great fortunes have been made when a market's crashing. See, once you can learn something like that, it doesn't matter if the market goes up or down. See, I'm not attached. See, my shares right now, I'm not attached when they go up or down. I'm not like, I bought them, I hope they go up. If you're hoping, you're doing something wrong. I buy, accept my decision, goes up, down. I don't control that. You know, no amount of thought, focus on the share is going to change anything. I'm unattached to that. If it goes up, I respond to that and change my strategy. Make a profit. If it goes down,
Strategy.
The
I change
advantage
my
he
strategy,
has, though,
make
is
a
that he's
profit.
rich, and therefore
Okay?
it doesn't
That's what
matter.
we're looking at. Now, 5
Yeah.
and 6.
Like,
let's
his
go through 5 and
investments
6
are
and
things
let's go
where
through
it's just
quickly.
like,
Number 5 is what my
whether they
brother-in-law
succeed or
does. My
fail, it
brother-in-law's
doesn't
called
matter.
Simon.
It doesn't affect him in the
So just
long
drop
run.
down
He's
Simon,
good.
we'll explain that in a moment.
That's
What-
not
he
what
didn't have a
shares
lot
were
of money
meant to
start
be.
share
This
investing.
whole
Anyone heard from
metagaming
Simon?
thing is
Heard
rude.
Simon speak before.
You should
Couple of
always
people.
put money into
And
things
Simon,
that you think
he
should
used to work in
succeed.
the army, work hard, to make money.
That's what
and
it was
got sick of
designed
that,
for, right?
like many
I
people in
don't
the army.
know.
And he decided to start investing. He didn't know a lot about investing, so he had to go, do some training and learn some things. And he came across a strategy that he was fairly excited about. And
What's
it
that
was where he could,
strategy?
instead of buying shares, he was
Yeah.
able to control
Instead of
other
buying
people's
shares,
In other
you
words,
control
he would pay
other-
what's called a rental.
Wait,
What?
what?
He'd rent other people's shares for a certain period of time.
What is this
and he
wizardry?
could profit quite substantially at times. And he was able within 6 months make more, sometimes more money, working, an hour a day with his strategy, sometimes half an hour a day, than he used to make, working 40, 50 hours a week. And then he's able to double and then triple his income at times.
Oh, no.
Within,
Let's
6
not
to
get into
12 month
this.
period. And what he does is he makes money on the way up and on the way down without even owning any shares. Because he simply
Wow.
rents other people's shares. Okay? And
He
then let's look
rents
at, now, I'll
other
explain in a moment
people's
what he does, because
shares?
what I like to do is do the
This is going to be a
exact
long
opposite of
fucking
what
tape.
Simon
Oh
does.
my god.
Okay? Because what Simon does is exciting and can make
Ugh.
money. However, it's also what we call a high-level risk strategy.
So
It has
the main
high-
thing I hate about
it
these
does have-
seminars is they
has
are
high
just so
return, but
fucking
does has
long.
high risk. It's one of those where
You
it's
could have
high
easily
return,
cut the
high
first
risk,
hour and
okay?
20 minutes
Now,
that we
risk
watched
can
out
be
of this,
managed,
and
but
it
takes
would
a
be no
lot
different.
more
It would still be
education to
annoying,
do
it would
that.
still drag.
It's quite popular.
If we get to
many
2.5
people
hours
teach
and it's
how to
not
do
done,
that.
we're stopping. I
However,
can't.
what
That's
I
your limit?
prefer to do
Cool.
I
is-
have to.
I was expecting you
I
to
have stuff
pull
to
it
do.
one
Like
and
to
a half.
minimise the
I don't
risk.
mind either way.
And I don't
I have
like
stuff
to
I
sit
need
in
to do
front of a
today.
computer an
It
hour
sounds
a
fine.
day.
I can sit here for another half hour.
I'm too busy enjoying, life to do that. Simon doesn't
This
mind it.
is
It's
the
better than
worst.
working
I hate
40,
these.
50 hours a week. He doesn't mind it.
That's
so what I
okay.
like
It's
to
like
do is
watching
let
someone do
people like
something
Simon
very,
take
very
risk,
like awful to
and
somebody,
so the
and
strategy
just
I like to
not
do
being
has a
able
low
to do
level
anything
of
about
risk.
it.
And what we're going to do is we're going to
Aw.
rent out some shares.
He's like
okay?
kicking a
So
puppy.
renting out shares, like
It-
explain how that
but
works.
what the fuck does that
You
even
make money
say?
while you
It
sleep.
said
That's
bananas.
a good idea not to sleep during while you're learning to make it, okay? Otherwise, I can't guarantee it's going to work. So you're about to learn some strategies which has freed many Australians from working, some within a matter of weeks, a matter of months, certainly within a year or two. There's no reason a person in this room could not be replacing their income within inside the next 24
I
months.
want him to start
I
writing on
believe.
his shirt with
Many
these
within 12,
sharpies.
many within 3 or 4 months. Is that worth staying awake for? Okay. Some people
No,
say, "Jamie, I've
shut
got to do a
up."
job tomorrow. These seminars run so damn late all the time. I'm sort of like thinking, well, if you
He's
learn this
saying
stuff,
what
you
you
have to
said.
go to a job tomorrow. Okay? Different mindset, different way of thinking. Okay?
It's not a different
Job will become a
mindset.
choice.
You're rich, you piece of shit.
Here's what we've got to understand.
Yeah,
Draw
but
a
you
line
can
down the
take that
page.
week off every 4 weeks.
On this side, we're going to do a comparison very quickly. Traditional
Very
business.
quickly. Business.
You own
By
a
how
invest in a
quick?
traditional business
Yes.
versus a
Versus
share renting business. In
share
other words, we teach you how to
renting.
rent out shares. And we're going to see what is the best strategy. Because
Renting
there is
out
risk involved in
shares
this, but as I said,
doesn't make
less
sense,
risk
even
than
if
most
he's
you're taking
explaining
right
it.
now. If you were to buy a traditional business,
Sounds like a sham, a
what might a
scam,
traditional business cost?
and
Would
a
you spend
bunch of crap.
100,000 on a restaurant, coffee shop, corner store? Let's say 100,000. You spend a lot more actually. Let's say 100,000. And let's verse 100,000 in a share renting business, and let's see what sort of business you prefer to have. You see why I love these sort of businesses.
We
okay,
won't.
so $100,000. If you're going
We
to
will
borrow for
never.
a business, is it difficult finance? Yes or no? Very difficult. So difficult they're going to want security on your house.
Security
Does that increase
house.
the risk level of a traditional business? If those who are in business who ever thought about it, yes, the risk is high, extremely.
Security house
In other words,
risk.
the business fails, you lose your house. Does that happen to a lot of Australians?
Security house risk was
Yeah,
the
see,
name of
banks
my
aren't
techno
stupid.
artist.
They know 80% of businesses
Yes,
fail in the first
Nubby, just
5
keep it
years.
on and go to
Prices
sleep
up,
watching
about
this,
80%
because
of
this will
those making
definitely
class the first 5 years will fail.
put you out. Either
That's
that or
why
let
they
it
put
enrage
new
you like it does
house
me.
and security, because they know they're going to get
Yes,
the house.
night, man. Thanks for stopping by. It was good to
The
see
average
you.
Australian doesn't know that because they get sick of working for their idiot boss, and they decide to become the idiot boss. Okay, instead of getting a guaranteed paycheck, working 5 days a week, they now get to work 6 or 7 days a week. Okay, with no guaranteed paycheck, they work for nothing, but it will make a profit one day. Then we'll pay ourselves, and one day usually never comes. So they work. The lifestyle is not good. So 6 to 7 days a week, low income generally. Many times they don't even take a guaranteed salary.
No salary.
What else is great about a business?
Not having to listen to you.
Stress. Yeah, there's usually a little bit of that.
Did he just take a moment
What
to
about
think?
a thing called staff? In business, you often have to have staff. You better put that down. Okay. Now, having staff
Gotta put your
is a little
staff
bit
down.
like having staff in companies often say, having staff is like, having an adult daycare centre. Think about it, okay? But it's actually
Won't you?
worse than an adult daycare centre because, in an adult daycare centre, you'd actually get paid for looking after them. But in business, you have to pay them.
Can I put you into adult daycare?
It's even worse.
If
So
you want.
staff can be
I'd
a
be
major
okay with it.
headache.
We'll have to look into where they are.
Stress levels. Fixed location. You have to live near where the business is. It's another thing.
That's another
We're
thing.
obviously not going to be selling you a business
many
franchise
things.
tonight, are we? Okay. It doesn't look too good. But many people do that. Okay. What I'm suggesting is
Good
there's
luck,
going to be
Nubby.
risk to
Good
our
luck.
alternatives, but let's compare it to our risk. You could put a job here, your career. You might have to pay 100 grand up front for your career, but if you stop working in your career, do you get paid? So there's not a lot of job security there. If you don't work, you don't get paid, so there's risk to that. You probably don't work 6 or 7 days a week. Maybe some of you do, but maybe only 5 days a week. Your lifestyle, you still have to live near where you work, which is a bit of a challenge. See, one of the reasons I moved to Noosa, I have a summer home in Noosa. I used to live in Sydney. And
I
Sydney's a
don't
great
care
place
where he
to live.
moved.
But, you can buy mansions in Noosa for about 30% of the price than in Sydney. A $5 million home in Sydney
Where's
is not
Noosa?
always that nice. Yeah, they're still expensive. But you could buy a
I don't
house
know, I'm
in
not
Iceland,
listening to what he's
Noosa,
saying
for
anymore.
$1 million.
I'm tired.
That's your
So you don't have
catchphrase.
to live in a fixed location. You can
Yeah,
You
live
don't
in
I-
have to
the shortest
listen
part of the
to what
world.
he's saying. I asked you where Noosa is.
Anyhow, let's look at
Somewhere.
the share renting business as a difference. What you'd probably find with $100,000 in
Noosa
say, well, I
Shire.
have
It's an
$100,000
Australian
to
local
rent out some
government
shares and buy
area.
some shares to do this with. Well, you could
It's a
borrow that money.
resort
To borrow
on
money for
southern
shares
Queensland's Sunshine
Is it
Coast.
very easy
Oh,
compared
okay,
to
there
any
you
other
go.
form of finance? If you're not aware, the answer is yes.
But
Easiest
that's
form of
cheaper
finance,
than
I think, that
Sydney
exists on the planet.
itself
Okay.
to go
You
live
could
on the
be
beach?
bankrupt,
I'm not
but you're
sure
still
about
able to get
that.
the finance.
It might be.
In
Seems
this, you
pretty
need, though,
expensive.
in a share renting business,
okay.
you're going to need at least 30% deposit.
There's questions
And you
about is
borrow the
Noosa
rest.
or Byron
However,
Bay
I'm not
better?
suggesting you
For
do
what?
that.
Buying weed?
I'm suggesting you probably, if you're going to borrow to set up a business like this, that you put in 50% deposit and you borrow the 50. Okay, if you're going to do that way. Or you
Numbers,
just
numbers,
use the 100
numbers.
grand that you've got 100 grand as an example. But getting finance is easy. Will they want security against your house? Yes or no? No. Bonus. Less stress. The only security they want is the shares you're buying in the first place. Obviously, they have more value than a business. Can you liquidate your share-earning business in 30 days or less? Yes or no? You can get rid of it and you cash it in. Get your money back in 30 days or less. Okay? Traditional business, try and sell it in 30 days or less. Not much chance. In 3 years or less, not much chance. Okay? For the money you put into it, you can lose a lot of money in those things. You can also make money, but it's much higher level risk. Liquidity is good. Lifestyle is great. Does it take 6-7 days a week to manage this sort of thing?
I don't think we
No, it
asked you a
takes about
question
5
that was
minutes a
true.
month.
I think maybe you're just hearing
Literally.
things.
Maybe he said something.
You can narrow
Maybe
that down
he
to
said
about 30
something?
seconds after a couple of
Ooh.
months. Or is it a phone call? Do you have to live near where you work? No, you can live anywhere in the world. In other words, you could be laying on a Hawaiian beach, make a phone call back to your broker, and that's your month's work's done. You can stay holidaying for another month. I love this strategy so much. I love the snow ski. Went to Whistler some time ago. We have a place in Whistler, Canada, and I went to Whistler. And before I flew off to on the plane to fly over there, it's going to cost about $4,500.
You went to Whistler in Canada?
Holiday
Oh dear.
in Whistler, Canada. And I don't like to spend money. You know, learn of becoming wealthy, you tend to get good at managing money. You don't like to spend it. So I thought I'm going to create some new money for this. And so I just ring my broker and say, look, I need $4,500 to pay for the week's trip. Could you arrange and put that in my bank account
He
tomorrow?
has a broker
Okay, not a problem.
just
All I have to do
gives
is tell
him
to rent out
$4,500.
X amount of shares. In that case, I told him just to rent out 3,000 shares. 3,000 shares, then every next day, $4,500 into my bank account. Used to pay for the holiday. Amazing. Okay? Amazing. Let me show you how that works. So in other words, you can operate from anywhere in the world. Yes, there's risk to this, but I love the risk compared to everything else. Let's compare it to a car, shall we? We know what happens
He
there.
loves the
Let's
risk.
compare it to anything else. The risk factor is
I'm tired of the
good.
risk.
Okay, I want to get you comfortable with that. Okay.
You know,
So,
I voted for the socialists.
turn
Yes.
the page. Draw a line down the middle
I
of the page.
hate all this crap.
Yes.
On this side of the page, put Simon's name.
No.
I'm going to explain to you what Simon does in his strategy, because we're going to do the opposite of that. And what
Okay.
we're gonna
Why
do
don't
is
you just
put
tell
my
us
name
what
up
to
here.
do in our strategy?
We're going to rent some
To
shares.
dance around it.
And let's
Look, he's written
explain
his
how
name
we
in a
do
different
that.
color.
To do what I do, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to buy some shares. You've probably figured that by now. You'll have to buy some shares. Many of you in the room already own some shares, or you might be able to use your parents' shares, or whatever. You're going to have at least 1,000 shares. At least 1,000 shares. Ideally, you're going to do this strategy with blue chip companies. Blue chip, if you're not aware of that, you know, the big companies that make billions
What's
of
a
dollars
blue?
in profit are likely
Oh.
to stick around for more than 30 days. Okay? They're likely to stick around for many years. So then we've got to decide which shares, what price we're going to buy them at. That's why number one strategy is important. You're going to buy them
Stop
at a
referring
low
to the gibberish.
price. Okay? You can look in the paper and see how high it's been up to in the last 12 months, how low it's been down to. That will give you 30 seconds of research, will save you a lot of money. You buy them at a low price. We're going to buy XYZ share at $16. Is that
I
fair
don't
enough?
know what the hell
That's
he's
gonna cost us
talking
how
about.
much?
But I think it's fascinating that he got in so much trouble for
$16.
it.
It's going to cost us a total of $16,000. So that's
He
all
probably
right,
sent a
Jamie.
lot
I
of
don't have
people bankrupt.
16,000. Go back a few pages.
Sent
to the 8
himself
steps to get
bankrupt.
started. How can you come
Yeah.
up with $16,000?
He did.
One, you can borrow that money. Okay, if you have to. You need a deposit, and you can get what's called a margin loan. Margin loan is a form of finance for shares. Okay, just like a property loan is a loan
I
for
like the
buying
coughing.
property. A margin loan should be called a share loan, shouldn't it? Keep it simple. So $16,000. What we can do with shares generally to make income is you get a dividend. Is that right? So you can get a dividend. In this strategy, you still get dividends. It's a bonus. You
Didn't
can still-
sod.
Generally, you still
It's-
buy shares
it's
to
a
sell
bonus.
down
Didn't
profit
sadu.
or make capital.
In the
Didn't
growth.
sadu.
Good thing with this strategy, you can still make capital growth.
Or is it dum
But the main thing we're doing
do?
this for is cash flow, and the cash flow is what we're going to get from renting our shares.
renting our
Who's going to
share.
pay us rent for our shares? I mean, who would want our shares
Yeah,
anyhow?
exactly.
Well,
Tell me.
Simon does. Okay.
Who's
And
Simon?
not just Simon, but thousands of Simons. Okay.
An army of Simons?
How many Simons are there?
Oh God, it's happening!
Oh, it's the great Simon
prophecy.
Revolution.
But they don't necessarily want to buy them. They're interested in renting them for different reasons. Let me explain to you why Simon would want to pay as rent. You don't need to know what Simon does, but you, just in case you want to.
I know what Simon does.
Simon
He
is willing to
says.
place a bet.
I know. I can tell you what
This is
Simon
what he
does,
says.
right?
He has a
He
belief
congregates
that
with other
may
Simons.
say,
And
and
says.
he believes this share
Well, I
price
suppose they do talk to each other, so they're
$16 may
definitely
go up
seeing
to
things.
Yay.
$17, say.
Got it right.
Jot those figures down. Make sure you get all these figures. You don't have to understand this the first go around. Okay?
I don't have to
Goes up to
understand this at
$17
all.
in
Because you're
by the
full
end
of
of May. So that's
shit.
what he thinks
Well,
is
here's
gonna
the problem with
happen.
not understanding it the first time round is you go back to these notes and all you're seeing is numbers and lines.
Numbers, lines, and the word
If
bullshit.
if he rents our shares and they go up in value, he's going to make a profit. How he makes that profit is he would have to pay, in this example, say 44 cents in rent. 44 cents he would have to pay
44
across here to us.
cents. Gotcha.
And
Am I rich
we rent
yet?
out 1,000 shares because that's the minimum you can do it with. You would get 1,000 times 44 cents. We would get paid into our bank account $440. See around with me?
No.
I'll show you in a moment how to make a lot more than that. That's paid in our bank account.
I'm cool with
It's paid,
440,
you know,
thanks.
monthly
I got
if you do
50
it monthly.
cents.
So it's like a monthly rental
Can
contract.
can I just have
It's
that?
paying us 44 cents.
I'm done.
What
That's
he has in his
plenty.
advantage,
If I
the
got
share
that
price
out of
goes
something,
up,
I'd be like, right, I'm
the
out.
value of this rental goes up.
Well,
okay?
if I was
It may
lucky
go
enough
up
to have
maybe
this
now
actually
worth
work for
88
me, then yeah, I
cents.
probably would keep going with
Now
it.
some people say,
I would.
"Why
But
would
I
it
wouldn't
go
be
up?"
going up to people and saying,
Down the
this is
answer.
guaranteed money right here.
Who cares? Doesn't matter. All we need to know
Oh,
is we
cut.
get paid money. Okay, you happy with that? You get paid. You know what Simon does is
Let's
his
cut the
profit.
whole video down to that.
This
All
shit.
we need to
Simon
know is
knows
we
what he's
get
doing
paid
as well.
money.
You know,
Yeah.
This is the one strategy. If you like to
This
have
is
a win-win
why
strategy,
I've heard
one
the
of few strategies
socialists.
in
I'm
the share
sick of
market
this
where
kind
you
of
can win,
shit. It's
someone else
like,
can win. 'Cause usually
like,
the share
yeah,
market
I'm rich, so
loses.
what?
So it goes up. So in Simon could
Trickle
make
down
profits. He's
economics
paid
and all that
44 cents for
bullshit.
something, he
Come
can
on,
now sell
fuck
for
off.
88 cents to someone else. You see that? He's made a profit. He's happy. Doesn't affect us. We've been paid our 44 cents up front. We've got that. What happens over there doesn't
I
affect
always
us.
thought you were very
Three
antisocial.
things can happen.
I'm definitely
Need to
very
be aware of this.
antisocial.
One, the share price for May stay
But you
around
voted for the
$16.
socialist.
So XYZ company stays
Yeah.
about $16.
So they can be social
What
for
happens
me.
is you keep the
Ah.
$440, and guess what you do the very next month?
Yes,
Kill yourself.
You re-rent them.
you were
Just like when
wrong.
you have a property and you have a holiday tenant in there. For
My
a
other
month,
guess was
once
going to be
their,
sink your boat.
Their
Oh.
4 weeks holiday is up, they leave, and you put it up for rent again.
My guess was
Same
going to
thing
be
with
pay
shares, same thing you're gonna do.
hopscotch.
You know, re-rent them, you make that money again, sometimes maybe more. That's one thing that can happen. The second thing that can happen, you must be aware of this. Number
Because you
two
could go bankrupt and your
is the
boat
share
sinks.
price could go up. Okay? And if the share price, let's say it went up to $17 or above before the end of May, before the end of this month. Okay? You've got to understand, in this rental contract, Simon has a clause, and that clause states
Or the
that
end
if
of
it
May
goes
this month.
above this
Wait,
predetermined
yeah, right.
price which you agreed to before the month is out, then he has the right to buy our shares off us. Can you believe that?
No.
He has the right to buy it off us, and that can happen. So beware. Let's see what would happen if that happened. He
Okay,
could
what
buy
would
our
happen?
shares off us if it went above that price before May ran out.
Yeah, but
He
who
would have to
governs
pay the
that?
predetermined
law?
price, which is $17 for our shares. We bought them at what price? So we've had them sold at 17. Is that a good thing, yes or no?
You get
You
a
just
dollar.
made $1 per
Yeah.
share profit. So
Fucking
put down in
dollar,
your bank
man.
account, here's your little bank account, add another
$1.
$1,000. Thank you
No, just
very
one.
much. Okay? But wait, there's more. You not only get your $1,000 from the selling the shares, you still get to keep your rental as well. So you add them both together, and you get both in your bank account. Now, the only thing you have to worry about, you're going to have to pay a little bit of stamp duty, okay? A little bit of tax on this. Yes, you will have to pay some tax on your profits. Is everyone okay with that?
Oh, not
Okay?
tax.
And I'm sure you can minimize that People can take care of that.
Can we do the tax-free stuff, please?
But
Can we get to that?
Yeah, he said
there's a
about
certain thing you
tax-free
must be
stuff.
aware of, because before you get excited about this and think this may be one strategy you could use to
Opening the boxes
replace
'cause
your
I'm
income
bored.
in the near
Did
future,
you
so
get
go
told that
holiday
you
and
can?
whatever you want to do.
I
Because
said that I
in life,
would.
Many of us get excited. Is that
Hey,
true?
what's
Get
up,
excited
Michael?
about something,
How you
and
doing,
it
dude?
sounds too good to be true.
What do you
and then
got
we
in the
get
box?
disappointed 'cause it doesn't work out. Has
Yes,
that
the
happened to anyone
mail,
before?
it
And then
never
we get
fails. It
excited, and the
makes
next
me
time we
wanna
don't
wag
allow
my
ourselves to
tail.
get
When
tired
it
and
comes, I
excited
wanna
and
wail.
laugh our minds. We know what happened the last time we got
What's
excited
in the
and
box?
didn't work
In
out.
the box.
Okay? And
About to
then
find
it doesn't
out.
work and we get disappointed again. And then we just start to get smarter.
Is
so
it a
we
magic
start to figure out, hang on a
wand?
minute, I'm not going to get excited anymore because I hate getting disappointed. So we figure out the best way to
Ooh,
overcome
it's
disappointment
shiny.
is
Box.
we're just going to say
Oh,
disappointed.
there's a
life.
box in the
And not allow ourselves
box.
to get excited. That way, at least we won't get too disappointed again.
What is it?
Okay? And that happens for many
Headphones.
people.
What
so
kind
what
of
you've got to
headphones?
understand
For
is
the
that
gym?
anything can happen. There's
Pretty
always
much.
a catch
Whoa.
to any strategy. Okay? Let's see what the catch is. What if the share price goes down?
And headphones.
More headphones.
And let's say it's
What are
getting
these?
close. We're 2 weeks left in May, and the
Or we
share
go to
price
the gym
drops to
too.
say $15.50.
And what's this? We got a
Okay, that
$30
$30
off an Echo
paid
Dot.
$16,000
Nice.
for something. He's now dropped to $15,500.
Can you just have the $30?
If you bought them at $16,
Yeah, can I have that
it's
instead?
big
'Cause we'll have two of them, so that would be
companies
Then you
make
can
$60.
invest
That's
it.
money out of nowhere.
Yeah.
You bought them at 16, it's been up to 19, down to 16. Would you still
Cybernetic
swing those, yes or no?
socialism.
If you wanted to, you could insure them so it wouldn't affect you anyhow if you wanted to. But let's say
Does
you're not
bots
insuring them,
work
you're
with
worried
and
about
for
that.
you?
On paper, you've lost 50 cents a share. So
I don't
take
know.
that
I
off
just
here, 50 cents a share.
want the rich to
that
be
figure
taxed
in,
more.
You lost 50 cents. However, if you had been renting
Did you
out
check
your
behind the
shares,
couch?
as in this example, you knew how to do that, at the beginning of the month, you would have received 44
Dude's
cents
still
rental.
going. Doesn't even sound like he's
which you
close
could
to
use
wrapping
that
up.
44 cents
No.
to offset the 50 cents paper loss, which leaves you with a paper loss of
Paper
what?
loss. He's
Of
lost
only
paper now.
6 cents.
Low latency.
Is that a good thing?
What does
yes
that
or no?
mean?
Once
So
you get the
no
sound
matter
quicker.
which way we look at it, you're better off by renting your shares. So I can make this claim, I can say this, that renting your shares adds no additional risk.
Headphones.
It actually minimizes your risk. The
They're
risk
noise
is that you're
cancelling,
not
so if I
doing
put them on, I
anything
won't be able to
risky.
hear him, right?
Okay, every month.
Unless we
So
connect them
let's
up.
go through that again very quickly. Number
I
one,
wanna
what
do
can
that
happen
then.
is nothing but you keep your rent. Number two, as it goes up, shares get sold. And you
Oh,
make
look,
a
it even
profit.
comes with a
Number
little
three is it can offset
auxiliary.
any drop. The shares go back up say
Table.
next month.
in case I need to use that.
and You're in front again. Okay.
Yeah,
What
you
if
can
the
shut up
shares-
now, dude.
what if you
I'm
did
more
this
interested in my
every
new
month? You've got
headphones.
44
Yeah.
cents. Let's jot these figures down. You bought the share at $16, right? You received 44 cents. Take that off.
Check it out. It's got the old schools as well. The
You got
3
paid up front. How much
one
did the
is
share
that?
really
No,
cost you
wait.
now?
Yeah. Or whatever. Yeah, I don't know what it's actually called, but it has it.
15.
double adapter, so you can have two.
You rent the share out again for say 50
Okay.
cents next month. Keep the figures simple. How much does share
You
cost
can tell
you
they're
now?
kind of old because they use micro.
$15.
Means I got to be
say.
careful with it. Those things are kind
Do
of
you notice
crappy.
how the cost of your share is getting cheaper and cheaper every month? Bet you hate that.
Betcha.
Let's imagine after 3 months it can get cheaper and cheaper. You bought a blue chip company at a low price if you've done it
So
right.
what are
and it's
they?
getting
They,
cheaper and
Bluetooth?
cheaper. Is that minimizing your risk?
Yeah,
Or run in?
Absolutely.
Pretty much.
She's also putting cash in your pocket instantly.
it'll also
it
be
is.
nice because I'll be
Now, I
able
know
to
that
put
some of
my
you got some questions, so here's what I want you to
phone on the
do.
ground instead
Turn
of
to the
having it in my
person
pocket.
next to you. You got 60
That's
seconds each
comfortable.
to explain that to them,
I'm gonna get
educate
this on
them
challenge.
like an expert. How
They
that
don't
works.
have microphones.
And
So I don't think
then
this
I'll
guy's
take
going to
some
shut up for the
questions.
next
Go for
fucking
it with some
12 years,
enthusiasm.
so...
All
They're
you
all
gotta do is the
laughing.
concept. All we're doing, we own some shares, we rent them out, we get money, and we go on
Your
holiday.
Sony
and
ones
enjoy our
don't
life.
have microphone, do they?
Yeah, they do.
That's all it is.
Oh, they do?
Okay? There's not much
Huh.
more to
We
it.
can do an
You don't have to
exercise
find
episode
Simon,
if you
don't need
want.
Simon's mobile number, so
I got
he'll see
microphone.
whether he'll rent your shares for you as well.
I'm not using
okay?
the microphone
And
on
another
these.
question,
Oh,
you don't have to
hell
worry
no.
with is there going to be enough people
They've got
out
that
there,
crappy
Jamie?
feature
You
where-
you keep telling people
Yeah,
about
that goes
this, you know,
hands-free,
is
mine
it gonna
too.
spoil it for
Yeah,
the rest
I
of
can't
us,
turn
you
that
know?
off.
Now, is there enough people like Simon to pay his rent every month or every week? You know, And I say to people, don't worry about that. I've already thought of that and I've taken care of that problem for you. See, what we did, I hired Simon, we started the business, and we got Simon out there teaching people how to do what he does. So that way we've always got plenty of people new recruits being taught how to pay us rental money, okay? So you don't have to worry, we balance it up, okay?
Well, I think I'm
And then
ordering
keep
another
going
pair
on.
of these.
And Simon doesn't mind.
Maybe we
because
can
he's
see
in his
about
seminars,
doing
he's,
that
you know,
that way.
saying, you know, we've got people
Maybe.
teaching over here, so more people. So it's a win-win.
We'll get onto
for-
it eventually.
for
It's more just
either
finding a
side,
day
it
for
doesn't
it.
matter. I just
Yeah,
personally
just
think
do it on a Wednesday.
being this side is much better.
Also finding a
Here from
setup
Simon,
for
he's
it that
gonna
works,
tell you
so I
a
guess we
different
can
view.
use the laptop maybe.
Right
There's
here.
different strategies for everyone.
Move the chair to
But I
right
do
there.
think this is much smarter to get started
Not
with.
enough room,
You
we'll
can take
probably
your
need a-
profits from
I'll
here and then
punch you in the
consider
face.
doing what Simon
We're
does.
gonna do
or
it that way
do both.
facing here.
I just
No.
stick this side of the fence.
You need
I'll
more
take a
room.
couple of questions and I'll go and show you how you can make a little bit more than
No,
$400 a month
just-
out of it.
oh,
How you can jump that
shut
up to
up.
4,500 a month. Obviously, you can go much higher than that. There's plenty
I
of
don't
money in
want
the
to go
market.
much higher than that.
I only do this in the Australian market.
Look,
You
the
can
whole
do
thing
it
is, I
overseas,
wouldn't mind
but
having
once
lots
you
of
start
money.
making more than $1 million a month from it,
This is
then
bullshit.
you probably earn the right to go to the American market.
I don't think
Him
I would
saying-
like lots of
This should
money.
keep you busy.
I think I want exactly the opposite of
Anyone
what
like
he's
to,
offering.
any
Like, I
questions?
want the house.
Okay, we'll start here.
I don't want to be like putting it in and making money out of it. I just want it.
Why is he renting offers? Good question. The only reason he's renting offers is because he can enter into a rental contract. You know, the rental was a word that I've created to explain this in a simple format.
He created the word
He's paying
rental.
44 cents for something. The only reason he would do that is he believes the share price is going to go up. If the share price goes up, this goes up.
I think the
goes
guy
up.
who just asked the
can then
question is
resell
as
this rental
lost as I
contract to
am,
someone
and
else
I
like
have
him.
no idea about anything.
They will pay him whatever it's worth. The market will set that, usually supply and demand. And he'll be able to sell that
Because
at a
this
profit.
whole
So if he
thing,
gets in,
aside from him
he might
waffling
sell
and
that
telling
day
his
later,
history
or a
and
week
how
later.
we can all be
In and out.
rich,
He's
the
using
only
a
thing
small
that
amount of
seems to
money.
have stuck
It's
out to
costing
me
$440.
of what he's
He's
trying
now
to
sold
teach
it
us
for
is
$880.
renting shares.
88 cents
And
on
that
it.
guy just asked,
He's made $440
why would you want to
maybe in a week,
rent a share?
and it's taking him 2 phone
So like that's the underlying
got
thing
excited
of the
about his strategy.
entire
Like, stop,
seminar is
we've
like,
had enough of that.
what the fuck are
Okay?
you talking? He just said to
However,
him,
it
what the
takes a
fuck
lot
are you
more
talking
training to
about?
do that side of the fence. Here, it takes a lot less.
No, I think what the guy was asking was a legitimate question.
Yeah.
I can
Yeah,
say
it's
anyone in this room could learn
why
how to
would
do
someone
this,
rent
in a
shares?
matter,
Yeah.
you know, be doing this in a matter of a month.
He is explaining it. It's more just the one of the things that he's doing that is like quite possibly the worst part of all this is basically saying there's no risk.
But there is a risk.
What sort of brokerage do you pay for picking these up?
Yeah, brokerage is a common question. You're not paying. One bonus of doing this is you're looking at about a $75 fee. Generally, it's going to vary depending on who you use. Every rental contract. If your shares are sold, you'll pay brokerage on that. Depends on who you're using. The different brokers, usually less than 1%, depending on your volume. So you will pay brokerage, and you'll pay income tax on the rental. So ideally, you could set it up through a company. If you're doing a lot of this in the beginning, I wouldn't worry too much. Okay. Does that make sense? Here's a challenge. You want to jot this down. 92.5% of brokers are not accredited to do this. So you
Oh,
must
no.
you just rush out there tomorrow. I think I'm going to go and speak to my broker about this. How come he hasn't told me? He's going to go, what? Most of them have no idea what you're talking about.
Because it's
Most
shady as
brokers have no
shit.
idea how to do this. 92.5% are not accredited. Out of the 7.5% that are, even some of them don't fully understand it. Okay, so that is a challenge. You need to be able to
Well, the
educate
reason I get it though is because I'm a genius.
A genius.
I'm sure there's a lot of other people here.
I just noticed that he's standing in front of the exit sign, which means he's standing in front of the exit.
Feature some of these.
No one can leave.
We saw someone leave.
Okay.
Yeah, past him. That's the thing. You have to be
Yeah,
the
I
guy
can't think of
ballsy
anyone.
enough to walk right past him.
Oh,
go
I
to
would
the
be ballsy
counter.
enough.
Yeah,
If
that
I was
guy
not
was
promised
as
a
well.
free dinner after this, and honestly, if I'm waiting over 2.5 hours for my fucking free dinner, I'm
I will
pissed.
tell you now, obviously we have Academy brokers that are accredited to do this.
But that's what you're doing
They only
now.
work with people that are part of the Academy.
Yeah, then I get to go to the
The
gym.
Academy, and they'll do
Hooray.
it, for you.
And work it on out.
Outside that, or we
Get
can
swole,
train
get
you,
those muscles.
et cetera,
So I can
how to
beat him up.
educate
How many sit-ups
other
are you up
brokers
to?
how do it for
I
you.
do
Does that
sit-ups.
make sense?
How many
You
push-ups
shouldn't
you
have
up
to
to?
train
I don't do
brokers out to it,
push-ups.
but
How
some
many
portions
back
of it like
extensions
that,
you up
okay?
to?
But
I'm
the
not
key
doing
is
any
to
of that
self-educate.
stuff.
How far can you run?
Some of you be able to watch a video, et cetera,
depends
take
on
that
what
that'll
mood
show
I'm
you
in.
how to do it.
Well, then we can't compare notes.
Yeah, how much does that cost?
About 25,000.
Yeah, no, I'm
No, I'm just
I'm
joking.
working on the machines and stuff.
Is his escape route if the crowd turn on him? Exactly.
Okay,
If,
I'll tell you that at the end. I want to go through more strategies.
If
So
someone
if you
walks
wanna
in
find
and
out
says,
about
"You've
that.
been sleeping with my wife,"
So the question
he's
I'm
out that
assuming
door.
is, how many times on average would your shares be sold in this
not
example?
by Elizabeth.
On average is about, it's going to vary on your portfolio. Statistically across the board, about, 8 to 9 times out of 10 won't be sold. Okay? So 1 or 2 times out of 10, your shares will be sold. Now, I sometimes do a little bit more aggressive. I don't mind my shares being sold. Like last month, on some of the shares I was doing this with, I
He's a
rented
little
them
bit
out.
aggressive.
I made about, I think it was about 70 to 80 cents rental. Okay, so every 1,000 shares of those, that's $700 to $800 in cash. They were sold. The share price went up, and they were sold. They were sold at 80 cents above what I paid for them. So I made another 80 cents.
Wow,
plus
he
the
made
around
80 cents.
Congratulations.
That was $1.60 for that month. Okay, let me show you a little bit
Wow.
more. Okay, and I'll take a couple more questions. What we're going to look at is how you can speed up,
This is ridiculous.
the
He is not
income.
ending anytime
The
soon. This is a
highest- let me give you
3-hour
the best
tape.
case example. The highest rental I've been able to
Shit.
get is around $1.50.
I said no long
And about
tapes
every month,
before my
that's
break.
the highest.
We're going on a
Last
break.
year, there was
We've
many
got to
months,
get it all in.
on some
Yeah.
shares, you could consistently do that on.
As I said, you were
$1.50
free to say
rental.
to turn it off at an hour and a half. I asked if you wanted to.
Would you like to know how to get
We
a-
can
a
wrap up
brand
now
new
while
You
we
said it went for an hour at the start, and then you were like, maybe it's an hour and a half.
Yes or no?
I don't know.
Maybe it's 2
I haven't
hours.
checked in
We'll cover it
ages.
tomorrow night.
I should check. Sorry.
Look at it. Let's say you have a car. Who has a car? Raise your hand if you got a car. Okay, here's what you're gonna do. Let's say you sell your car. So you sell your car, and you need to come up with, say, 16 grand. Hopefully, if your car's worth anything, you'll get 16 grand for it. If it's not, you're going to have to save some money or get it from elsewhere to come up with 16 grand. You take that $16,000 and you buy 1,000 shares.
Cool.
Okay? And let's say you want your dream car is, say, a BMW.
Next week, if we
3
bother
Toyota
having an
conversion
episode,
version, for instance.
AFL shots.
$100,000 motor vehicle.
I'll bring a
That will
stack of
cost
5-minute
you,
tapes,
so you can pay cash
and
for
you
that
can
because
say
that's
that's
an
enough
asset that
tapes,
drops in
please.
value, so you might want to tie up your cash, or you could finance it.
Ugh.
BMW like that will cost
Yeah,
you
the
about
recent problem I've had is that I've been a bit
$11,000,
burned out,
say, on finance. Whatever your
and so
car's
we've tried
gonna
to keep
be,
the
okay?
episodes shorter.
And,
We're taking a break in July.
that means you're going to need to come up with, say,
July,
$1,100
that's like
a month.
very soon.
Yeah.
If you
Oh,
bought 1,000
Something
shares,
else that I was
in
going
this
to...
example,
think
some
about.
months you can get rentals
Yeah,
as
we're
high
taking a
as
break in July.
$1.50.
Around your birthday,
That
yeah?
means
Yeah.
$1.50 by 1,000 shares gives you how much for that
Cool.
month?
And,
$1,500. You're
let's
not going to
see.
get that every month. You're not going to rent them out every single month because some months you're not going to. You could
Cool.
technically, but 6 to 9
In
months
July,
is more
but
realistic.
not June,
You could
because
take that
June...
and use that to pay off
There's a
the
special date in June I want saved.
car.
Oops, I
If you
pressed
did
the wrong
that
button.
long enough,
June...
pay
Ballroom.
off your car.
No, not
your
ballroom.
car eventually
No, that's
becomes
neither here nor there. We
virtually
can do that any year.
free.
No, June the
sense?
22nd, so right at the end before the break.
If it works with a car,
We want to watch a recital
boat.
because it's Chris's sister's recital. Chris is coming down.
maybe.
Yeah.
So the concept
him
is
in
saying, let's
for
say
a
look at
three-way.
bus rentals here. So
I thought that was the
talk
one that
about,
got taped
the
over.
example of Whistler. To
No, yeah, two
generate
recitals.
$4,500
One's good, one's taped over.
in that example was as little as 3,000
One
shares.
got
3,000
taped over.
shares
Yeah.
at $1.50 rental.
But actually, we got a
generates
bunch of
$4,500.
really
Does that
quick
make sense?
episodes coming out. So next week, I kind of wanted to do some
Now,
AVL
that's a
short
best
films,
case
but then
example,
I've
okay?
scheduled
Now,
in
Should we
a
not
Yeah, even
like
if you
save
halve
them for
those
grand final
returns,
week?
grand
still
final
would
week.
be
I've got a
1,000 to
special
3,000
video
shares.
that is
Those shares were only cost around
it's fighting depression
$60,000
while playing
if you do the
football.
numbers on
Oh,
that.
cool.
Yeah, that's a cool tape.
$60,000
I haven't
for
actually
those
put it in
things.
how to look, but like it's a
Yeah.
cool cover.
But let's say you had to have $100,000.
But
worth
also
of shares to
medical
generate that sort of
tapes.
return
They're
most
only
months
short.
year.
Get a
Who would
couple of those
consider
little
that-
ones.
Who could replace their income on $4,500? Who could go close?
That's what I've got planned for the next couple of
Some of you
weeks.
could keep on working,
Yeah.
etc. But $4,500 a month. The question is, how many shares do you need to do that? That's going to vary depending on your skill level, okay? Depending on what shares you do it on. And you'll be able to generate. It's a consistent form of income. The banks will let you use it, okay, as income to be able to borrow more
They'll
money.
let
So some
you.
people have assets,
That
but
just
no income. The
screams
banks
that
won't
he's
let them
doing
borrow
things
money.
that you're not meant to,
You get
right?
income.
If
The banks
people
let you
are
borrow
letting
money,
him do
it needs
things.
more of your assets as well. Okay, so if you look at that as $4,500 a month, you can do a lot with that. Okay, a $4,500 a month will pay for $1 million home. Okay, monthly repayments. If you wanted a new home or something, you can start to use money more effectively. Repeat after me.
Mmm.
Something to think about. Okay, it depends how you do it. I stick usually to 1 or 2 shares, generally 1. Okay, I'm not licensed to advise you in the share market, so I'm not going to mention any shares or things like that.
You should have
One or
said that at the
give
start,
advice.
buddy.
We have in our academy, we have licensed share speakers that, because they're licensed brokers, they're allowed to actually tell you particular shares that this is being done on right now. The top 5 shares, for instance, that'd be very handy, save a lot of time. So, what was your question again? No, you stick to 1. You can stick to 1 or 2. So
What
no,
was
you don't
your
have to be
question
replacing one.
again?
Let me show you what I also do with this. Okay, I won't go into detail on this, but if you think this is good, I use another strategy around this, which is so good. I usually don't like to share it in a seminar like this until we get to know each other a little bit better, because you won't probably believe it's possible. You think,
You won't
hanging
believe
on,
it's
but
possible.
Let me show you what
Yeah.
another thing that you can
Probably
do
'cause
that
it's
works
not.
hand in hand with this.
Yeah.
See, what you've got to do is
How's that
sometimes
sound,
a share that you
mate?
want to do this on might be around $19. That means you may have to wait a month or 2 before it drops down to a price you want to buy it at. Could that happen? So what I like to do is I like to become an insurance company. You know why I want to be an insurance company? You know, I want to be like, hey,
So you can defraud people out of more money.
but, you know
Yes.
what an insurance
That's
company can
exactly
do?
it.
You can pay them money and they get your money, and all they have to do is make a promise. And often they never have to deliver on that promise. In other words, only a fraction of people that pay insurance are ever going to make a claim. Is that true? Okay, that's the idea of insurance. If everyone made a claim, you know, no, there wouldn't be enough money there. So you pay a premium for a promise that someone will deliver something, if need be. So what I do in the share market is the same thing. So I make a promise. My promise is that I'm interested in buying XYZ share, so at a particular price that I'm happy with. So I make a promise to the market and say, when the share is at this, I'm willing to buy a share at $16, say. It's not there yet, but I'm willing to buy it at a share. I'm willing to buy, say, 10,000 of them at that price. Did you know, simply by making that promise to the market via my broker, you know, I did that on just, last week on, a lot more than 10,000 shares. We used the example of just 10,000 shares. For making that promise, I was paid $1.34 per share.
Per share.
Up front into my bank account simply for making a promise. Do the calculations on just 10,000 shares. How much does that come to? $13,400.
B.
Okay? That takes
B
about 30 seconds
cents
sitting in my
00.
hot tub.
He screwed
Is
that one of the zeros.
investing
He
a good
mucked
hobby,
up that
you think?
bit.
Yes or no?
He
You
sent
see why I
zero.
get excited about this hobby?
No.
That is fun. It's like, is this legal? I say to my broker somebody,
And he's like,
"Is it
no."
legal?" It's definitely legal. But why do I
It's
get paid that
definitely
money?
legal,
Now I
buddy.
make a promise that I have to. What may happen is I may have to buy that share at that price. But I've already decided I'm happy to buy at that price anyhow. I'm waiting to buy them. Okay. But what happens
Okay.
many months? Only if the share price goes to a certain price will I have to buy it. Many months I never have to buy it, so I can get this insurance monthly on shares and never ever actually buy the share. That means I don't have to outlay enough to buy 10,000 shares. Only a small percentage of that I have to actually provide as security. That means the rest of your money could be sitting in your
Roll
life
the
pocket,
outro.
paying
No,
no
we'll
interest
keep
on, just
going.
there ready, because you must have the ability. to be
We
able to
said
buy
at the
those
start
10,000
to finish.
shares.
Well, actually, I didn't say it this
You can't just
time.
say,
No,
Did I?
you
"Yeah,
did.
I'll take
You
the
said it.
insurance
You
money."
trapped us in this
Okay,
fucking
you can't
corner.
deliver. That's called HIH.
No,
Okay. Guess
We've
what
never-
happens if I
If
do
we've
my
that?
never-
brain was
Shares
more
I'm
in it,
happy
we would
to
have
buy
pressed
at
stop
price,
at that
and I'll
bit
buy
where
it.
it was testimonials and
paid
did
up
the other
front.
half another time.
And guess what I do the very
We've done that
as
with a
soon as I
couple of
buy it?
tapes.
I rent
No,
them
the
out.
only tape
I
we've
get
done that on
paid
is the one that is
maybe
2
not
tapes in one.
$1.34, but
D-
70, 80
D is
cents a
it?
dollar per share.
And we've also
Get
got the
10,000
tape
shares,
of
that's another, say,
the
10 grand.
the Valentine's Day
account again.
seminars.
I've
There's
only
3
owned
tapes
them
on
for
that.
like
We're going to
an
do that
hour.
over a couple
Oh,
of
right,
years.
yeah. But, I mean, that's multiple tapes on one tape, rather
Yeah,
than
yeah, yeah.
one tape.
Yeah, absolutely. This
Guess what
guy
I
is
do at
just
the end of the
waffling on this. Is meant to be one tape.
The next month, I rent
Like,
them
it would have
again.
made sense if it came in like a
Unless my
2
shares
tape
go up, I might
pack,
be
where
sold.
one is
If
like,
I
this
get
is
sold,
everything
I
I'm
keep
going to
the rental
do
plus
in the
make a
next
profit.
tape.
I don't mind
And
getting
the next
sold. You know
tape
why?
this is everything I
Because I
said
need
I
to go
might
and
have
buy more
done
shares.
and not
Yeah.
actually, and it's not.
That
and
means I can make a promise to the market.
This is
I'm willing
painful.
to buy more shares at this price, and guess what they will pay me? Insurance money.
Yes.
Why?
At least the
Yes.
good thing is we
Number
never have to
3
watch this dickhead
that are willing
again.
to
No,
pay
this is the only
insurance
tape
money
that that I found of
guarantee
his.
someone will buy their
It's probably the only one he's ever done, right? Have you already did that? Have you
He's got an audiobook version of
they're
this.
happy.
Oh,
Do you
we
pay
could
insurance
get
money, yes
that.
or no?
Oof.
Pay it.
Is it
You
just
win
this,
because
but
you
on
get
I
tape?
have no idea. He looks much older on the cover again, so
Turn the page now.
I love it.
turn
Works
page
hand in hand
now.
with this. Okay. So I've got to cover one more strategy on property.
One more strategy.
I still like this stuff, but property. I do both. This is instant. You can do.
You just
straight
checked
away.
his watch,
But
by
you
the way.
also want longer term strategies as well. Okay. I like to buy.
Yeah,
property
because here's the
because,
thing. What
money
if we
down,
end the
because I
tape
like to
here
buy
and then we
cash
pick it up again?
elsewhere.
There's like 15 minutes left.
Yeah, I don't like to type cash in property. So I figured out how to buy property virtually
That's
no
a short
money down,
episode.
Okay.
Yeah.
And for instance, last month.
I mean, I do have to
bought,
start bringing a
over
cartoon
4
tape
properties
with you
actually
just in
Brisbane,
case for that sort
a
of thing.
total of in excess of $1.2 million worth of property. My only cash outlay on those 4 properties is for 4
Shut
properties,
up.
$2 million worth of property, no more than $2,400 to control $1.2 million worth of property, which I
I feel like one of the guys that
at,
asked the question before
around about
was definitely like, "This is
$80,000 below what the
suspicious."
bank's value it at.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Both of those
Which means
guys,
that's
they
all we need to
sounded
find
like
straight away.
they was
And I
suspicious.
don't
No, the
have
first guy
to
sounded like he
over
was just
the years.
confused. The second guy was
Very
just like,
likely in a
"I'm
year
pretty
that
sure
property
there's some
is
shady
2
shit going on
years,
here."
I'm pretty
say
sure there's some
1.3,
shady shit going on.
1.4. My outlay is virtually nothing. Okay.
And he's pretty
And in
slim
the
as
meantime,
well.
my money's tied up making these sort of returns. You can see how investing is not a bad hobby, especially when you don't need the money. It's fun. You can
Especially when you don't need the money,
So let's look
yeah.
at property very
Yeah.
quickly.
Can you
What look at
imagine
is
that your
property.
hobby
You get
is like
property to double every
fucking
7 to 10
about with whether or
years.
not you're
It's quite
bankrupt?
handy. A lot of statistics to say that on average,
Yeah,
property
exactly,
will
like-
invest in
That sounds
property has
dangerous.
done that in the last 100
That's what he's
years.
essentially telling you to do.
that's like saying
Not
your
all
hobby is
though.
free
Some people in
climbing.
the room would have property that's doubled in 5 years. Some people have property that's taken 20
Some people are
years to
good
double.
at it. Some people fall and die.
What we want to look at, Bill and Mary, for instance, they're earning $50,000 a year. Say
Wait,
they
who's
want to
Bill and
replace
Mary?
their income by buying
Do they know
2
Simon?
investment properties. Okay, and
They're
I'd just
scared
like
of
that couple
Simon
minutes to go through
and what he
and look at
says.
how to
All
buy
of
2
the
investment
Simons.
properties for them to retire. $50,000 a year is about $35,000 after tax. Say as an example. Everyone with me?
I'm with you.
So what we're going to look at
I'm absolutely
is
not with
buying
you.
I'm
two
not listening,
properties.
but I'm here.
Who's committed to buying 2 properties in the next decade? You'd be willing to consider doing that. If you get help with finance, contact, especially if you could buy them virtually no money down. I'm sure you'd be interested
No
in
money
doing
down.
that.
That sounds
So
like one of
year
those
one,
ads
we're
I
going to buy a
ignore.
property, we're going to select a property. Properties I tend to buy around 300,000, okay, less, more, but let's say 300,000. Works well for this strategy. And the second year we don't buy any property. The third year we buy a second property. And that's all we're going to do because we're basically lazy. Okay?
Okay.
That's all we want to do.
Look, he did the question
We don't have to
mark
buy
thing.
100 properties to make this work. 10 years' time. It's going to take
His
10
brain
years.
just
Always
stopped.
make your plans more conservative. Don't count on 7. Take 10. Could take longer. So you can even make it more conservative if you want. Let's say 10 years. These properties are going to be worth 600,000 10 years after you buy them. Is that fair enough? Especially if you're buying with a good
Well, he
criteria,
predicted
good,
that kind of shit.
Checklist. Make sure you buy quality property. I don't buy properties outside of capital cities generally. So
Okay, never mind. He undershot it.
why? Because in capital cities, there's a lot of certainty that they're going to continue to grow. Okay? Can you make good money outside of that? Yes, I have some property outside capital cities that I've made phenomenal returns on. Okay? But most of my portfolio like to stay to capital cities. But you got to work out your own criteria. This strategy is not going to work, okay, in
Capital city
a
stuff here is in the
small country
millions
town.
now.
Because it's not going to double in 10 years. It's not going to double in 100 years. It's going to go the other way, okay? Imagine Broken Hill. Property doesn't double every 10 years in Broken Hill. You can buy properties for like $1,300. People just leave them. They leave town, they buy them fully furnished for $1,300. Okay?
Just buy the whole town
Don't
then.
try it in Broken
Do
Hill.
it.
So
Wait.
that strategy doesn't work.
Can you do that?
So that gives
I mean,
us
you could.
$300,000
Yeah.
in
You just
extra
probably
money
shouldn't.
We've made
Why
out
not?
of thin air over 10 years.
Because, I mean, who are you going to sell it to if you own every house there? How are you going to flip that? How are you going to make money on that?
Probably on a 10%
Oh, see,
deposit.
that's where I
Most
get
of
in
you
trouble
learn
with
how to buy it
everything.
virtually no money down.
Like, how are you going to
And,
make
borrow the
money?
difference.
Make?
Now
Well,
worth
I just wanted to buy a town.
$600,000.
Oh, well, no, if you're from a town, then yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Mary need
Oh, cool.
$35,000
And then,
a
like,
year.
you can have a
They're probably
house,
thinking, well, I don't buy off a
and we
property,
can
that means
paint
I
one
can
of the
borrow, I'll
houses
probably
like
have to
pure
work
green
harder
inside.
and longer to
We,
pay off
and
my
outside too. I mean,
and
there's no one to tell us we
pay all
can't.
this debt,
Yeah.
so then we can
The only people who
retire
care
off
Yeah,
about property
greenhouse.
value in that town is us, and we don't care, right? So
What we can do
we
is
can do whatever we want.
do one house in complete green, and then when we do all the brochures to come visit our town, we'll like green screen it out. And people will be like, "Oh, there's a new house."
It's green.
So it slows it down, takes up more time. We're gonna buy a good
Or, you know,
property
just do
now,
that thing. If all the
we can
walls,
buy
if everything in there
cheap
is
for
green, you just have a thing where you open the door and there's like dinosaurs in there or something.
600,000, 300,000 here.
Yeah, that's
Like a
what
forest,
I was thinking.
you know?
You were the one who talked about making it green on the outside.
Well, I just thought that you can do whatever you want. You can have like all kinds of crazy shit on any house you want. Because again, no one's going to complain. You don't have any neighbors.
Yeah,
You own every house.
that's what I want. I don't care about making money. I just want to do stupid shit.
Cash.
Like that's
That
my
said, we
entire
could make
life.
money by pretending it's haunted and doing ghost tours.
And they need
we just
$35,000 a year.
not
Can they
charge
draw
for
out
the tours?
$35,000?
That would be fun. Yeah, free. Yeah.
They can.
That way we'd actually get people
in the
turning up.
first year.
I think
Is there
people would
any
turn
law
up
against
anyway.
where they
But
I think that's the problem with a lot of the
The
things
banks don't care.
in
They can spend
life.
it to pay Woolworths
Yeah.
Costs
groceries,
money.
go to the
well, there's.
Coles Island for a
I
holiday.
think there is something to be said about like
Year two,
having
they
a
do the same
place
thing. They
that
can
is just
spend more
abandoned
money.
that people can go to and hang out.
Year
Like
three, take another 35,000.
You brought this up before.
it would be fun to
Are
just
they
have a
spending money
town
they
where it's
worked
just
hard
like
for, or are they
I want to
spending
go
money
and
that's been made while they're
just
sleeping?
stay in an abandoned town where I know I'm
Actually
not going to be
spending
like
in
murdered by a homeless
Spending in there,
person.
could you enjoy it more? Do you
Or
think?
cowboy robots.
You have to work hard.
Oh, that'd be
for it.
fine.
It's like, you don't enjoy
You know,
spending 'cause it makes you
actually the
feel
biggest
guilty, is that
problem
right?
if you're going to try and
You don't wanna
bring it
enjoy
into the
the
real world
lifestyle.
of owning your own
We don't
town
want
and
to
not
take any more
having
money out
anyone
of that
live
property,
there,
even
is
though
if
they
people
could. So
do
year
live there,
four,
they
so
get
they've
squatters
waited 10
rights and they
years till
actually
they're
have the
doubled
right
and
to
they're
stay
starting
there.
to draw this down. So
Yeah,
this is
well.
their 11th year.
So you need to
Does that
set
make
up
sense?
barbed wire.
Year 4, 5, and
Yeah.
6.
That'll keep
After they've
people
doubled, they could take, say, 35,000
Yeah,
out
just
of
homeless
this
people would
property.
immediately
It's
move
just sitting
there
there.
for
Why
sure.
not
But
use
then
it?
again, there'd be no one to beg for food. Like, where are you going to get food from?
Because if they don't use it, guess what's going to happen?
It's our property. We can
They
salt
die.
over all the land
Someone else gets it.
Salt
They
it.
lose it anyhow.
if we want.
So they might
Make
as
it
well
a
use this money they
dessert.
made. 35,000 here, 35,000 here.
Salted
6
dessert.
years now. They don't want to take any more money out of there.
See,
They
now
want to
we're
keep it
getting into
conservative.
evil schemes.
6 years after this property is worth 600,000.
Yeah,
This might have went up
this
in value
video
by now.
has changed us.
It's in capital city, good growth area. What might it be worth?
He's still talking about what
Yeah,
he's
he's
going to do in
he's
10
still
years.
Could it be
talking
worth
about
$1 million?
his money and
Always be conservative.
bullshit.
Say 900,000.
Is he actually teaching his stuff, or is he just talking
oh,
about
he's just
numbers?
Years to
like
that.
talking about cash
6
now,
years
or
later,
whatever,
could be worth 900,000.
value of
Let's
things,
use that as an example.
inflation,
That gives him another
etc.
$300,000 sitting there.
Like so much of the time is taken
See
up
that?
by him just assuming
haven't
that
finished
people
using
don't know
this
that growth
300,000.
means things get
And they've
more.
got another 300,000 there.
Wait, did we
And
loan
does this
that first
property keep going up in
300k?
value?
Because if so, we don't have that
Now,
300k.
if they're not careful, if they don't start spending more money, they're going to get into a
No,
vicious
that's
cycle,
that's
which you
that's
must
where
be
we got it from the
careful about.
from selling our
Vicious
house.
cycle is they're going to
It's
actually be
property
making more money
insurance
than
we're
they can
in.
possibly spend.
We're not
It's
insurance
just going
property
to ruin their retirement.
selling. We had to have a property in the first place.
They have no
We
time to go on
loaned the
holiday
house,
1 week
not
out
the
of
money.
4. You know,
And sold
it's
the house.
obviously, it's not going to work for them. Now, in a real world, there's going to be some things you have to overcome, but this gets done, so they've already
I
been
don't want to
overcome.
make money. It sounds
And, we'll
complicated.
look at that. The question
I want
ask,
to have
though,
money,
$35,000 they're drawing
then I
out
can
of
do
here.
more things.
Do they have
Yeah,
to
I'd
pay
like to
income
do
tax on it?
stuff, but when you
Because
say
it's
have
not
money like that, it makes it sound like
income.
you want
They're spending.
a
thing
reasonable amount.
Yeah.
Yes,
I
I wouldn't say no to it.
Yeah, it is
yeah,
that.
I know, but like in
That's why
my
we don't let
dreaming
politicians
side, I
come to
don't
our
think about
seminars.
it'd be great if I were rich.
that's
It'd just be
a
more like
aha.
it'd be great if I could
Mr.
afford to
Costello
do
said
all the
we
things
need
I
more
want to
Well,
do.
revenue.
yeah,
We'll just
which
tax the
is
thing
kind of the way I approach it.
But,
Just
Yeah.
it would be fun not
Some-
to have to.
allowed.
Some
Okay.
people think about having
So,
lots and lots
does
of
that
money.
make sense?
I
That
just
money is
want to have
tax-free. Is
my
that
bills
legal
paid.
tax-free
I just want to
money?
have lots and lots of
and
fun.
to- yeah, exactly.
The ATO can look at that, and you can do that, and they'll let you do that. Why? Because if you don't invest and buy properties to house Australians, then the government has to anyhow. So there's a tax incentive there to make that available. The idea of this strategy is never to sell the properties. Everyone okay?
The
with that?
ideal
That's the idea of it.
strategy.
Yeah, that's what you don't
Fuck
want.
that! I would totally
Because
sell the properties
some-
if
they'd
I
sell it because people want peace of mind.
if
They
I
might
have
not
these
be dead.
properties and I have no
Understand
debt
that
on them,
rather than
if
pay
I have
off the property,
nothing to
take
pay
that
off,
money and buy
no
another
loans,
property, then that money
I'll just sell them and I'll
is
just take the
making you more
cash.
money.
Take the cash
You see,
and go
I've
down
got
to
one
the
property
casino
that is gonna
and bet it
double
all all on
in 2
black.
years. It's $1 million property.
It's gonna double
You know, I
in
was
2
hoping
years,
it'd
he
double in
says.
5 years and it'd double
Especially
in
if you
2.
put it all on
I
black.
think I'm pretty excited about that. You know, that's at $1 million property double in 2 years. That's $1 million in 24 months. People say property doesn't go up in value. Hello, okay, they don't all do that. But, you know, in a capital city, you know, look how many properties have doubled in 15 years in capital cities in Australia. Virtually all of them, unless the ones that got burnt down or
7 to
something,
10.
insured by HIH.
Million.
Otherwise, they're all fine. Okay, any other questions? We could draw
Are you
those
gonna
skip
end
that
soon?
question.
through the little
You just
cash
skipped
machine
that question.
you know, created over here.
Are we gonna
It's
end
really
soon?
generated
That's
a little
my
bit more
question.
cash. Now
Can I
let's
go
take
home
it
now?
What's on the
what
menu?
level of
I'm
risk do we
hungry.
now have on this? That's profit. We're taking money made out of thin air and put it into here. Our risk factor is now virtually zero, no matter what happened with this. We make more money on that money. Now we make
Money on the money.
Then we could take that money.
Wish I
and
learned
could
how
we
to
take it
sell
back
money
over
so I
here
could
and put a
make money
deposit
on
down
the
on another
money.
property so we make more money? We could do that. Or then you could get smarter, because that's how you become wealthy, and say, I'm not going to take and put it over here because I know how to buy property, no money down. I don't need to put it over here. I can still make
And that
money
could make
over here
you
without using any more
healthy,
cash,
wealthy,
virtually,
and wise.
and I can keep the
We
money
should make
over
you
here. So now
more
you have
wise
both
than
little
me.
cash machines working for you. Okay?
Look at him
And
dance.
then wait, there's still more. Because here's the reality in life. When you don't need money, guess what tends
But
to
wait,
show up?
there's more.
More of it, okay? Which is good, okay? Don't laugh about it, it's good. Trust me, okay?
For lack of a
But
better
here's
word,
why it shows up, because
it's good.
you're still going to work, aren't you? Because you don't need to work for money. You're probably going to choose a career or work that you love or believe in or choose to and be more passionate
What?
about it. You're gonna put your
I have that
heart
much
and
money,
soul
I'm not
into it.
working.
You're going to be more fulfilled. When you put your heart and soul into something,
I
you're going
would.
to be more successful
No.
in your career.
I would do projects that I
More
enjoy that
success.
I wouldn't
Guess
consider
what?
at work though. I'm not gonna go and
Money as well.
send out my resume to go get a job.
Oh,
then you
no
have
job,
excess
no.
cash
I mean, I
here
work
for
on my
whatever you do.
projects.
So now you have threefold.
Yeah,
And it all starts to
but I'm not gonna
spiral
do it with the
together.
intention of making money off of
That
it. I'm gonna do it because
is
it's
the big
fun.
picture.
Oh,
It all starts
again,
with some
I
action,
never.
okay, and the right contacts.
Well, yeah,
and
again, that is what I
support,
do
and the
now,
right
but-
commitment to educate yourself, okay?
If I had money,
That's
it would be
why
the
we
same.
created
But I
21st
mean,
Century
there
Academy.
wouldn't be the
I'll tell you a
looming
little bit
threat
about it
of
very quickly.
As I said, the
needing to
only thing I
eventually go to
wanted
it.
to do with
But I'll
the
tell you
YouTube
why
stuff
it's been
being
put
linked is so I
together,
could have a
obviously,
merch
to make
shelf
it
and
as
have all
simple
those
as
other
possible
options
for the average
available.
Australian
And then I
have
don't want
all
to
this
sell
put
the
together. I
shirts to
would
make
love
money. I just
someone
want to
done it for me,
create
okay,
t-shirts.
to put it all together. Jot this
A
down.
t-shirt company.
This is how the academy works.
Yeah, I'll do that one day. When I'm finished moving all the tapes off one
21st
channel to
Century
the other,
Academy.
I'll start making
Tonight is where you
designs.
start it. You know, 3.5-hour seminar. Your next
my
step
first
would be
design-
3.5
would
hours.
be to do a 3-day seminar. So instead of 3.5 hours, we've got to like.
Is he
plan
doing a
what you
seminar
present.
about doing a
We have
seminar
a little
now?
bit
Yeah,
more
I think so.
time to expand on these strategies in the detail
What?
necessary. For
Why?
instance, in the 3-day
Don't worry, we
seminar,
won't see
which
the
you can
whole
do live,
3.5-hour
because
seminar
live
because they
events
had
are
some
filmed,
edits.
you know, throughout the
I fucking
country,
hope so.
you know, regular times throughout the year, or you can get it on
Live or
video,
video.
whatever you prefer.
You can make a
During the
video.
seminar, 60% of it is designed to teach you the best financial strategies that exist in this country.
Do you think
Okay,
anybody
regular.
other than
Many
us
things
has
we
ever
talked
sat
about
through
tonight
this
and some other
entire
stuff,
video?
Okay. For instance, in that seminar, you would know.
Like,
the
I
top, you'd be
understand
shown
people
the top
sitting
5
there
shares to do this
may
on.
feel
We get the paper
like
out,
they
go
have to
through
sit
it
there
with you
in the
and
real
show you,
life, but the
okay,
video
how do
you can just
determine what rentals
stop
you
it.
get, because
Watch
you
it
select
later.
your rental,
Fast forward through bits.
how much rental you can make on existing shares you have right now, how to do that. Then we bring our licensed share speakers and our brokers on, and they can, they're the people you'd be working with if you wanted to have it done for you.
But you didn't have any
They
special
put in all
guests
the
on
other
this
details.
seminar.
No, he's talking about
You
another
know
one.
exactly the end of 3 days.
A better
how to
seminar.
This is him selling a seminar.
that
A
deep,
better
just need
seminar.
a little
Yeah.
bit more time to
A
go
3-day one.
People make money.
That's
Some
what we
people are
need.
very
That's a long
constrained,
episode.
Okay? Significant cash. Other people are going to take a few weeks to get their accounts organized.
Surely
Some
they'd
people
be
a few
separate
months.
tapes.
If we had a week off,
Before you can
then
get
it would be a
into
thing where we just let it
or
play
you can
and we
watch
just
it on
like sleep in the
video, so you
background,
gotta
like
take
set
time
up,
to
yeah,
watch
and we
it,
just
do it
fold the
straight
couch
away.
out and
You
we just
know
sleep
that
and
I
we
would
just
be
sleep.
down for
40%
that.
is designed to teach you the
That you
mindset.
would
I
have
couldn't do 3
so
days.
many problems
You
with
want more than
Well, I
money,
feel like
that's
you'd
true.
go crazy
Money is
after
great,
like
take care
24
of
hours
you
of
want
like
life.
straight this
Me?
guy.
Make sure you create
Yeah,
that
I'd go
life.
crazy after.
Absolutely.
I've gone crazy after
Much
less than
more
3
money,
hours.
I find, is easily
I've lost
solved
it.
after a
Well,
while.
the thing is,
Being
I've backed up
fulfilled
tapes in
and,
super,
you know,
super,
having your
super
life
long
on
play. I know they can go
takes
for
a
about
little bit more.
8
So that's
to
important
12
to have that covered
hours.
as well.
Oh,
So
yeah.
you
After
could at
3-day
least have
seminar,
like a 3-box set that does,
that's
you know,
enough to
3
take
days
care of it, but
worth.
to make it easy
Not
for you,
3
you do get
24
valuable
hour days,
contacts
but like,
brokers,
Yeah,
etc.
well,
can do this for you, or
be
we'll teach you how
ridiculously
to
long
educate other
episodes.
brokers out there. Access
8
to
hours, 8
financial
hours, 8 hours
contacts,
sort of thing.
assets, protection,
Or with just
structures, all
single
those things that
tapes.
are handy to utilize. That the contacts alone.
Come on, hurry up, dude. I've got to piss again.
Okay, the amount of money.
I'm just gonna
it'll
go do
save
it.
you,
Fuck
and
this
you'll
guy.
access the right people.
Wireless.
Then you also have access
Results.
to 12 months worth of support. You can get access to that as well, where you can come back to regular review seminars every 90 days to go things and things like that. That produces a result. Here's my belief. Jot this down.
No.
If you're part of the academy, you go through this process, whether you watch it on video or do it live. Within 12 months, this is my belief, is that anyone that does this should be able to generate a $25,000 profit within 12 months minimum.
Minimum.
That's what the expectation that I would have. You apply these strategies even from a standing start, $25,000 within 12 months improvement, which is pretty good. Now, obviously, many people have beaten that. You know, some of you would be in a position you'd make that in a month with some of these strategies, okay? I'm sure you'll forgive me, okay? So but it's not just the money as well, but that's the return on investment. A few things that you need to know. The academy, to make this work, sounds great, it is, but I can't make you successful. You know what I'm saying? You have to do it. No one's going to do it for you. We're going to help you, we're going to assist you. You need to be committed to say, yes, I'm going to make this happen. I'm going to do what it takes. Play the game the way it's necessary. You need to be honest with yourself. Be coachable. Like tonight, you've been
Hold on a
able to
minute. So
entertain
does that
the
mean
audience. All you
that,
have to do is be open-minded.
he said video? You could do the
Yes.
seminar
Get the results,
by
you're happy
video.
with the
Does that mean that there is another video out there? That
Probably.
goes for 3 days?
Maybe they're personalized. Who knows?
Majority in the room here
I want to
tonight
get a
is some
person.
family friends have been to one of our seminars before.
It'll be a
And
box,
they've
I
dragged you
imagine.
along or said, you've got to go to this. Okay? And,
Or it's one of those
concept
things
of
where they
giving to
make you
charity.
go somewhere
My
and play
agenda
the
is that we
tape.
create a
Yeah, that's what I
massive
mean,
change
like,
in
it'd be,
this
like,
country to help enough
super
people
rare.
become wealthy on purpose. We can do a lot for the country.
Oh, that one.
Okay? So you
If you want to contact him and ask for it, that's on you, brother.
Ask a simple question. If you could learn all these things
Nope.
at your own pace, meet some amazing people.
I mean,
learn
if I
absolute
did, I'd have to
detail
pay
how to put this into
$300 bucks for
action
the
and get
video
instant
box set,
cash flow,
right?
get the results back you
Like,
want.
he would charge
And
me
I
through
said to
those,
you,
and
it
that'd be
was
the first
free.
actual bit of income he'd
Who would
seen
consider
for
finding
ages.
the time to be a part of it?
It'd pay for his
Obviously,
boat.
most people have some good
His
Aha,
boat,
he
son.
did get $300 from me for the tapes, and he'd be like, now I
Let's
can
talk about
afford to
things.
salvage my
It's
own
not
yacht.
free. It will take an investment. Okay,
Finally.
go through that moment. Some of you will be
Finally.
stretched. If it's a stretch for you, guess what? Good. You
Good.
think I haven't been stretched to get where I want to go? Most
Shut
of us
up.
need to like raise our standards. Okay? But it doesn't matter if you don't have a
Boo.
set in your pocket. You'll still be able to participate
You
in this
suck.
as long as you meet those conditions. Just hand out a form, team, very quickly so you know when you can get started, what your investment is, and then I'll hang around the back to answer any
He's
questions.
leaving.
Plus, some of
Oh
you
no,
can
it's the guy handing out the
free trial
forms.
as well. So yeah. So
Whoa.
start
Take
watching
one,
it
pass it on.
tonight.
Take one, pass it
I'm sure
on.
your spouse will be happy with that.
Take one, pass it
You
on.
watching.
Pass it on.
Yes, I'm glad we stuck around to the end just for that. Just for you saying take one,
pass
pass
it on. Take one, pass it on. Take one. Oh, no, you've got it. Right, no worries.
it.
I've got some spares
Does everyone
here.
have a yellow form?
Mine's blue. Shut the fuck up.
Don't keep them all to yourself.
Shut up, you colorblind motherfucker.
You know
No one
what?
asked you.
Let me go through this quickly so you understand.
This isn't
You
for
should have a
colourblind
yellow form that
people.
looks like this.
Is he going to teach us how to fill it out? Oh.
First
That's
of all,
the
you'll have
last
two
10
options.
minutes.
Option one, I'll go through this now.
Whoa! 2005 prices and
Option one will
bonuses
Is this
be what we call a home
2000s?
study
may
package.
vary.
Okay. I'll jot
See
that down.
enclosed.
Oh no, that's why.
You'll
That'll be
able to
why
do
he's
that.
older in
This
the
one's
picture.
available
This is a
for
seminar
free
from the
trials.
90s.
Details
Does that
that
make
he's
sense?
selling
There's not
again,
everyone
saying
tonight, but
sorry,
everyone
but
will
the
be able
prices
to
are
apply
different
for
than
that
what
free
I'm
trial.
saying there.
Yeah, yeah.
Miss out tonight,
But you
they'll
can
have it
still
sent out
do
to
the
you in
course.
next couple of days. Is that fair enough? So at least everyone will be able to
God.
take the free trial.
Fuck
so home
this
study
guy.
package. Jot this down. Normally to do the home study
Why is the
package,
blue line
I'll
still
tell you
up?
what that includes.
Guy.
is an investment
Hey,
to
the
that
blue
is
line doesn't need to be there
$1,995.
anymore. Oh, here we go.
Jot that down. Okay.
The home study
What does that
option now
include? One,
comes
I'll just show you
with
to make it easier.
2
You get,
home
instead of doing the seminar
studies
live, you get to do it on
including
video. Okay, so
and
you get over
advanced
30 hours
and
of it on video.
updated
Give you plenty of
Fiji home study
two video
from
packages. To make it handier for
October.
them, each
What's a
video is labeled.
Fiji
So
home
let's say
study?
if some of you
2004 with
Oh,
eight.
there's the videos.
Oh, whoa!
Play straight in, show you how to do it. In
It
absolute
also comes
detail.
with a 90-day,
Pay attention and watch
100%
the
money
process as they go
back.
through it again, the people that we've been
written
working with. Let's say you want to know how to
Guaranteed.
buy property virtually no money down. You pull out that section.
Look at those
put it straight
boxes. We've got one of
It's
those,
there
by the
for
way.
you.
Not
Let's
this
say you wanna
guy's
know
one,
how
but
to
we've got
increase
one
your
of those
income.
VHS boxes.
Okay. Negotiate to get a pay rise next week.
Yeah, I
Pull out that
recall.
section.
I don't remember what's in
So you
it,
get
but
the videos. You
Uh,
also
it's
get it on
a
audio, 'cause some of you listen to
play
things on podcasts that
and
wrote.
That's
instructions on how to put on the
Audio
play
as
with
well.
the play.
You get a
Correct.
workbook,
That's
1,000-page manual.
fucking hell.
Strategies in detail. Just in case you're a detailed person, you like.
These are 2001 prices. 2003 updated version is
Oh my god.
$3,000 and includes additional strategies and speakers for 6 bonus sections worth over $1,200. Okay, I need to save up $3,000 so I can get a copy of those videos. What's the bet? That's the only copy in existence. He made those, that little stack there are the only ones that he's got. He'll make more if he needs to, but that's the ones that he's got made.
They're actually blank.
Oh no, he hasn't done it yet.
That means your home study
They're
package,
the prototypes.
after your free trial, if you want to keep it, is $14.95. Or
That's a
what you can do
bonus.
is you can pay it monthly. So let's say you take a
We
free
need to
trial,
start
you
up a
can watch it for
Patreon so
14
we can
days.
afford
You don't
that
get the
tape.
whole lot, you just get part of it. You know, the videos on renting shares, property no money down, enough to keep you happy. You can start
Donate
watching that,
so that
and
we
the
can
14
buy
days,
that
you're
tape.
happy,
2003
you send the
payment
rest
plans
out
are
to you,
available for less than
okay?
$49
And you can
per
simply
week.
pay
Oh,
$149
that's
deposit,
seems close. I can afford that.
end of the 14 days, and a
I can do
further
that. Sounds good.
$149 over another 12 months. Okay? If you want it financed. So it'll be financed for you. That make sense? Monthly, yeah.
12
You want to do it
maths.
monthly. In other words, you
12
can be making
maths.
the money from the strategies and use that to pay for your tuition.
I
You
hate
can do
this
that.
guy.
The other thing also I mentioned, the home study package.
I don't
just
think
to
you're
make it
meant to
easy,
like
yes,
him.
you
He's
do
a
get
heel.
What
access
a
to all
piece
the
of shit.
content
Yeah.
in the package.
This is
So
JBL.
physically, you could actually be watching, understand all the strategies, get access to the contacts, would send that out to you after your 14 days is up, and then you'll be able to ring the broker, set up your accounts, different things you want to do. Okay. Option 2, jot this down. You also have option 2, because some of you would want to do a live seminar.
Hold these
as well.
pens
Option
weird.
2 is you can upgrade to a live seminar.
Ooh. Upgrade. No, I'll take the VHS,
plus
thanks.
12 months worth of support.
Support, hey.
You can jot that down.
Do I get the tapes anyway?
To upgrade,
Yeah. Probably
to
not.
do the
They're expensive.
3-day 7 plus 12 months worth of support, the upgrade is, jot this down, is $19.95.
Jot this
I'll
down.
explain to you what that covers.
Bullshit.
As you add
1995.
another $19.95, you're an
Nine
upgrade.
Jesus!
As having on video and
Can we
taping,
put
things like that.
decimal points
Or
in that?
$199 deposit, you know, plus 12. Spouse is only $14.95.
Spouse rate for
Jot that down.
2003 is $19.95 early
After
bird,
live
normally
seminar and
$24.95.
12 months worth of
What would be the
support as
point?
well.
What's spouse?
Is he saying if you get someone
Is there
else?
any teenagers in the room?
I
A few
guess.
people. Teenagers are free.
What?
Okay.
What they're saying is
Any
that's
teenagers
extra
there?
charge.
Okay.
Oh.
They're 49-year-old teenagers.
So for 2
And,
people to sign
the way
up.
that works is
If one of
every-
them's a teenager,
everything
it's
you're
free,
paying
So you're not
for
allowed to
the
watch it.
academy, okay, you can bring your
That's
teenagers.
That's the
Unless
thing.
pay.
You would just get that information and share them.
Things to remember. Here's what I say to people. I know if you do this, we've been doing this for a while now. You're not guinea pigs. It's been working. You know.
And when do we get the boxes of
Read
wags?
about and things like that. The key is I know if you do it, what you'll get out of it, but you don't. So fair enough. You haven't experienced it yet. So what I often say to people is, do it and make your decision at the 3-day. In other words, you can do the live seminar, and at the last day, on the lunch break of the last day, if you're not convinced you can make a $25,000 return on your money that you invested to be there, then it is free. Okay, it's 100% money back, written guarantee. So make it easier for you. So it takes any risk away on your side. We take on all the risk, and you get to see for yourself, and you can go from there. So that's, jot that down, free. If you're not happy, 100% money back guarantee. If you do the 3-day seminar. One
And
other
just to
bonus that you
clarify,
get,
he's absolutely not
you know,
allowed
you
to
can
do
just
this
start the
anymore.
free trial, start
No.
with that, upgrade to this later, or you can do the whole lot.
Especially not
arrange the
this
whole
this
lot
thing
straight
that he's
away. If you
promoting.
arrange the whole lot straight away tonight,
Doubly that.
Silver
what you'll do is
membership
get an extra
includes full
bonus,
home study
and you
package
pay in
plus
full for the
contacts
whole
list,
lot.
$3,000
Okay, you do everything
basically,
you can
special
possibly
bonuses
do.
if you
That would
enroll
be
tonight.
$19.95 plus
Tonight? Oh, this is a seminar video.
$14.95. We'll be
So
up
somebody
300,
actually sat and watched this 3
$95,
hours
do it
in a
monthly.
dark
If you
room.
paid in full tonight for the whole lot, You'd also
What do you
get
mean
additional,
tonight?
Video and tape set as well. What you'll
This
need to do
isn't
is
a
some of you have
go-home tape.
packages in front of you. What they will
That's
need
why
if
it
you
costs
take- you wanna take
$100
away a
because
free
you're meant
trial,
to
all they
buy
ask
this
is that you fill out
and
your
then
yellow
get a
form
whole bunch of
and you
people around
provide
to
your name and
watch it
details
and
on
then
it
take their money
and a
for
credit
Jamie.
card ideally as security.
You're
That
renting
way
the
they
share.
know where you are and they can
Yeah.
track you down.
That's what
In
he's
other words,
talking about.
Just
There
as
you go.
security, nothing will be
Renting.
processed unless you
Ah.
decide not to cancel. And after 14 days, if you want to continue,
What
they'll
you
send
do
the
is you
home
get your
study
friends
package,
to do
and
all
they'll
the
just take
work
a
and you
deposit
just
off your
get all the
credit card
money.
at that point. Otherwise, someone will just pick it back up off you, and they'll give you one of these blue cards. That way, when
Ooh,
you
a
leave
blue
with the
card.
package,
You know they're
put your
professional
card in
because
the
they have
next
their own
door,
business
they
card.
know you filled out your paperwork. Okay, so on your paperwork, you've got option 1 and option 2. You just tick which one you want to take advantage of. To make it easy at registration
money,
at the
out of
back,
nothing,
is please
out of
fill
thin
out
air.
your form,
That's it.
first, okay, and they'll get through as your form and give you the stuff. All I'll say in wrapping up tonight, it's been great to talk to you. All I'm going to
Thanks.
suggest to do this. We will pay
Can
our
we get rid of
price
the
for our
blue bar now?
education. Now, I don't need you to be at the academy, etc. If you want to be there, we'll support you. Our time is valuable. My time is. I still put a lot of time into this. I'm happy to do that if you're committed to making it work. Does it make sense?
No.
And what you can
Stop
benefit
asking me
you've got to
questions.
understand, one of my mentors said, Jamie, you'll pay a price either way. If you don't learn this stuff, it's going to cost you a lot of money in ignorance. And I often think about, what does it cost the average Australian not to know how to just do this strategy? Every single month, how much cash are they missing out on? What does it cost not to know how to get into property virtually no money down? What does it cost not to know how to negotiate your salary to get more? What's it cost ultimately, not financially, but just personally in our life? We only get one shot at life. Does that make sense? I'm
No.
committed to
One
myself.
chance?
I made a decision to make it the best. And I didn't have any money when I was starting. I was sitting there, 5 years ago, broke. The only way I got access to
5 years and
information
now
to
he's
start, I had to borrow my sister's credit card.
He knows all about it.
I
Good
stretched,
for him.
but she gets a good return on that now. Okay.
Maybe it was
But
an
I had to
accident.
stretch, I had fear and doubt, but I did it. And I think that's why I get to live my dreams today. So if it's a stretch for you, go for it. We take all the risk. If we don't perform, don't get the strategy you want, you had a great time, met some great people, and it's been free. Does that make sense? Been great talking to you tonight. I'll hang down the back, and there is some drinks, and you have a beer and have some questions. And just fill out your paperwork before you go to the back, otherwise they'll be here all night. Give yourselves a big hand.
Success stories. To view more success stories, that website doesn't exist.
Oh, probably got taken down by the government.
Until I had a chance meeting at an investment expo in Brisbane a few months ago, I would never have known about 21st Century Academy.
Yeah, there's probably like 3 people. Everyone else is fucking asleep.
I want to hear of everyone who is going to challenge.
Come on, I dare you.
So they cut the applause because it was too loud. It was breaking the mic, it was making it top out.
Apparently, it actually caused like an earthquake.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people died.
I like how that guy's name is Rich and he went to learn how to be himself.
Yeah. Dumbass.
Oh, it's Greg B again.
Oh, thanks, Greg.
Samantha Zacharias. Gav Nick? He couldn't decide what his name was. Is it Gav or Nick?
Yes.
I'll take both, thanks. I'm rich now.
I can have as many names as I want.
Other services are available through the company's diploma or certification, studying at home in over 30 courses. Does that mean there's over 30 tapes?
I don't know.
One
was
day we'll find them all in a
awful.
trash bin. Be
Awful,
great.
awful. Yes, Zen, there's doubt going on.
Yeah, all the X's, please. Oops, that sucked.
That was the worst tape we've watched yet, probably.
Yes, I have to say yes.
Yeah, I genuinely think that at least there was actual stuff to laugh at in the other bad seminars we've done. But if there's one thing we're learning, it's that seminars maybe, in fact, they just undisputedly are the worst, the bottom of the barrel that we've got.
That's right. Absolutely. Oh,
And on that super happy note,
yeah, exciting shorts of sports next week.
lots of copyright.
Oh yeah,
Be
we're gonna
here.
have to record that for the
Yeah.
sounds, but otherwise it's fine.
Yeah, be here because you might not be able to hear it anywhere else.
Mm-hmm. Huzzah.
On that happy note, go make yourself some fucking money.
Yeah. What are you waiting for? You don't need any. And then
Yeah.
have a
Go have a holiday.
have a holiday.
Every 4 weeks.
Been working hard.
All right, everybody. Sorry.
Never apologize.
Sorry. Especially to you, Nepostrio. I think you
tapped
paid
into
more
the-
attention than I did.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry,
He was
man.
doing research.
I'm sorry. Anyway, I'll
I'm
see
glad
you
I
guys.
didn't learn that at school.
Yeah, see you guys next
Bye.
week.